Fang Yuan says, I prepped these dried specialties Wenwen brought over, matching each to the right cooking method. Hope you all like it. By the way, Wenwen and Gong Li were a massive help today. Deserve the credit too. Gong Li laughs, oh, Fang Yuan, you are way too humble. We just did the prep work. Your cooking is the real star here. Everyone, dig in. Bantering back and forth like an old married couple. Their cozy vibe only makes John Peng even hungrier. John Peng whines, okay, show off your love all you want, but I am starving. Can I please get one bite? Just one bite? Fang Yuan rolls his eyes. Go ahead, you big baby. Inside, Suru feels a strange ache. It is creeping back. A simple joke from John Peng, yet it strikes a painful chord. Bickering between Fang Yuan and Wenwen is so normal, yet they act like newlyweds. A natural, effortless harmony flows between them in every gesture. Standing side by side, it is obvious. There is absolutely no room for anyone else. Fang Yuan's eyes, there is only ever room for Wenwen, and for her, he is the entire world. Picture perfect romance, the kind that makes you instantly envious. Yet for Suru, the food tastes like cardboard. Fang Yuan is an incredible chef, but every bite on her tongue turns to ash, leaving only bitterness. Laughter all around, feasting. It is loud, warm, and entirely out of her reach. Wenwen senses something is off with Suru. She catches Fang Yuan's eye, gesturing silently. What is going on with Suru today? Why does she look so miserable? Fang Yuan just shakes his head. She seemed completely fine during training earlier, but when he invited her over to meet Wenwen, she kept making excuses, doing everything she could to back out. Now that she is finally here, she wears a heavy, distant look. Something is clearly eating at her, and it is deeply concerning. What if he is the reason? The thought fills Fang Yuan with dread. Jean Peng clears his throat. Professor Su, if you are done, let's step over to the living room and look over the contracts for Fang Yuan and Wenwen. As the head of ByteDance, Jean Peng is a master at reading the room. He easily notices Suru's dark mood and empty plate. Wanting to spare her any more discomfort, he quickly fabricates a business excuse to pull her away from the table. Honestly, Suru would go anywhere right now. She just cannot stand being around Fang Yuan and Wenwen, watching them look so perfect together. She nods, following Jean Peng into the living room. Once they are out of earshot, Gong Li whispers, Professor Su is acting really strange today. Do you really have no idea what is wrong with her, Fang Yuan? He sighs. I wish I knew. She is my mentor. I want to shoulder her burdens, but I dread the thought that I might be the one causing them. Leave it to me. Wenwen suddenly chimes in, a confident smile playing on her lips. Fang Yuan and Gong Li look at her, puzzled. She beams. I will use my secret weapon to cheer her up. Don't worry. If I could drag a gloomy high school kid like Fang Yuan out of the dark, I can handle this. Wenwen pats her chest. Fang Yuan smiles warmly. All right, Wenwen, I am putting this in your hands. She can do it. Her piano music has a healing magic. After all, her playing saved him from his own darkness back in high school. In the living room, Suru reviews the paperwork. She looks up. It looks perfect. From what I can see, you have made some massive concessions here. John Peng finally exhales, a massive grin breaking across his face. He says that is a huge relief. With your seal of approval, we can finally get Fang Yuan and Wenwen signed without any worries. Suru asks, you have known Fang Yuan and Wenwen for a long time, right? He nods. Yeah, Fang Yuan and I have been friends since elementary school. We went to the same schools, even sharing a desk until senior year. Wenwen transferred in during our sophomore year. I only knew her for those last 2 years of high school, but she is an incredible person. It is easy to see why Fang Yuan fell so hard. Search for her for so many years. Honestly, if I had loved a girl like Wenwen back in school, I probably could never move on either. Chapter 110. From the very beginning, this love was a mistake. Seeing his best friend finally reunite with the girl he lost after all these years, Jean Peng feels a lump in his throat. Chest tightens. She asks, is she really that important? Jean Peng nods. More important than life itself. When Fang Yuan's family fell apart years ago, he completely spiraled. He abandoned the piano and wandered through life like a ghost, totally hollowed out. Even though I stayed by his side and his adoptive family took him in, he was just going through the motions. He never touched the keys again. Without Nuan, I honestly do not know what would have become of him. I wanted to save him, but I could not. Nuan did. I will always be grateful to her for saving my best friend. No one will ever compare to her in Fang Yuan's heart. Hearing those words, Suru's thoughts descend into pure chaos. No one can replace her. Not ever. It is obvious. Just look at how desperately he searched for her all those years. For Fang Yuan, Nuan is the center of the universe. She knew this all along, so why does it hurt so much now? Jean Peng looks at her pale face. Professor Su, are you all right? Stammering, she says, I actually have to run. The contract is completely fine. He can just sign it later. Jean Peng is absolutely stunned. Wait, you are leaving already? Something is seriously wrong here. Just then, Wenwen walks over to them. Suru quickly grabs her purse, keeping her eyes downcast. Sorry, Wenwen, I have a sudden emergency. I have to go. Let us catch up next time. Call it a desperate escape. Call it a guilty conscience. She does not care. She simply cannot stay here another second. Listening to everyone gush about how precious Wenwen is, or how deeply Fang Yuan loves her, cuts too deep. Every word feels like a blow to her chest. Painful moment, a sudden heavy clarity hits Suru. When did this even start? She had always told herself her feelings for Fang Yuan were purely professional, a mentor nurturing a rare talent, nothing more. But now, this tangled mess of emotions is impossible to ignore. Even her friends have noticed how much she has changed lately. Her own heart is a mystery, yet Suru has to admit the truth. Deep down, she has fallen in love with Fang Yuan. That is why his choices hurt deeply. That is why after 3 long years of silence, a single phone call was all it took for her to fly back and help. If she did not care for him, she would never have risked everything like this. But from the very beginning, this love was doomed. Fang Yuan's heart belongs to Wenwen, leaving absolutely no room for anyone else. No matter what Suru does, his appreciation will never turn to love. It is just gratitude, respect for a mentor, nothing more. Loving someone without hope is a slow, agonizing kind of torture. Wenwen stops her. Professor Su, I know something is bothering you, and I won't force you to talk, but before you go, please let me play one song for you. Facing Wenwen's steady gaze, Suru opened her mouth but stopped. She wanted to explain. It wasn't like that. The storm in her heart wasn't about anyone else. It was because of Fang Yuan and because of Wenwen. By these sudden, unexpected feelings, she was completely lost on what to do next. Her only instinct was to run. Staying here only hurt. If she could just escape, if she didn't have to see Fang Yuan and Wenwen together, or hear everyone gush about how perfect they were, maybe her mind could finally find some peace. Suru remembered running into Qin Wenwen and Fang Xiaoming just outside the neighborhood. She knew Wenwen loved Fang Yuan, yet she deliberately brought up Wenwen to provoke her, driving the poor girl to tears. It felt cruel, malicious, and dirty. Now she just wanted to get away. Wenwen spoke up. Professor Su, it will only take a few minutes. I have always wanted to play a piece for you to hear. You mean so much to Fang Yuan and Gong Li, and right now, you mean a lot to me too. I really want your approval. Please, Professor Su. That sincere plea made it impossible for Suru to say no. Even Fang Yuan chimed in. Professor Su, please, just listen to her play. Suru closed her eyes, took a breath, and relented. Fine, just one song. But I really have to go right after. It was her own deep-seated wish, even if that wish felt different now. As a music professor, she couldn't ignore such rare, raw talent. If she stopped caring about nurturing a gifted student, she wouldn't deserve to teach at all. Seeing her relent, Wenwen finally smiled and said, Perfect, let's head to the piano room. Inside, the white piano gleamed under the lights, waiting to be played. Wenwen walked over to the Srelina piano, pulled out the bench, and ran her fingers across the keys, letting a simple melody flow. Fang Yuan and the others stood back, watching Wenwen under the spotlight. She looked breathtakingly beautiful. Nobody could look away. Standing by the white piano, she looked like an elf born to play. Her fingers moved, and the timeless melody of Qian filled the room. The notes drifted like a soft, warm breeze, instantly capturing the hearts of everyone there. The heavy clouds inside Suru vanished, replaced by bright sunshine as life bloomed around her. It felt like green grass and flowers breaking through the soil, while seagulls soared gracefully through the clouds. Prant. Looking further out, there was an endless, shimmering ocean. Standing before its vastness, all of life's painful troubles suddenly felt microscopic. Just a single drop in the sea. Rolling waves crashed gently against the shore, whispering stories of passing time. Blue ran right to the horizon, melting into the sky. True music has a soul. Even a simple, improvised melody can make people freeze in their tracks to listen. This is what they mean when they say music has no borders. It doesn't matter what language you speak, or if you even know anything about classical piano. Even a first-time listener will feel that deep connection, matching every wave of joy, sadness, and love. A true pianist pours their heart into the keys, turning raw emotion into physical sound that touches the very depths of your soul. Could she reach them? She absolutely could. Just like back in high school, when her raw, clumsy playing drew the boy she loved to the window. He had stood there, captivated, unable to take a single step away. How could anyone ever forget a sound like that? Time was no different. As the last note faded, Zhang Peng immediately burst into applause, cheering for her. Honestly, he didn't know much about music, even with a genius like Fang Yuan as a best friend. But Wenwan's playing had grown so much since high school. She was evolving, just like Fang Yuan. He called out, That was beautiful, Wenwan. I feel incredibly lucky just to have heard it. Fang Yuan stared at her, his eyes shining with awe. Even after their duet, her solo performance still managed to leave him completely breathless. Her natural talent was so immense, even he felt humbled. This was the girl of his dreams, the muse he had chased for years. Gong Li stood proud, hands on her hips. Wenwan blushed, thanking everyone for the sweet compliments. Wenwen took a deep breath, collected herself, and turned to Suru. She asked, Professor Su, what did you think? Suru stared at her, absolutely spellbound. This girl possessed a rare magic on par with Fang Yuan himself. The second she touched those keys under the lights, she became a queen, commanding the entire room. Some people are simply born for greatness. Through Wenwen's incredible technique, every ounce of emotion she poured into those keys reached Suru's heart. Wenwen wanted Suru to feel happy and full of life, just like the song. She had woven a beautiful world through her music, and Suru felt that warm prayer deep in her soul. Her bitter thoughts finally cleared, replaced by a quiet peace. Suru offered a gentle smile and said, Very good. Her tangled feelings didn't just vanish with a single song, but she did feel a heavy weight lift from her chest. Music held that kind of magic. Whether a soul was troubled or at peace, beautiful notes could wash it entirely clean. That was the very reason Suru had dedicated her life to it. Remembering her long-forgotten passion, Suru let out a self-deprecating laugh. She had forgotten something so fundamental, needing a student's performance to remind her. It made her feel like a total failure of a professor. Clearly, she still had a long way to go. When Nuan felt a bit deflated, was it really that simple? She had poured her entire soul into that performance, playing way past her usual limits just to cheer the professor up. Sure, Suru looked a little better, but such a brief response made Wen Nuan feel like a total amateur. Maybe the professor was just saying it to be nice. Fang Yuan chimed in to comfort her, explaining that Professor Su was incredibly strict. Almost nobody got that kind of praise, and even his best efforts only ever earned a simple very good. Thanks for the comfort, she muttered, barely fighting off the urge to go sulk in a corner. Keep playing like this, Suru encouraged. Fang Yuan tells me you want to be an all-around musician. Trust my judgment, you can absolutely do it. And so can Fang Yuan. You two, just keep up this momentum. Be yourselves and do not let outside noise get to you. You two really are perfect for each other. Whether it is personality or musical chemistry, congratulations. Suru offers her heartfelt blessing. Musically, they are a match made in heaven. They share a precious past of mutual salvation that no one else can touch. That is the ultimate deal breaker. It is time for her to let go. Suru knows that no matter when her feelings for Fang Yuan began, she never stood a chance. Obsessing over it will only bring heartbreak. It would only burden Fang Yuan and keep her stuck. Wenwen mumbles a quick thank you, finding this sudden congratulations a bit strange. A sudden flash of feminine intuition tells Wenwen that Suru is hiding something deeper. Does the professor actually hold feelings for Fang Yuan too? She remembers Gong Li mentioning old rumors about Suru and Fang Yuan at the academy. Suru did not just change after her trip, and her avoidance makes sense now. She only changed after learning about Fang Yuan and Wenwen reuniting. Everything clicks. Fang Yuan is seriously too charming for his own good. It is practically unforgivable. Fang Yuan catches Wenwen staring at him with pure anger, and his stomach drops. He wonders what he could have possibly done wrong tonight to deserve this look. Gong Li steps forward and asks if Professor Su would listen to her play. She mentions that she took the professor's elective class back then. She admits the professor might have forgotten her, especially since she went abroad before final exams, leaving Gong Li without a chance to perform for her. Gong Li pleads to make up for that regret. She still has Black Myth Wukong waiting for her anyway. Suru softens and agrees to listen. Suru admits it was her regret too, and now that she has a chance to make up for it, she simply cannot refuse. Gong Li promises it won't take long and rushes off to grab her violin. She never expected the professor to agree and is beaming with joy. Fang Yuan asks if she is alright, but Suru simply smiles. She reminds him that to her, nothing matters more than listening to their music. She looks at Wenwen, Gong Li, and him. None of them are getting away. Now that she has found her passion again, she refuses to let go. Getting bogged down in petty romance would make her unworthy of being his teacher. Fang Yuan feels a wave of relief. The old Professor Su is finally back. The heavy cloud of sorrow hanging over her brow has finally started to lift. Whatever the reason, Fang Yuan knows this is a good thing. Professor he remembers would always stop for beautiful music. Beneath that cold exterior lies a passionate heart that lives solely for the perfect melody. Gong Li rushes back with her case and reveals a vintage violin. Its wood gleams with the rich depth of time, carrying years of silent history. Gong Li runs a gentle hand over the instrument. Its 4 strings are pulled taut, catching the light with a soft silver shimmer. Every musician has a deep connection to their instrument. Holding it now, her eyes reflect a pure, almost sacred devotion that she cannot possibly hide. Violin was actually an 8th birthday gift from Nuan, paid for with months of saved allowance. It is the reason Gong Li kept playing. Now, in front of her mentor, her beloved sister, and Fang Yuan, Gong Li is ready to pour out every ounce of talent she has built up. Performance means as much to her as her first national tour. It is a declaration. Taking a deep breath, she turns to face her audience. She is wearing a simple Black Myth Wukong t-shirt matching Nuan's. The printed monkey face is hilariously stretched out of shape across her chest. John Peng stares at her clover bracelet and violin bow, feeling incredibly jealous of that printed monkey. He silently wishes he were the one being squeezed. Then, the first beautiful note floats into the room. Gong Li chooses the same piece Nuan played, the legendary classic canon. But on the violin, it feels like a completely different song. This is her own stage, her own unique presence. She is not just following Nuan. The student has surpassed the master. She is a true prodigy. She is more brilliant and expressive than any violinist they have ever met. In fact, this is Fang Yuan's first time hearing her play live. He had only seen her in videos before. But digital audio cannot compare to the raw magic of a live performance. That is why people buy concert tickets. The live performance is breathtaking. Under the warm studio lights, her fingers move with effortless grace, sending notes dancing through the air like living spirits. Time stands still as her hair sways with the music. Her intense focus pulls everyone in, making them forget about the world outside the door. Final note fades. Wenwen cheers for her amazing little sister. Overwhelmed with emotion, Wenwen rushes forward to wrap Gong Li in a massive hug. Gong Li is breathing heavily, a light sweat on her forehead. Gong Li asks in disbelief if she was really that good. Wenwen insists she is the absolute best, far better than Wenwen herself. Praises her sister from the bottom of her heart. Little sisters truly are the best. Gong Li had been terrified of making a mistake in front of them, but seeing Wenwen's genuine excitement, her anxiety completely melts away. Professor Su applauds, calling the performance absolutely flawless. She admits that leaving the country before the final exams was truly her loss back then. She thanks Gong Li for healing that regret, offering her a perfect score without hesitation. She is incredibly proud of the Academy's top genius. Overjoyed by the high praise, Gong Li bowed and thanked the professor. John Peng chimes in, offering her 1,000 points, then silently curses himself for being distracted by her chest and wishing to be that monkey earlier. What a sin. He decides he needs to copy Buddhist scriptures 100 times to cleanse his mind. Suru smiles and offers an exciting suggestion. What if Wenwen and Gong Li performed a duet together on piano and violin? Hero says she really wants to hear the sisters play a duet. Fully swept up in the musical magic of Wenwen and Gong Li, she completely forgets her complicated feelings for Fang Yuan. All she wants right now is to listen to her heart's content. This night is like a world-class Vienna symphony. Even if she gets another chance later, this magic will never be repeated. Gong Li eagerly agrees, begging them to play. Hearing this, Fang Yuan immediately chimes in, chanting that he wants to hear it too. Wenwen and Gong Li have no reason to refuse Suru's request. But then Wenwen suggests, Professor Su, since everyone is so excited, why don't the two of us play a 4-hand duet? She adds that she heard Professor Su is the youngest and most talented piano professor at the China Conservatory, and always wanted to hear her play. If she accepts, it would make her incredibly happy. Wenwen extends a sincere invitation to Suru. Sensing this, Fang Yuan realizes Wenwen is up to something, especially considering Suru's strange behavior lately. Everything clicks for him. Only Wenwen, with her bright sun-like energy, can pull this off. Even back in high school, when Fang Yuan was drowning in dark despair, Wenwen saved him and pulled him back into the light. Time, the piano is their bridge. It will work. Suru agrees she secretly wants this duet too. They say music is a bridge that connects souls. Will Nuan be able to hear the true feelings in her heart during this duet? Sitting shoulder to shoulder, their fingers glide across the black and white keys, playing Chopin's famous waltz in A-flat major. It is their very first time playing together, yet their chemistry is absolutely undeniable. True geniuses always recognize each other. With just a simple look, they understand exactly what the other is thinking. Beautiful music fills the piano room, washing over everyone's hearts. At this exact moment, Wenwen is finally certain that her suspicion is correct. As the song ends, Suru exhales deeply, feeling incredibly thrilled. She thanks Wenwen, saying she had a wonderful time playing together. Wenwen smiles back. Same here, Professor Su. It is truly an honor to play with the youngest genius professor from the China Conservatory. Swap partners repeatedly. Wenwen with Fang Yuan, then Gong Li with Fang Yuan, then both girls together. All kinds of notes collide wildly in this tiny room, weaving gorgeous melodies that will flow forever in the river of their memories. It is destined to be a sleepless night, but one filled with the most perfect moments of their lives. John Peng is practically on his knees. Completely blown away, he wonders if regular people like him are even allowed to hear this. He is incredibly grateful to be alive to witness this spectacular private concert. There is no massive crowd and no grand concert hall, yet it touches the soul so deeply. Real music does not need fancy stages. Just a few simple notes are enough to pull someone in completely, making them never want to leave. By 11 p.m., Suru and the others get ready to leave. Fang Yuan offers to walk Suru and John Peng out, but Wenwen beats him to it. She tells Fang Yuan to stay and clean up with Gong Li while she walks the guests out, since she has a few things to ask them. With nothing left to say, Fang Yuan just tells them to stay safe and come back soon. Nuan laughs. Don't worry, you worrywart. Since when did you become such a nag? Watch out, or you will turn into an old grandpa. This were the old Suru. She would feel incredibly awkward having Nuan walk her out and would probably make an excuse to escape. But after tonight's musical cleansing, Suru remembers exactly why she became a music professor in the first place. Her mindset has completely shifted. Since she can't avoid her feelings anymore, she accepts them. She fell in love and she has to face it. After all, as his professor, she still has a mission to take Fang Yuan to the top of the world, make him a global star, and bring glory to their country. Wenwen is pure sunshine, chattering happily the entire way down. She talks about how happy she is to get Professor Su's approval and to sign the contract with John Peng. She laughs, telling John Peng that her dream of becoming a versatile musician is completely in his hands now. John Peng nods eagerly, telling her to leave it to him. With her looks and talent, she is guaranteed to become a massive star, and nothing can stop that. Chatting as they walk, they arrive at the entrance of the White Swan neighborhood. Suddenly, Wenwen stops and asks John Peng if he has any news about what they discussed earlier. Suru looks at them with curiosity. Wenwen obviously chose to bring this up now because she wants to hide it from Fang Yuan, but she does it right in front of Suru. Does she trust her that much? John Peng hesitates before asking quietly if she is really sure about getting that item. He points out that she is already back safe and sound, which should be enough. He says there is really no need. Spending the rest of her life happily with Fang Yuan is what matters most, so she should just let the past go. Wenwen agrees that the past should stay in the past, but that does not mean she cannot know what happened. To her, Fang Yuan is like a shining star in the sky, a man she loves deeply. That is why she needs to know what Fang Yuan went through in that dark past. She is the source of so much of his pain and confusion, so she cannot let him brush it aside. She must face the past. Otherwise, she will always carry this guilt and regret. Even if Fang Yuan stays by her side without holding a grudge, she will never be able to forgive herself. Begs John Peng to tell her the truth just to grant her this one wish. Looking into her pleading, sincere eyes, John Peng sighs deeply, unable to find any words to refuse her. Since Wenwen is saying this right in front of Suru, she has clearly made up her mind. Even with the risk of Fang Yuan finding out, she is determined to go through with it. John Peng tells her that the item definitely exists, and Fang Yuan did not throw it away. However, he does not know where it is hidden, so she will have to find it herself. That is all John Peng can say. He either cannot share more or simply does not know. Wenwen thanks him, saying his words have put her mind at ease. Wenwen flashes a bright smile. John Peng just forces a small grin in return and drives off. Suru remains completely silent throughout, waiting quietly for them to finish their conversation. Wenwen apologizes to Professor Su for making her wait. She acknowledges it is very late but asks if they could chat privately for a bit anyway. Suru has a feeling she knows what Wenwen wants to talk about. Women have that kind of intuition. After a brief hesitation, she decides it is best to clear the air and agrees. She suggests they find a place to talk, adding that she also wants to get to know her better. The two girls find a late-night cafe and sit down across from each other. Wenwen studies Suru closely. She wears a tight black dress that perfectly hugs her stunning curves. Her waist is impossibly slim and her long legs peek out from under the hem. Her glossy black hair cascades down like a beautiful waterfall, with lazy curls framing an elegant, lightly made-up face and captivating, soulful eyes. Beneath her high nose, her pressed lips look both alluring and powerful, like a dark violet blooming in the night, mysterious and gorgeous. Wenwen smiles. Professor Su, you really are beautiful. You have this ethereal vibe. It is not just from years of music and art, but your elite bloodline and the lifetime of high-class breeding. Anyone else said that, Suru would think it was a sarcastic jab. After all, she is in love with Wenwen's boyfriend. Wenwen must have noticed something, which is why she called Suru to this cafe. But looking at Wenwen's pure sincerity, completely free of hidden malice, Suru nods. Thank you for the compliment. Wenwen, you are beautiful too. If I am a night violet, you are a daytime sunflower, basking in the sun, bursting with energy, and never losing your light. Back in school, a girl like you must have been everyone's dream girl. Every little movement pulling at heartstrings, impossible to forget. Just like how Fang Yuan feels. Wenwen chuckles. Professor Su, you are exaggerating. I am not some main character, and this is not a romance novel. Besides, you probably have way more admirers than I do. In high school, I was a total tomboy. Zero feminine grace, just running wild everywhere. Ru gazes out. I won't deny having suitors, but maybe in this lifetime I will never get the one man I actually want. Pain flashes in Suru's chest. She pulls a pack of slim cigarettes from her purse. Mind if I smoke? Wenwen shakes her head surprised. I didn't know you smoked, Professor Su. Fang Yuan never mentioned it. Barely ever. Smoking is a terrible habit, so do not copy me. I would hate to corrupt you. Ru lights up. As the thin smoke drifts, she exudes the effortless grace of a mature woman. Wenwen just stares, completely mesmerized. Wenwen giggles. Wow, you are so gorgeous, Professor Su. Suru smokes half of it, taps the ash into the tray, and narrows her eyes at her. Suru asks, all right, Wenwen, why did you want to meet? Wenwen takes a breath. I will get straight to the point. Professor Su, you love Fang Yuan, don't you? It is not a question. It is a statement. Suru freezes, completely caught off guard by such raw directness. Cigarette burns down. Wisps of smoke curl between them. Wenwen isn't trying to mark her territory or issue a threat. She sounds casual, almost like a friend sharing a quiet observation. Peru, Wenwen has never been some shallow, petty girl. Suru presses her lips together. Reason screams at her to deny it, to spare Fang Yuan and Wenwen the unnecessary burden. A weak lie is safer than a messy truth. Yet Suru nods. Yes, I fell for Fang Yuan. Saying it aloud lifts an immense weight off her chest. Spent years burying her feelings, hiding behind the safe label of a teacher-student bond. But eventually, the truth forced its way out. She didn't care. Why did she get so furious when Fang Yuan threw away his chance at the St. Paul Music Academy just to marry Xia Sining? Why else, after 3 years apart, would a single phone call from Fang Yuan bring her rushing back to China to help him without hesitation? Zhuang Xuan and the entire school saw it. The rumors about her and Fang Yuan weren't baseless gossip. At first, she was angry, thinking bitter people were twisting a pure connection into something dirty. But over time, the rumors stopped bothering her. She even started wondering, did they really look as perfect together as everyone said? Two piano geniuses, mentor and student, working side by side, striking and matched. It felt like nobody on earth suited Fang Yuan better. Except, of course, for the missing Wenwen. Yet here she is, seeing through Suru's secret feelings on their very first meeting. Only blind ostriches in the room were herself and Fang Yuan. If he ever realized, he would have instantly drawn a line to keep his distance. Suro sighs. Wenwen, can I ask you something? Wenwen smiles. Go ahead, Professor Su. Did you really read my feelings the second we met? I didn't have proof. I just knew someone with your family connections would never stress so much over a simple piano competition for a student. School administration already fully backs Fang Yuan, but even though Fang Yuan was worried about the logistics, I felt something else. You kept avoiding me. First at the house, then at dinner. But once our souls connected through our piano duet, the truth laid itself bare. Music is a beautiful force. Two strangers can sit down, play one duet, and read every raw emotion hiding in the notes. Thank you for being honest with me, Professor Su. Suru offers a wry, bitter smile. No, thank you for giving me a chance to finally say it. Keeping this locked inside was suffocating. It is a first for me. They say musicians need deep emotional trauma to create art, but I could have easily skipped this particular heartache. Since the secret is out, do you want to hear the story of how I fell for him? The second she asks, Suru realizes how absurd she sounds. Telling her crush's current girlfriend about her longing feelings. Anyone else would think she was crazy, manipulative, or just plain shameless. Yet Suru desperately needs an outlet to untangle the messy web inside her chest. Love creeps up on you, taking deep root. Maybe speaking it aloud and facing the truth is the only way to finally move on. Wenwen nods. If you do not mind sharing, Professor Su, I would love to listen. Ro looks at Wenwen surprised as warmth fills her chest. No wonder Fang Yuan never forgot her. She is a bright, gentle force, a little sun that draws everyone in. Fang Yuan was saved by her light once. Even when Suru acts like a rival, Wenwen keeps smiling, ready to listen and trust her. Suru has no malicious intent, but to any outsider, she would look incredibly manipulative. Thinking back, Suru had actually considered hurting Wenwen just to soothe her own selfish, twisted desires. She feels utterly pathetic. Suro talks for hours. She shares how, after Wenwen vanished, leaving only a letter, Fang Yuan still kept his promise. He joined the Xia Music Academy, striving to become a world-class pianist. He believed that once he reached the top, Wenwen would return and explain everything. And back then, Suru only noticed Fang Yuan because of his brilliant talent. She was also incredibly curious about Wenwen. The girl Fang Yuan claimed had even greater musical talent than him. Soon, they became the most synchronized, long-lasting mentor and student. Ro placed massive expectations on Fang Yuan. She only wanted to shape him into her absolute best student, watching him bring glory to China and giving real meaning to her career as a music professor. Fang Yuan was supposed to be the greatest achievement of her career. It started as something so simple and pure, so when did her feelings for him actually shift? Talking about the past makes Suru suddenly remember. During my junior year, I went to clean up the school's old piano room in the ancient campus building. Almost nobody went there, so it was covered in dust. I arrived late because of my classes, and the cleanup dragged on. That was the night a typhoon hit. Lightning flashed and rain poured. I planned to sleep in the school lounge once I finished, but a sudden lightning strike blew out the main power grid. The whole campus went pitch black. I was alone in the dark, terrified, and then the howling wind slammed the heavy door shut. The wind was too violent. I couldn't budge the door. Suddenly, a chunk of the ceiling collapsed right onto my head, nearly knocking me out cold. Blood pooled everywhere. An ancient building, a dusty piano room, raging lightning, and a total blackout in the middle of a typhoon. No signal, bleeding, trapped. It was like a scene straight out of a horror movie. Sounds absolutely unreal, doesn't it? How could anyone have such terrible luck? Yet it all happened to me. That night was easily the most agonizing experience of my entire life. My life actually flashed before my eyes. I relived every memory since childhood, genuinely believing I was going to die. But then, you probably guessed it, Fang Yuan saved me. It was like a classic scene of a prince rescuing a princess. Suru had mentioned cleaning the piano room earlier, but when Fang Yuan offered to help, she refused. She told him to focus on his studies instead. It was her responsibility, not a student's. But that evening, the storm hit with violent thunder and lightning. Fang Yuan was already worried, and when the power went out, his anxiety spiked. Sitting in his dorm, he kept calling her, but the calls wouldn't go through. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore and ran to the old piano room. He forced open the jammed door, found the injured Suru, and immediately threw her onto his back, rushing her straight to the campus clinic. He saved her life. His desperate voice calling her name felt like a savior descending from heaven. That agonizing run through the raging storm to the clinic felt endless. Yet it became a memory she could never erase. The school doctor even joked later, asking if she was going to marry Fang Yuan to repay him for saving her life. This time, Suru didn't instantly laugh it off as complete nonsense. Perhaps she was caught in the grip of the suspension bridge effect. When you're facing a life or death crisis, having someone sweep in to save you has a devastating emotional impact. Add to that the years they spent together, seeing his brilliant talent and charm up close, and she was completely drawn to him. Fang Yuan saving her life was simply the spark that lit the fuse. Having said all this, Suru finally pinpointed the exact moment her feelings began to shift. Takes a deep breath. Telling you this makes me sound manipulative, she says. I want to apologize, Wenwen. I never meant to interfere with your relationship, and honestly, I don't even have the right to. From the very beginning, you're the only one Fang Yuan has ever loved. As his teacher, spending all that time with him, I know that better than anyone else. Congratulations on finding the most loyal, brilliant piano genius on earth. Love doesn't care who arrived first, but the first person always has a massive advantage, especially since you basically saved him. How can anyone compete with his high school first love? In his heart, I'm just the teacher he respects most. Always have been and always will be. Hearing these heartfelt words, Wenwen smiles gently. Thank you, Professor Su, for sharing a past I couldn't be part of. Just knowing Fang Yuan worked hard and did well at the conservatory makes me happy. Fang Yuan really is an amazing guy. He's tall, handsome, a brilliant piano genius, and he naturally radiates that artistic charm. Just his looks and personality are enough to draw people in. I wonder how many innocent girls he charmed with that during the 8 years I was away. Even back in high school when he was gloomy and depressed, girls were constantly confessing to him. Suru picks up her steaming Tenyan coffee, takes a sip, and feels a spark of curiosity. She asks Wenwen when she first fell for him. Wenwen replies that strictly speaking, she was 8 years old, though she admits it sounds like she's blowing her own horn. When I was a kid, I was known as an all-around musical prodigy. Everyone insisted I'd go on to do incredible things in the music world. I never lost a single music competition. Whether I was playing against kids my own age or older students, my younger self had absolute confidence in winning. There were endless trophies and proud looks from my family. But then, I kept hearing rumors about a piano prodigy emerging over in Longcheng district. A little boy named Fang Yuan. People constantly compared us, claiming that if it came down to strictly playing the piano, he was actually better than me. I was so stubborn. Why did they assume I was worse than him? We hadn't even competed, and even if he was a piano genius, I was an all-around prodigy. I was determined to beat him in a real competition, just to shut up everyone who was talking trash behind my back. Remembering her childish grudge against a boy she had never even met, Wenwen looks incredibly nostalgic. It was a history unique to them, a connection that felt like destiny, but was secretly a childhood bond. Back then, Fang Yuan had no idea who she was, but she had known about him for years. She kept his name locked in her mind, determined to defeat him one day. Just like that, a boy became a young girl's late-night obsession. Suru's eyes light up as she listens. Back then, competitions were rare, and they lived in two very distant districts. They could only meet at city-level events, and even then, they were often placed in different divisions. The wait was endless. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan grew more famous, and I kept hearing about him constantly. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I slipped away from my parents, snuck over to Longcheng district, and went to watch him perform on a real stage. That single performance completely blew my younger self away. Before seeing him play, I never imagined a boy could look so breathtakingly cool, as if he were born solely for the stage. Under the spotlight, wearing his tiny suit, he was still just a kid. Yet the moment he started playing, you couldn't tear your eyes away. Totally lost in the world his music created, completely unable to pull myself back until long after the final note faded. Right then, I knew everyone was right. Fang Yuan was brilliant, on a level I'd never seen before. He even surpassed me. I felt pretty frustrated, but mostly, I was just happy. I had won for so long that I had no rivals left, and I lost the drive to keep moving forward. From that day on, Fang Yuan became my obsession and my dream. I always wanted to compete with Fang Yuan, practicing the piano furiously, just to beat him once in an official competition, to win or lose fairly. But then tragedy struck Fang Yuan's family. His parents and sister died in a car crash, leaving him completely alone, abandoned by relatives and thrown into an orphanage. Before the Fang family finally adopted him. Back then, I was too young to know any of this. I only knew Fang Yuan had suddenly stopped playing and vanished from the piano world, leaving me incredibly curious. I tried everything to get news of Fang Yuan, finally piecing it together from gossip. Wenwen's eyes suddenly grew dim as she realized what a tragedy he had faced. Since giving up the piano, that was the first time I felt a heartache so deep it left me completely hollow. My goal and my obsession were just gone, and yet he was still enduring such massive pain. But I could do absolutely nothing. I went 3 months without practicing, an absolute first for me, because I could no longer find a reason to play. It felt completely meaningless, yet I couldn't let it go. Later, when I got into high school, I finally discovered which school Fang Yuan was attending and learned about the desperate situation he was in. He had given up the piano, refused to make friends, and just went through the motions at school, gloomy and depressed, with no one daring to get close. To find my own way back to the piano, for the sake of my obsession and dreams, I chose to transfer to Fang Yuan's school. Fang Yuan probably told you the rest of the story after we met, right, Professor Su? This reunion opened a brand new door for both Fang Yuan and Wenwen. While saving Fang Yuan, it was also a saving grace for Wenwen herself. To reignite their talents so they could play the piano again, fate arranged for the two of them to cross paths. Only when they were together, pushing each other to the limit, did they have the drive to move forward and the urge to practice piano like crazy. All just to let their notes collide wildly in the practice room, searching for that thrilling moment of true soul resonance. Perhaps all of this was arranged by Stein's Gate, the best possible outcome. Only Wenwen hadn't fallen ill, and hadn't chosen to leave that letter, vanishing without a word during their best years, and leaving Fang Yuan to search desperately for 8 long years. If she had stayed by Fang Yuan's side through college, graduated with him, gone abroad to study together, and reached the absolute top of the world with him, how wonderful would that have been? Those 8 years Fang Yuan spent searching for Wenwen were his most agonizing. But wasn't it the exact same for Wenwen? Those were her most vital, colorful years, and she missed them completely. Trapped in a sterile hospital ward, undergoing treatment, vomiting from the brutal side effects of her medication, dizzy and completely out of it, she was barely holding on. Facing life and death every day, she never knew if she would even open her eyes again when she fell asleep. She would worry about the grief her family would feel, and dread never seeing Fang Yuan again. Without this illness, Wenwen would probably be the happiest person in the world. Her parents wouldn't have divorced. She could have stayed close to her grandparents, and her family would still be whole. Wenwen never got to attend her dream college, and she never got to join clubs or work part-time jobs as she had always planned. She never got to volunteer, or try all those meaningful, exciting things she'd dreamed of. The kind of experiences that would have painted her youth with unforgettable, vibrant colors. Her school days ended the year she graduated from high school, her most innocent, sunny year, overflowing with laughter. After that, everything became a complete blank as she lost her friends, her family, her music, and Fang Yuan. Only after leaving the lab and returning to Kyoto to reunite with Fang Yuan, did Wenwen's frozen life finally jumpstart, racing toward a colorful future, though nothing could ever replace those 8 lost years. Just then, Wenwen's phone rang. Seeing it was Fang Yuan, she quickly composed herself and pressed answer, asking, "Fang Yuan, what is wrong? I want to know why you stayed with Song Zhanpeng and Professor Su for so long. I have been worried sick. Where are you, and when are you coming back?" Oh, are you an old grandpa? You are so naggy. I was just chatting with Professor Su and I will be back soon. To which he replied, then hurry back. Otherwise, I will lose control and come looking for you. Fang Yuan is terrified that Wenwen will vanish again. He has full-blown PTSD. He even thinks about locking her up with chains at home so she can never slip out of his world ever again. After all, as long as he feeds Wenwen on time every day, bathes her, combs her hair, and tucks her into bed, she will be safe. Wenwen can live safely right where he can see her. It is a dangerous, twisted thought, but incredibly thrilling. Fang Yuan genuinely feels an uncontrollable urge to lock her away like a true yandere. Once Wenwen hung up, Suru spoke up, noting that it was almost 12 o'clock. Wenwen, we have said everything we needed to say. Let's go. With that, Suro and Wenwen walked out of the cafe. Under the deep night sky, a chilly wind blew as Wenwen stretched comfortably, whispering, autumn is finally coming. Past autumns, Fang Yuan had to get by without you. But this autumn, and the next, and the one after that, through countless autumns, you will stay by his side, living happily ever after, right? Suru's eyes softened for a brief moment before turning resolute. Shoving a hand into her coat pocket, she waved. Wenwen, I'm heading out. Wenwen waved back. Goodbye, Professor Su. Looking at her smiling face, Suru softened her tone. You deserve to be happy. Wenwen was slightly taken aback as Suru added, be happy with Fang Yuan, I wish you two the best. Chapter 117. After all, she is my future sister-in-law, so I should just spoil her. What else can I do? This is the only thing I can do for the two of you. Time to let you go, and let myself go. To drop my obsession and find the Suru who used to love music, instead of being trapped in this endless heartbreak, unable to break free and slowly wasting away. As moonlight flooded the street, Suru turned and walked away with a cool wave, leaving Wenwen with a resolute view of her back. Her shadow stretched long against the pavement, radiating the poise of a mature, reliable adult. Instinct told Wenwen that Suru had found some peace, even if letting go completely was impossible. He was the first man she had ever loved, after all. But instead of running from the pain, she was choosing to bless them and move on. Thank you for your blessings. Professor Su Wenwen was truly happy that her message had gotten through. At home, Gong was packing things with Fang Yuan. Seeing him call Wenwen, she whispered, what did Sister Wen say? Fang Yuan replied, she is chatting with Professor Su, but she will be back soon. Gong gaze flickered. She seemed to want to tell him something, yet the words caught in her throat. Just then, her phone buzzed with a message from Wenwen. Gong glanced at the screen, then looked up at Fang Yuan, asking, Fang Yuan, I need to buy some things outside, can you come with me? Yeah, that works. Isn't Wenwen coming back soon? Right, it's the stuff she wanted, and I wanted to grab a few things too. But it's so late, and Fang Yuan would never let a girl like Gong Li go out alone. True, society is safe. Crime is low, but with Gong Li being such a curvy petite girl, there's always a risk of some drunk creep bothering her. It is just safer with Fang Yuan by her side. But are you sure you want to go out dressed like that? You need a jacket. Fang Yuan warns her. The midnight wind is cold. Gong Li assumes he means her short sleeves show off too much of her chest. Pouting, she snaps. No thanks, my body is what it is, and if I worried about people staring, I would never leave the house. That, Gong Li storms out first. Fang Yuan panics. Hey Gong Li, I didn't mean it like that, wait for me. Fang Yuan scratches his head. What is she so worked up about? Once they leave, Wenwen slips back inside, locks the door, and exhales slowly. She creeps to Fang Yuan's door and turns the knob. Unlocked. She must find that object before he gets back. Walking side by side, the chilly midnight wind sweeps the street. Fang Yuan was right. Thin, short sleeves, Gong Li shivers, rubbing her bare arms. Fang Yuan sighs, slips off his windbreaker and drapes it over her shoulders. I told you to wear a jacket and you didn't listen. Learned your lesson? He scolds her gently, sounding just like an older brother. Gong Li blinks in surprise. Oh, so you just wanted me to stay warm? Fang Yuan chuckles. Obviously, what else did you think I meant? She stammers. I thought you meant my chest was too obvious and you wanted me to cover up. He quickly waves his hands. Hey, I never said that. Heaven is my witness. We live in a free, equal society now. Women have the right to wear whatever they want. I would never force a girl to cover up. Fang Yuan is absolutely floored by her logic. Just how terrible of a guy does she think he is to misunderstand him this badly? Gong Li pulls his jacket close. The fabric is warm, shielding her from the wind, and carries his comforting scent. She bites her lip. Thank you. Fang Yuan smiles. You are very welcome. Now let's grab the thing so Wenwen isn't waiting. Gong Li bites her lip, her eyes wavering. She seems to summon her courage before speaking. It is not just about the jacket, Fang Yuan. Thank you also for bringing Professor Su over today. You healed a massive regret from my school days. Fang Yuan finally understands. So that is why you kept staring at me all day, struggling to say those two words. Exposed, Gong Li's face flushes a deep red. Stop flattering yourself. I was not staring at you. Sure, of course you weren't. Fang Yuan placates her like a child. She is his future sister-in-law, after all. Better just pamper her. We'll be family anyway. She huffs. I really wasn't. He smiles. Right, I believe you. Gong Li feels incredibly childish for even arguing about this. He is right. She did want to apologize, so why is she acting so awkward? Damn it, it must be because he stole her precious sister Wenwen away. She really hates thanking him. He is nowhere near being a worthy brother-in-law anyway. By the way, how far is everyone in Black Myth Wukong? Screaming for her to wait, Fang Yuan chases after her. No, she snaps. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Wenwen is searching Fang Yuan's room. Finally, she uncovers a safe box. This is it. Wenwen beams with joy, but then hesitates at the lock. What combination would Fang Yuan use? His birthday doesn't work, and neither does hers. Ugh, stupid Fang Yuan, how could you not use my birthday? She tries several combinations to no avail. She even tried his parents' and sister's birthdays. She researched all of these beforehand. Staring at the lock in despair, she realizes only one attempt remains. One more wrong guess will lock her out forever, forcing her to confess to him. Biting her lower lip, Wenwen worries that if she confesses, Fang Yuan will absolutely never let her see inside. No matter her reasons, he would protect her from touching that painful past. She must act first and apologize later. Otherwise, she can never move forward. Her phone vibrates. It is a text from Gong Li asking if she is done yet, as they are heading back now. Gong Li stalled him as long as she could, wandering around the 24-hour store. Even Fang Yuan noticed something was off, telling her to hurry up and demanding to know what she was hiding. Unable to linger any longer without raising suspicion, Gong Li had no choice but to warn Wenwen. No matter why Wenwen asked her to keep Fang Yuan away for as long as possible, Gong Li trusted her completely. She knew Wenwen had her reasons. I am almost done. Try to stall him a bit longer. Wenwen replies instantly. Time is running out. She has to settle things with the past now. Then a sudden idea strikes her. She hesitantly inputs a date, the day they first met. Click, the lock springs open. It worked. He cannot believe he used that date. Smiling wryly, she whispers, Fang Yuan, you idiot. Why do you remember that moment so clearly? The more beautiful their meeting was, the more painful the lost years must have been for him. If only he were smarter and forgot a little, it would not hurt so much. But then he would not be the Fang Yuan she remembers. He is gentler and more devoted than anyone. This only makes her more determined. For the sake of his 8 years of agonizing searching, she owes it to him to uncover the truth of what happened during those lost years. Inside is a diary, just as she suspected. Carefully, she takes it out, locks the box, and returns it to its place. Back in her own room, she locks the door and texts Gong Li that she is done. She tells her to say she is tired, taking a shower and going to sleep, and they can talk tomorrow. Gong Li replies okay. Finally, she can read Fang Yuan's diary in peace. Setting the diary on her desk, Wenwen first injects her medication. Preparing herself, she takes a deep breath and opens the cover. Wenwen never knew he kept a diary. She only found out after returning to Kyoto, when John Peng accidentally let slip what happened after she vanished. Fang Yuan started a diary to record every single day Wenwen was gone. John Peng had barely let the truth slip before trying to backtrack and deny everything, but Wenwen was too sharp. She caught it instantly. After confirming the truth from John Peng tonight, Wenwen knew she had to find that diary. She knew deep down that the pages wouldn't hold any happy memories. Still, as the person who caused Fang Yuan years of agonizing pain and longing, Wenwen had to face it. Her mind was made up. Now that she was back, she would share everything, joy, sorrow, pain, and happiness, with the man she loved most. No more secrets. Wenwen opened the first page of the diary. Day 78 of her disappearance. Light rain. Today I registered at the Huaxia Academy of Music. Wenwen, can you see this? Is the top music school in the capital, the one we promised to attend together. Now I am here alone, and it still feels like you are playing a cruel joke on me. I keep thinking you will just reappear after the summer break. That when classes start, you will burst back into my life out of nowhere. Just like you did the first time. But I waited all day and saw no sign of you. I feel so lost. Remember the day the college entrance exams ended? Jean Peng took his family car and drove us to the beach where we stayed up all night. We set off fireworks on the sand and made a wish to get into the Huaxia Academy of Music together. We promised to keep playing piano side by side, watching each other grow. I noticed the sadness in your eyes back then. When I asked, you said nothing, and I was naive enough to think we would just see each other the next morning. We sat by the fan, planning our long summer break. We debated whether to practice piano or travel. Honestly, as long as you were with me, anywhere would have been perfect. Instead, you left a single letter the next morning and vanished without a trace, completely walking out of my life. I have been searching for you ever since, still half believing it is a joke. I cannot stop regretting. If I had only pressed you for a reason, would you have stayed? But regret is useless now. All I know is that I have to find you, no matter the time or cost. I do not know why you left or where you are, but I will never forget our time together. Your presence in my life saved me. You gave me the strength to keep playing piano and to reach the university of my dreams. Step by step, I will reach the top of the world and become a true pianist. You might be gone for now, but do not let me leave you too far behind. Knowing how stubborn and competitive you are, I know you will not forget our promise to compete fairly for a world-class title. I will be waiting for you, always. Day 485 of Wenwen's disappearance. Heavy rain. Just like that, you have been gone for 485 days. I went from a freshman to a seasoned sophomore. Haha, I am not slacking off enough to skip classes and play games all day just for a diploma. Professor Su would kill me if I tried. But when I see other students taking it easy, I get a little envious. If you were here, Wenwen, you would probably pinch my ear and tell me that with this lazy attitude, I would lose our bet. I really wish you were here right now to say those exact words to me. If you were, I would be the happiest guy alive. I would have my piano, a mentor I respect, great classmates, a dream to chase, and most importantly, you. Past year has been a blur of practice with Professor Su. He is an incredible teacher, so dedicated to his work. It is an honor to study under him and receive his guidance. Without Professor Su, I would not have grown this quickly or gotten any closer to my promise to Wenwen. Wherever you are in the world, Wenwen, I hope you are still playing. I will never stop searching, but honestly, whatever your reason for leaving was, I just want you to be safe and healthy. Be happy, free from worries. Seeing Fang Yuan's elegant handwriting, as gentle and steady as he was, Wenwen broke down, tears spilling like a broken dam. Here's the first update. Show some love with a gift. 2 more are on the way. He could have used his private diary to hate her, to write terrible things and vent his agony. If he had, Wenwen might not feel this crushing weight of guilt. Yet Fang Yuan never blamed her. He never stopped searching, believing she was alive out there somewhere, wishing only for her health and safety. To him, whether she ever stood before him again, smiling, playing piano, watching the sunset, or bickering through a simple, happy life, none of that mattered anymore. Fang Yuan would search for Wenwen until his final breath. Even if he never found her, he could never let go. His only prayer was that she was alive. He never doubted her for a second. He knew the angel who dragged him out of the abyss must have had some painful, unspoken reason for leaving. Otherwise, why would she save him only to vanish without a single word of farewell? Wenwen was not that kind of girl. Tears blurred her vision, dripping hot and heavy onto the back of her trembling hands. Her face contorted as she sobbed, unable to speak or catch her breath. Only one overwhelming obsession remained. She kept flipping through Fang Yuan's diary. Every page was a fresh stab of agony, filled with his desperate longing and an absolute refusal to give up on her. The entry stopped on his graduation day. Wenwen knew what came next. The Zhang group hit a massive crisis, leaving them on the brink of bankruptcy. Meanwhile, the Xia group was reeling. Yan had suddenly called off his wedding with the heiress, Xia Sining, who then went blind for no apparent reason, sparking a massive scandal. They needed a pawn to save face and bury the scandal. Since the Zhang group was dying, the Xia group targeted the clean-cut Fang Yuan. They forced him into a 5-year marriage contract with Xia Sining to clean up their image. In return, the Xia group saved the Zhang group from total ruin. Fang Yuan spent the next 3 years by Xia Sining's side. Those years were left entirely blank in his diary. For him, those 3 years were bound by duty and promises, forcing him to stop searching. Fang Yuan, did those years bring your heavy heart any peace? Keeping busy with Xia Sining ease the ache of missing me even just a little? Was it less painful than those 4 years at university? Wenwen clutched the diary to her chest and whispered. 2 tear tracks shone under the lamp. Reading between the lines of his diary, Wenwen finally felt the raw agony Fang Yuan endured during college. Just whispering his words made her chest tighten with suffocating pain. And every single ounce of that pain had been caused by her sudden disappearance. If she knew she would make Fang Yuan wait 8 years, they should never have met. But maybe it is not too late. Now, Wenwen doubts everything. Was forcing him to play piano again a mistake? Plays again, yes. But she bought his music with 8 years of torture. What if she had died abroad? What if those trials failed? Fang Yuan would have spent his life searching. All those terrifying what-if were her gift to him. Now guilt swallows her whole, silently weeps over the diary in the moonlight. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan scrolls on his phone, oblivious. 3:30 a.m., incredibly late. Fang Yuan taps her WeChat avatar. He wants to text her, to ask what happened with Professor Su. Chuckles. She is back now. Why would she vanish? Plan. No need to rush. Doubt creeps back. The dark urge to lock her away stirs deep inside. If she runs, he will go mad. Maybe he should buy some iron chains tomorrow, just to feel safe. Just as he drifts off, a sudden knock jolts him awake. Friend, could it be Gong Li? A fragile voice whispers from the hallway. Fang Yuan, are you awake? It is Wenwen. Opens the door. She is still in her dinner clothes, no pajamas. Bewildered, he asks if she is okay, feeling secretly relieved she did not run. She is not going to vanish. He is overthinking, but then he notices the suffocating sadness radiating from her. Refusing to step inside, her vibrant light is swallowed by dark clouds. Storm is coming. It feels just like graduation night on the beach when she gave him that agonizing look and disappeared. Her final farewell. They only reunited at the station a month ago. His frozen life had finally restarted. Tonight, she has that exact same look. His chest tightens. It feels like he is drowning. A ship lost in a violent storm, stripped of its compass. Blinded by terror, Fang Yuan lunges forward, pulling her into a fierce, desperate embrace. Squeezes her tight. He will never let her run again. Maybe locking her up is the only way. Blood burns with dark, obsessive thoughts. Nuan. Trance is broken by his desperate voice. And this is real. 8 years of crushing guilt and longing melt away in this one embrace. She gasps, telling him he is holding her too tight. We need to go inside before we wake Gong Li. Air will only drag him down. She cannot repeat her past mistakes. Luckily, Fang Yuan is already pulling her inside. He is not the naive kid from 8 years ago. No more walking away without answers. She won't explain, he will lock her up. Ethics mean nothing now. Any desperate man would do it. Shuts the door, she sinks onto his bed. She looks around the simple room. The essentials, neat, orderly, and so like him. It feels incredibly safe. Aside from looking older, he is still her same beloved Fang Yuan. He pulls up a chair, sitting directly across from her. His eyes look dangerous. She looks away guiltily. Does he know? Confess, he demands. Why are you here in the middle of the night acting like you did 8 years ago? Is your illness back? Because this time, I am going with you. She quickly waves her hands. Don't worry, my condition is stable and I feel great. I can do a few flips right now if you do not believe me. Wen quietly lets out a breath and flexes her imaginary Schrodinger-style muscles at Fang Yuan. So, why did you come looking for me? Wen falls silent. She tries to sort through her thoughts, but the raw grief leaves her mind completely scrambled. Everything is just a blurred mess. Really wanted to see you. Fang Yuan, if I told you it was as simple as that, would you believe me? Wen stares deep into his eyes. It is the absolute truth. Reading Fang Yuan's diary and remembering their past leaves her with heavy grief and guilt, but also one clear, undeniable urge. She wanted to see Fang Yuan so badly she could not sleep, which is why she is standing at his door. Wen's sudden, heartfelt confession completely catches Fang Yuan off guard. His defensive, stubborn front begins to melt away. Embarrassment washes over him. Fang Yuan speaks quietly. Wen, I believe you, but seeing you like this makes me uneasy. It is just like 8 years ago, right before you disappeared. Time he has to get the truth. He needs to know why she was acting so strange. He studies her face in the soft lamplight. Her eyes are red and swollen, clearly from crying. His chest tightens. Why was she crying? Once again, his emotions are a complete mess. He hates seeing girls cry, but Wen's tears are different. They feel like an invisible hand squeezing his throat, making it hard to breathe. Wen tilts her head up and takes a long, steady breath. Stealing her resolve, she looks at him with eyes as clear as mountain water. Stares straight at Fang Yuan. Standing in the soft glow, his sharp features are framed perfectly by the shadows, his posture upright and strong. Elegant, brilliant. Her own personal genius pianist. Every single note he plays, every smile, and every look is meant only for her. I came here to talk about what happened 8 years ago. I want to apologize, truly and deeply. I am so sorry, Fang Yuan. Full apology cannot undo the pain of me vanishing for 8 years, I know. But I want to spend my life making it up to you. Will you give me that chance? Fang Yuan gasps. Wen, why are you saying this? What is going on? Fang Yuan knows something must have happened. Why else would she suddenly start apologizing for things they already moved past? Now that she is back, he does not care about apologies. As long as she is healthy and safe, he is content. The past is over. He only cares about their future. But Wen speaks up, Fang Yuan, do not be angry, but I read your diary. It covers everything after I left. Your 4 years of college. When I was talking to Professor Su earlier tonight, we were discussing your college years. I just wanted to know you better. I wanted to know the past I missed out on. Fang Yuan freezes, glancing toward his safe. My diary? When? How did you even know about that? Well, she smiles. Someone talked. Anyway, I read the whole thing. John Peng, you idiot. Fang Yuan knows instantly. He pinches the bridge of his nose. Nobody else knew about that diary. Wen has just returned to Kyoto, and she has lost touch with almost all their old high school classmates. Since Zhan Peng is the only link, it has to be him. Hey, do not blame Zhan Peng. Reading it was entirely my idea. I was the one who stole your diary and invaded your privacy. I know it was wrong. Kids, do not try this at home. If you want to be mad at me. Wen's golden rule is to never sell out a friend. She would take the fall alone, though her allies better not betray her either, or she would murder them. Fang Yuan sighs, you are unbelievable. pokes her forehead hard. My foolish Wen. Ow! Be a gentleman, Fang Yuan, that hurts and it is definitely going to swell up. And stop acting like Uchi Itachi. Well, I cannot cosplay Sasuke anyway. Cut it out, Wen. No wonder Gong Li insisted we go out to buy supplies tonight. She dragged me around a 24-hour convenience store, buying absolutely nothing. It makes sense now. You sisters teamed up to steal my diary. Annoyed, Fang Yuan pokes her forehead again. She giggles. Okay, my sister helped run interference, but stealing it was entirely my idea. She was clueless. Do not be mad at her. Let me suffer the consequences, amen. Once Fang Yuan calms down, he asks, but Wen, how did you guess the passcode? The safe only allows 10 attempts. The combination is the exact date they first met. Wen remembers it, but normally people try birthdays first. I kept trying random birthdays. Right on my very last attempt, the lock clicked open. If it failed, I was ready to just give up. If I locked myself out, I would have just confessed to you. Maybe it was fate that I read your diary and saw what you went through. You never hated me for vanishing into thin air. Every single word was filled with longing, and your only wish was for me to be healthy, to live a good life. You promised to keep searching for me in some corner of the world, never giving up until you found an answer. You did not even beg for me to return. Your only request was that I stay safe and healthy. Saying this, her eyes begin to shine. Her smile is soft as she reaches out a finger, gently booping him on the nose. It is a playful, quiet gesture that makes his chest swell. That gentle touch sends endless ripples through his heart, keeping him completely frozen. She whispers, Fang Yuan, I think the only reason I am alive and healthy today, back by your side, is because you never stopped thinking of me. Your love reached heaven, and it decided to spare my life, instead of taking my happiness and my life. Fang Yuan shakes his head. When it was everyone, not just me. John Peng, Gong Li, your parents, your grandparents, and your teachers. They all just wanted you to stay safe and healthy. Even if you could never come back, as long as you were breathing, there was always hope we would meet again. Death ends everything, leaving the living trapped in painful memories forever. Wen's eyes waver, a sudden warmth filling her chest. Fang Yuan, do you still keep in touch with anyone from high school? Not really. At our age, everyone is caught up in their own jobs and struggles. We cannot be carefree like we used to be. Some fell off the map, some moved to the big cities, some got married, and others came back home. I talked to Jean Ping the most. He was always the social butterfly, the one everyone liked, but I bet everyone still looks back on our high school days sometimes. Bet there was a wine red-haired girl who loved the piano, always buzzing with energy and never getting tired. After all, you were the most popular guy in high school, the absolute king of the campus. Noisy? You make me sound like some wild savage. Wenwen locked eyes with Fang Yuan and both of them burst out laughing. Bright laughter echoed through the bedroom. When it died down, Wenwen felt a weight lift. She sprawled out flat on Fang Yuan's bed, staring up at the ceiling light as her gaze drifted. She parted her lips and whispered, I know the only reason I survived and got this healthy is because of everyone's love and support. Fang Yuan, going abroad for treatment was terrifying. Even with Mom there, I was the one who had to face death. I was so scared, terrified that if I closed my eyes, I would never wake up to see the morning sun. Just thinking about how sad everyone would be if I died kept me awake at night. The experimental drug trial went well, but the side effects were brutal. Some days I threw up until there was nothing left but stomach acid. I couldn't eat a bite. Then my hair fell out. I went completely bald and my skin turned yellow. Other times, a deep phantom ache clawed at my entire body. I would lie awake staring at the ceiling until dawn. Luckily, Mom brought my instruments. Music became my escape from the pain. I was so glad I chose music. But on the worst days, muscle weakness took over. I couldn't even press a piano key. I just lay there like a zombie. Staring up at the white ceiling, I would think, is this it? Am I going to die here? It felt like the trial was failing. But I was terrified of pain and I was terrified of dying. I wanted to live so badly. And in those dark moments, your face was the only thing I saw. I kept playing the recording of our high school New Year duet on loop. Listening to us play together gave me the strength to fight for one more day. That is enough, Wenwen. Please, stop. Fang Yuan could not bear to hear another word. He had tried asking her before, but she had always shut down, so he had let it go. Her treatment must have been a living hell. But none of that mattered now. She was alive, she was healthy, and they were together. That was all that counted. Yet even now, hearing her describe those agonizing 8 years so casually made his chest ache. How had she survived all that alone? She looked at him. Fang Yuan, I am not telling you this to hurt you or make you feel pity. I want to be honest with you. I read your private diary. It was wrong, and I know it hurts. But those 8 years apart really happened, and they left scars on both of us that will never fade. We cannot just pretend it never happened, because that pain made me who I am today. Before I left, I actually wrote several farewell letters. I wrote to my grandparents, my parents, Gong Li, John Peng, and you. I poured my heart into every single letter. I was just so grateful to have had you all. You were all such good people. Meeting you in high school, complaining about the gym teacher on the sports field together, it was just so wonderful. Walking to the snack shop for popsicles, sharing my terrible anime drawings that you guys always praised anyway, I cherish every bit of it. There are so many beautiful memories. Even now, at 27, they still bring warmth to my heart. I miss those days. She rubbed her eyes as they suddenly welled up. She tried to force the tears back, muttering to herself that she was being childish. She had rehearsed this conversation in her head 1,000 times. She was supposed to be immune to the pain by now, able to smile through the memories. She was the one who brought this up. She was the one hurting him with her past, yet she was the one crying. If Fang Yuan saw her, it would break his heart. Before she could hide her face, Fang Yuan pulled her into a warm embrace. He did not say a word, letting his steady heartbeat tell her everything she needed to hear. Feeling his chest rising and falling, a wave of comfort washed over her. Fang Yuan stroked her hair. Wenwen, if talking about it helps, then tell me everything. I promised you that no matter what you want to share, I will always be here to listen. I am not going anywhere. You are right. Those memories are painful, but they are still your life. You cannot just lock 8 years of your existence in a box and pretend it is gone. Those years made you who you are, and since I love you, I accept all of it. Just like you read my diary to see how I survived college. Keep things fair, you owe me your story. Besides, you snooped in my diary, so I plan to hold that over your head for the rest of our lives. Serious tone made her giggle through her tears, wet drops soaking into his shirt. She tried to steady her voice. Fang Yuan, how did I not know you were so petty? He laughed. Well, you are stuck with me now. She teased him, warning him that she might start docking points. Then, safe in his arms, she quietly filled in the blanks of her missing years. Between hospital visits, she walked near the institute with Nuan, video called her family, and stared out at the rain, endlessly missing her old friends. Watching spring turn to summer and autumn fade to freezing winter year after painful year. There was one constant through it all. She never stopped playing music, refusing to let go of her dream and her promise to him. Gong Li had told her that Fang Yuan was studying under Su Ru, fighting to become a master. Knowing he was working so hard, she pushed through the agony to practice every day, never letting herself slack off. But if he was fighting for their future, she could not let herself drown in the shadow of death. She wanted to survive. She wanted to stand before him again without falling behind, otherwise he would tease her forever. Fang Yuan buried his face in her soft hair to hide his tears. So Wenwen, is this beautiful hair all new? Yes. Mom kept tracking my vitals for years, working day and night with foreign researchers to perfect the treatment formula. 5 years later, they finally had a massive breakthrough. The side effects faded, and I didn't have to deal with the vomiting, hair loss, and sleepless nights anymore. See, it is real hair, not a wig. Go ahead and tug on it. I hated being bald even more than you would have. She grabbed a lock of hair and yanked it to prove her point. 5 years. Fang Yuan realized the weight of that number and caught his breath. In other words, Wenwen spent her first 5 years of treatment abroad in pure agony. Well, now that I have said it all, I feel a lot lighter. Even though my family video called me constantly over those 8 years, I could never say anything discouraging. I did not want them to worry, so I always put on a cheerful face to comfort them. Honestly, I am only human. I have feelings and I get scared too. Thank you, Fang Yuan, for being willing to listen to all of this. Even though listening was painful, you still respected my wishes and heard me out. Words alone cannot make up for how I hurt you in the past, so I will prove my regrets through actions. But for now, let me give you a little reward. Before Fang Yuan could even react, Wenwen lifted her head in his arms. Their eyes locked as their faces drew closer. Caught completely off guard, Fang Yuan felt Wenwen kiss his lips. In that instant, the air froze. Time stood completely still. Her lips felt incredibly soft and warm, trembling slightly with a deep, tender affection. It was like a feather brushing against his heart, leaving him completely intoxicated and unable to pull away. Heart raced out of control, pounding so loudly in his ears that it felt like it would burst from his chest. A flicker of surprise flashed across Fang Yuan's eyes, but then her endless tenderness filled him. Her sweet, familiar scent drifted over, pulling at his heartstrings. After all, Fang Yuan was just a normal man. He was a full-blooded 27-year-old man, and the person kissing him was the true love of his life, his savior, his shining light. Was Fang Yuan's first kiss, and Wenwen had finally claimed it. Their lips pressed tightly together as their warmth merged, sharing a deep, passionate love. Under the dim light, a strand of Wenwen's hair brushed his cheek, leaving a tingling sensation. As the kiss deepened, Fang Yuan's hands trembled before he gently wrapped them around her waist. Wenwen closed her eyes. Her long eyelashes trembled. A beautiful blush crept across her cheeks. She looked focused yet shy. Knowing her personality, initiating a kiss took immense courage. Lost in this sweet embrace, it felt as if they were the only two people left in the world. Kiss grew deeper, their breathing turning shallow and rapid as the world faded away. Who knows how much time passed before they finally brought themselves to let go. Wenwen panted heavily, her eyes dazed as she stared at Fang Yuan. He was just as inexperienced and completely lost for words. Tried to speak. Suddenly her eyes rolled back. She blacked out completely. Wenwen. Fang Yuan panicked as she collapsed. Suddenly a wave of oxygen deprivation hit his brain. He blacked out too. Both fell flat onto the bed. When Fang Yuan woke up, he found himself lying in a hospital bed. He wondered, why am I here? My head is spinning. Finally clicked. Remembering his kiss with Wenwen and how they both fainted right after, Fang Yuan panicked. He called out, Wenwen, where are you? And tried to scramble out of bed to find her. Suddenly, the curtain pulled back. Gong Li stood there, furious. She snapped, be quiet, you idiot Fang Yuan. He asked, Gong Li, why am I here? How is your sister? Then, Fang Yuan noticed Wenwen lying in the adjacent bed, her back turned to him. Seeing Wenwen there made him sigh in relief, but Gong Li snapped, she is fine, you bastard. What did you do to my sister last night? How did both of you end up unconscious in your room? Half asleep, Gong Li had heard Fang Yuan shout her sister's name. She checked his room, only to find them both passed out on the bed. In that instant, every wild scenario ran through her head. She wanted to slice him in half for taking advantage of Wenwen. Stammering, Fang insisted, I do not know either. Fang Yuan scratched his head. Why did they both suddenly faint after kissing? Was this some kind of bizarre side effect that came with everyone's first kiss? That is impossible, right? Gong Li demanded. Spill it. Why was Wenwen in your room last night? What did you do to make both of you pass out? She warned, explain, or I will cut you to pieces. Gong Li's eyes flared with pure murderous intent. She was deadly serious. Thinking back, Fang Yuan hesitated to tell the truth. Passing out from a kiss was incredibly embarrassing, and nobody would believe him anyway. Just then, a voice called out, it is fine, sister. I went to see Fang Yuan to clear some things up. The door was closed, so maybe we ran out of oxygen and passed out because we could not breathe. Laughing weakly, Wenwen realized she could no longer play ostrich. She sat up and tried to laugh it off, seeing how hard Gong Li was cornering Fang Yuan. She could not let Fang Yuan admit she was the one who initiated the kiss. That was her very first kiss, and admitting she fainted from it would be unbearable. Older sister, she total social death. Gong Li frowned. Bad air? Fang Yuan froze, suddenly realizing the real reason they had passed out. They had kissed for so long that they literally forgot to breathe. It was so sudden and sweet, they ended up in the hospital, saved by Gong Li. Realizing this, Fang Yuan wanted to crawl into a hole, right now. Gong Li could never find out. Not only did Wenwen have to save face, but what about Fang Yuan's own dignity as her future brother-in-law? Fang Yuan quickly chimed in with an awkward laugh. Yeah, Gong Li, it is just like Wenwen said. The room was shut tight, the air was terrible, and we just passed out. Gong Li glared at them. Do you think I am a 3-year-old child? She was no fool. Believing such a ridiculous story would make her an idiot. Who on earth passes out on a bed just because a bedroom door is closed? She was entirely convinced that Fang Yuan had done something inappropriate to Wenwen. Right now, she looked like she wanted to grab a knife and stab him. Sensing the murderous glare, Fang Yuan broke into a cold sweat. They were not fooling her. In his mind, he screamed, "Wenwen, save me!" Fang Yuan threw a desperate look at her, begging her to handle her sister. Instead, Wenwen pulled the blanket over her head, ignoring him completely. She had already passed the signal to him. He would not dare tell Gong Li they fainted because they were too busy kissing to breathe, right? If he actually admitted that, she would accept her fate. But she could not believe Fang Yuan was already preparing to sell out his partner in crime. Was he really throwing her under the bus? Gong Li took a step forward, eyes cold as she demanded, "Fang Yuan, spill it. What did you and Wenwen do, or I will never forgive you?" Fang Yuan stammered, trying to survive. Wenwen was no help. He had to save himself. Fang Yuan knows he has to use his silver tongue to win over Gong Li. Bed 34 and bed 35. Time for temperatures. A nurse walks us in, saving him just in time. He quickly waves her over. "Nurse, I am here, over here." Seeing his incredibly handsome face, she blushes instantly. Then she remembers why he is hospitalized and giggles. Her eyes dart between Fang Yuan and Wenwen. It is as if she is silently saying, "Oh my, it has been a long time since I saw such innocent kids. Fainting from a kiss because they forgot to breathe is just too silly." Gong Li looks at the nurse. "Nurse, did my sister and this jerk really faint from a lack of air?" She grabs the nurse, looking dead serious. "I might not have much school, but do not lie to me. The nurse says otherwise. She will beat Fang Yuan to a pulp." Hearing this, the nurse is completely stunned. An innocent couple was one thing, but this busty lowly Gong Li is even more clueless. Seeing Fang Yuan begging for mercy with his eyes, the nurse starts imagining a whole drama. Sister and boyfriend kiss. Faint from nerves, then the little sister walks in. It is like a scene straight out of a soap opera. The nurse clears her throat. "Yes, they really fainted from a lack of fresh air. Do not worry." Grin she. To be young. Fang Yuan plays dumb. Gong Li is skeptical. Did her sister really pass out from a lack of oxygen? No way. It makes zero sense. But the nurse said it, so Gong Li has to buy it. Why would a total stranger lie for them? Gong Li glares. One wrong move and she will destroy him, but they escaped. The nurse runs out, laughing. Meanwhile, Qian is drowning in paperwork, dark circles for days. She wanted cooking lessons. He sent takeout. Qian practiced his recipes, but his texts stay strictly platonic. Draws a line. No matter how she hints, he plays safe. Online flirting is useless. She needs to make a move in person, but the office is too chaotic. Honestly, things were never this bad before. Now she is working like a dog. Suddenly, she notices Xia Sining staring blankly, a far cry from the ruthless princess she used to be. Qian slams her hand on the desk, demanding answers. Sining is completely distracted. She keeps sneaking out for personal errands, doubling Qian's workload. Qian wants to date, not drown in paperwork. Caught red-handed, Xia Sining tenses up. She is totally off, consumed by thoughts of her family, Yan and Fang Yuan. Having just regained her sight, she must secure her power. In this family, competence is everything. As a woman fighting to lead a massive empire, she has to work twice as hard. She is the chosen successor. But going blind almost cost her everything. Without her father backing her return, she would have lost her seat of power. Heavy warning still rings in her head. She wanted to live up to his expectations, but personal feelings are in the way. She cannot find her cold, sharp edge. Every time she closes her eyes, she drifts. And she sees Fang Yuan. Looking back at her 3 years with Fang Yuan, even when she went blind and her world turned pitch black, his quiet care was always there. A tiny, almost invisible light. But he stayed right beside her, never once walking away. Too small to notice, just a soft, constant warmth. That blindness let Xia Sining fool herself into believing she still loved her first love, completely missing what she really felt for Fang Yuan. She kept asking herself, if she had recognized those feelings sooner, before Wenwen returned and refused the divorce, could they have made it? What if she had chased him, treated him right? Would things be different now? Would Fang Yuan have forgotten Wenwen and chosen her? It was a long shot, but just thinking about that lost chance filled her with crushing regret. But now, she has no right to even try. Not after she chose Yan right in front of Fang Yuan, signed the divorce papers, and let Wenwen swoop back into Kyoto to reclaim him. Changed Fang Yuan. He even used a favor from Xia Jiacheng just to cut ties with Xia Sining forever, all to make Wenwen feel safe. Xia Sining has no chance left. She lost everything. And then there is Yan, even though their reunion shattered her illusions, proving he was never the perfect prince she remembered. But she promised him a second chance. Plus, she owes Lu Piaosu for saving her life. Where does she go from here? Leaving him would crush him. It defies her moral code. Staying? That just drags out the pain. What if Yan finds out she can never marry him because she loves Fang Yuan? The thought paralyzes her. She cannot even focus on her work. Her friend sighs. "You are acting so strange, Sining. What is going on? If we are still best friends, stop hiding things. Is this about Fang Yuan or Yan?" Qian presses her, saying if it really is about a man, Sining has to open up. She might not have all the answers, but she promises to help any way she can. Qian asks, her voice tight with worry. In her heart, Xia Sining is her absolute best friend. They aren't just boss and secretary, they are childhood sisters. Qian only took this job out of respect for Xia Sining's talent and their deep bond. As the heiress of the Zheng family, she certainly doesn't need to play secretary to make a living. If she ever had to choose between Fang Yuan and Xia Sining wins every single time. Years of shared history mean too much to throw away over a guy. Qian is clear-headed about that. No man, no matter how rare, is worth losing her sister. Xia Sining quickly brushes it off. Do not overthink, Qian. I am just stressed about my mother's upcoming birthday party. She asks if her bond with Yan is so weak, she would need Fang Yuan to play pretend. But Qian remains deeply skeptical. Wasn't all of this already handled for Xia Sining? At the end of the day, there is only one thing capable of shattering Xia Sining's focus like this. A man. Xia Sining insists she is fine, promising to give Qian a vacation after today. But Qian just snorts. With Xia Sining in this messy state, there is no way she can handle the work alone. Qian says she would never abandon her best friend just to slack off. But she does need the afternoon off. She is meeting Fang Yuan so he can teach her how to cook and build their connection. A sudden wave of complicated emotions hits Xia Sining. She quietly asks Qian if she is still completely hung up on Fang Yuan. be. Xia Sining points out that Fang Yuan is already back with Wenwen. Qian admits she knows, but says she wants to fight for her own happiness, even if it makes her look like a homewrecker. She used to despise girls who did this, but now she is willing to throw her morals aside to avoid a lifetime of regret. At worst, Fang Yuan rejects her, but if she never tries, her chances are zero. If she shoots her shot, there is at least a tiny spark of hope. Qian remains hopelessly optimistic. She knows it is wrong and practically impossible, but she cannot let it go. If she had a long line of exes, she might move on. But Qian has been single since birth, and Fang Yuan is the first man she has ever truly wanted. In the past, before Luyan let Xia Sining down so terribly, Qian used to be so jealous. Xia Sining, you had a college sweetheart, a perfect match in social status. You never broke up and were heading straight for marriage with everyone's blessings. Qian, watching Xia Sining and Luyan together, saw how beautiful and complete their love was. It was really hard not to feel envious. She thought about dating to add some color to her life, but could never find anyone who made her feel anything. Fang Yuan is the only man Qian has ever wanted, just that special. Qian explains all this so clearly, asking if Xia Sining understands. Seeing Qian is prepared to face rejection for a tiny spark of hope, Xia Sining realizes there is no point in trying to stop her. At the same time, Xia Sining deeply envies Qian. At least Qian has the courage to risk rejection to avoid living with regret. What about herself? Must she play the ostrich forever, too afraid to face her own heart while leaving Luyan to wait in hopeless, painful silence? Then, Qian suddenly asks if Xia Sining has seen Fang Yuan lately. Qian asks almost instinctively, but Xia Sining only shakes her head in response. Aside from that time, Xia Sining intentionally waited outside the White Swan community just to force a meeting and visit Fang Yuan. They have not seen each other in forever. They have not even exchanged a single text. And Fang Yuan must be incredibly happy now that he is back with Wenwen. With her by his side, his life is complete. Why would he ever think about his loveless contract wife from 3 years ago? Even though Xia Sining knows he does not love her, the thought still pierces her heart. Did he ever notice her love? If Fang Yuan knew how much Xia Sining cared, would he run away? Qian breaks the silence, deciding to call Fang Yuan to see if he is free this afternoon, though she heard he might be busy with a piano competition. Completely blind to Xia Sining's sudden despair, Qian dials Fang Yuan's number immediately, brightly asking if he has any free time to spare this afternoon. Explains she needs help with cooking. Then she suddenly panics. You are in the hospital? What happened? Qian's sudden panic sends a shiver through the room. On the side, Xia Sining's mind goes completely blank. Is Fang Yuan really in the hospital? Her heart floods with intense worry, a wave of raw panic far more terrifying than anything she felt when Luyan was hurt. Is something seriously wrong with Fang Yuan's body? Urging him to rest, Qian gasps in surprise. Wait, you are still coming over this afternoon? Are you absolutely sure you are up for it? She reassures him that there is no rush, urging him to prioritize his health. The moment Qian hangs up, Xia Sining demands to know if Fang Yuan is okay, her voice thick with raw panic. Qian tells her to calm down. Fang Yuan is fine, and he still promised to help her with cooking later. She says they can get the details once they see him. Xia Sining bites her lip, admitting she wants to go too to check on him. Qian is completely stunned. When asked about the company, Xia Sining counters that she has trained plenty of capable people, and if the business collapses the moment she leaves, then she has failed as a leader. She tells Qian to meet Fang Yuan first, find out the situation, and text her the location. Xia Sining will finish her work and have her driver bring her over immediately. Her voice leaves no room for argument. To confirm with her own eyes that Fang Yuan is safe is all she wants. Even if Fang Yuan brushed it off as a minor issue, she cannot rest until she sees him unharmed. Xia Sining simply does not care who might notice her desperation anymore. Qian realizes Xia Sining's intense worry for Fang Yuan has completely crossed the line. Even when Luyan was hospitalized after his accident, Xia Sining had never lost her composure like this. But then she remembers Fang Yuan cared for Xia Sining unconditionally during their 3-year contract marriage, even curing her blindness. He deserves some concern. Even with Luyan standing between them, there is no reason they can't still be friends. If Xia Sining showed zero concern after hearing he was hospitalized, she would seem completely heartless. On the other end, after hanging up, Fang Yuan tells Wenwen and Gong about his plans to teach Qian how to cook. He asks if they want to tag along. He calls Qian a wonderful girl who, like Professor Su, helped him immensely over the years. Besides, she is the older sister of Cheng. He asks if they remember meeting the friend of Piao Shu at their first anime convention, where they added each other on WeChat. Fang Yuan's complete transparency silences Gong, who was ready to snap at him. To say anything now would make her look incredibly petty. Meanwhile, Wenwen recalls that Qian is Xia Sining's secretary, which Fang Yuan confirms. Wenwen pulls the blanket over her head, her voice shaky. Forget it, I think I will just go back and rest. Fang Yuan asks if she minds. If you do, I will call it off, he says. Breaking his promise to Qian does not matter to him at all. In his heart, Wenwen's feelings come first and everything else has to wait. She laughs, oh you idiot, I am not that petty. Promised Miss Qian, and she helped you before. You are only going to a private kitchen to teach her. It is no big deal. If I get jealous over something this small, my life will be so exhausting. Since I chose you, I will trust you, Fang Yuan. I trust your character, and I know you will not let me down. It is not that Wenwen does not want to go. She is just totally embarrassed about yesterday, giving Fang Yuan her first kiss, kissing so hard they forgot to breathe and ending up in the hospital. Oh my gosh, this is definitely going to scar her for life. Every time she remembers, she wants to crawl into a hole and hide. Absolutely no one else can ever find out, or Wenwen's great reputation will be completely ruined. Or Wenwen, aren't you spoiling Fang Yuan a bit too much? Gong frowns slightly. Even though she is younger than Wenwen and Fang Yuan, touring the world with her violin troupe has shown her a great deal of relationship betrayal and ugly cheating. She has more worldly experience than both of them. Still, Gong admits Fang Yuan is special. He has stayed completely devoted to Wenwen for 8 long years. Otherwise, she would not complain while accepting Fang Yuan as her brother-in-law, or agree to share her beloved sister, Wenwen. But with Wenwen trusting him so completely, she worries Fang Yuan might eventually lose his mind and betray her. If that happens, Wenwen will end up in terrible pain. Here is the 3rd chapter update. So how about some gifts to give me motivation to write more? Besides, it is not just Fang Yuan I spoil spoil you too, little sister. Come here, my energy is low. Let your sister recharge by burying my face in your chest. I want those big pillows of yours. Before Gong Li can even react, Wenwen grabs her and buries her face right into her chest. She laughs. Ah, so sweet. I am totally revived on the spot. Fang Yuan is used to their play fighting, so he slips out to avoid being called a pervert. Gong Li sighs. Sister, be serious. Are you really that relaxed? Fang Yuan is going to teach another girl how to cook. How are you not worried at all? Back at our grandparents' house in the countryside, you said you were worried too. You were worried he might fall for someone else and leave you. Gong Li finally pulls Wenwen out of her tight embrace, her face serious. Even without any dating experience, she knows Fang Yuan is playing a very dangerous game. Play with fire, you get burned, Gong Li warns. But Wenwen just laughs. I am serious, sister. Seeing her genuinely upset, Wenwen drops the playful act. You are right. She admits she was terrified at first. Fang Yuan is handsome, gentle, and successful. Of course, other women are going to chase him. With all their painful history, she is far from perfect. But after last night, her doubts are gone. Remember helping me sneak him out? Well, I read his diary. Of course, she keeps the embarrassing part to herself. There is absolutely no way she is telling Gong Li. They both fainted from forgetting to breathe during their first kiss. Gong Li is stunned. She gasps, you did all that just to read his diary? Does he know? Wenwen nods, yes, he knows. Reading that diary left me so overwhelmed. Grief-stricken, I just had to go to Fang Yuan's room to clear the air. I wanted to know his past, not just because he is the man I love, but because I caused him all that pain. Even if Fang Yuan acts like everything is fine as long as I am back, being with him makes me wonder, does he secretly blame me? When I found out about the diary, I actually wanted him to hate me in those pages, to curse me. It would have made me feel better. Pathetic, right? But Fang Yuan never showed any anger. He understood me from the start, believing I must have had a good reason to leave. He kept searching, ready to spend his entire life to get an answer. Yet he just wanted me safe and healthy, even if I never returned. Gong Li falls silent hearing this. Wenwen continues, so during the years when he easily could have moved on, he still waited, never complaining. Now that I am back, if I cannot even trust him this much, I do not deserve to be with him. I choose to believe in Fang Yuan. I cannot promise a perfect, easy future. But after the 8 years Fang Yuan spent waiting, I am ready to bet everything without a single regret. Wenwen smiles, her eyes shining. Later that afternoon, she heads back to the apartment to rest, while Gong Li and Fang Yuan go to the private kitchen. Are you sure you do not want to come? Fang Yuan asks with a look. Doesn't she want to know if Gong Min and Nuan are her real parents? Wenwen shakes her head. You guys go ahead. I am tired and need rest. She wants answers, and asking Qian about Xia Sining right now is her best shot. Even so, now that she is this close, she hesitates and pulls back. What if she is not their daughter? What if her resemblance to Xia Sining points to some dark, unspeakable secret? What then? It's not like coming back to Kyoto to reunite with Fang Yuan. Wenwen is terrified. Is opening this Pandora's box really a good idea? Maybe staying quiet and remaining Gong Min and Nuan's daughter, and Gong Li's sister, is best. It is safer to ignore the what-ifs. She is not ready to meet Xia Sining or face the Xia family. She needs time to think, to make a decision she will not regret. Fang Yuan senses her hesitation and decides not to push her into going. Before they head out, he texts Qian to let her know. When Qian learns that Wenwen's younger sister Gong Li is coming along, she feels deeply annoyed. She knows the sister is only tagging along to watch her every move and see if she has any hidden motives with Fang Yuan. But since they are coming, she cannot refuse. Besides, she really does have designs on Fang Yuan and wants to steal him away from Wenwen, which she cannot deny. Feeling guilty and defensive, she hides her frustration and welcomes them anyway. When Fang Yuan and Gong Li arrive first, Gong Li looks around in awe. She explains that she used to work part-time here during college, and the restaurant has been open in Kyoto for 10 years. The owner is a good friend. The food is amazing, and it is actually where she learned most of her cooking skills. Fang Yuan smiled. I learned it all from this private kitchen, so you should definitely try it. Realizing his incredible cooking skills came from this very place, Gong Li found herself pretty intrigued. The moment they walked through the door, Fang Yuan politely called out, Master Zhang, it is Fang Yuan. We had an appointment. Right away, a voice boomed back. Oh, Fang Yuan, it has been way too long. Cheerful middle-aged chef in his 50s walked up and greeted Fang Yuan warmly. As they chatted, Gong Li took a look around, noticing the overall European style of the space, blended perfectly with warm wooden elements under a glittering chandelier that cast a soft, romantic glow. A small, elegant bar sat in the corner, stocked with premium wines. Every single detail showed the owner's great taste. Slogans in both Chinese and English hung on the walls, sharing a unique philosophy and warmth. There were even little welcome cards on the tables, making guests feel genuinely cared for. Calling this place a simple private kitchen felt like an understatement. If you had to grade it, this was easily a top-tier luxury dining experience. Just then, Master Zhang noticed Gong Li, who looked like an unbelievably busty Lolita. Fang Yuan quickly introduced them. Master Zhang, this is my girlfriend's younger sister. Hearing him introduce her like that, Gong Li initially wanted to protest. After all, she had not accepted him as a brother-in-law yet. But remembering a potential rival for Wenwen might show up soon, she kept her mouth shut. Letting him claim her as family would warn other women to back off. Knowing Fang Yuan was officially taken was actually a pretty good thing. Even though Wenwen had told her about Fang Yuan's diary, making her trust him a bit more, she still had to be prepared. Better safe than sorry. Fang Yuan meant way too much to Wenwen, and she could not bear to think of what would happen if he strayed. But Gong Li did not owe him anything, so she would not blindly trust him the way her sister did. Zhang gasped in shock. Gong Li, your girlfriend's sister? Fang Yuan, wait, aren't you married to Xia Sining? Fang Yuan could only offer a helpless smile. It is a long story. Master Zhang sighed. Actually, I get it. Say no more. You guys booked the place today, so use it however you like. The moment Master Zhang heard Xia Sining's eyes were cured and she returned as president of the Xia group, he knew this day would come. After all, Fang Yuan's marriage to her was just a shield to protect the company from bad press. Now that Xia Sining was cured, Fang Yuan, who was just a tool in a contract marriage, naturally had no purpose left. It was a shame, considering how incredibly well Fang Yuan had treated Xia Sining, yet he still could not win her heart. Still, seeing him find real happiness now was wonderful, so Master Zhang chose to keep those thoughts to himself. Fang Yuan said, sorry to trouble you, Master Zhang. The chef waved his hands. Oh, come on, act like you never helped me. Plus, I want to see how much your cooking has improved, so I will be your assistant today and learn learn a thing or two. Fang Yuan did not play the piano. His raw talent would have easily made him a legendary chef. He then asked, has the lady you are teaching arrived yet? Instead of just waiting, let me whip up some new dishes I have been testing. Give me some feedback so I can tweak them. Help yourselves to drinks. With that, he eagerly sat them at the bar and hurried to the kitchen. Fang Yuan asked, Gong Li, what do you want to drink? She hesitated, her eyes lingering on a bottle of green plum wine. She remembered getting absolutely wasted on a similar fruit wine right after returning to Kyoto, throwing up all over Fang Yuan's room. She quickly replied, just a regular drink for me. Fang Yuan, clearly sharing her trauma, poured her a refreshing iced lemon tea while grabbing a light fruit wine for himself. Before long, Master Zhang brought out his creations, warm Greek cheese pies served alongside perfectly sliced Spanish ham. Chef smiled. I tweaked both recipes to better suit Chinese tastes. Give them a try. Fang Yuan took a bite and nodded happily. Your culinary skills are truly exceptional, Master Zhang. Admiring how gorgeous the food looked, Gong Li snapped a quick photo to send to Wenwen before taking a bite and nodding in total agreement. So delicious and satisfying. Seeing them enjoy it so much, Master Zhang laughed warmly, but then he stared at her face, murmuring her name under his breath. Gong Li, he wondered. Why does that name sound so incredibly familiar? Fang Yuan grinned. Well, she is the youngest member of the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, spent 2 years on a world tour, and is a violin prodigy. He did not hold back his praise at all. Master Zhang gasped. Oh, it is you. I saw your interview on the national news. A local Kyoto talent making us all so proud. He eagerly asked. Superstar, can I get an autograph? She smiled. Of course. Right at that moment, Qian arrived at the location, looking around and realizing she found the place. Hello, is anyone here? Qian asked, pushing the door open as the wind chimes chimed softly. Fang Yuan waved. Sister Qian, over here. Sister? Her lip twitched. He used to call her just Qian even after she asked him to change it, but seeing Gong Li beside him, she instantly understood his intention. Calling her by her name was too intimate, so adding sister drew a clear boundary. Even though it stung, she managed to smile. Fang Yuan, sorry to keep you guys waiting. She kept her graceful composure, walking forward with elegant steps and setting her handbag down on the counter. Spent hours getting her makeup done, styling her hair and choosing the perfect outfit. She wore a high-end designer white dress that looked pure as snow, her skirt swaying gently as she moved. Her warm smile carried the irresistible charm of a mature woman. But as she got closer and spotted Gong Li's absolutely staggering massive chest, her confident smile froze solid on her face. How on earth did someone end up with a chest that big? It was even larger than any foreigner she had ever seen, yet she had such a cute doll-like face. And this was just Wenwen's younger sister. The actual girlfriend, Wenwen, was Fang Yuan's legendary high school sweetheart, had looks rivaling Xia Sining, possessed an incredible figure, and was a musical prodigy just like him. Staring at this girl's unreal assets, Qian felt her final shred of hope turn to ash. There was absolutely nothing left for her, and she nearly fainted on the spot. Fang Yuan quickly asked, Sister Qian, are you okay? She choked out. I am fine. But her pale face said otherwise, leaving everyone in the room thinking that something was definitely wrong. Gong Li glanced down at her chest. She noticed Qian staring directly at them before her face went completely pale. Was her bust really that devastating to other women? Just looking at her was enough to make a rival lose hope and back down. Gong Li found herself questioning reality. Once Qian calmed down, she stepped up to start the cooking lesson. She was already here. She had promised herself she would fight for even a 1% chance so she would not live with regrets. How could she run away just because of a girl's doll-like face and massive chest? After making absolutely sure Qian was feeling okay, Fang Yuan looked at the chef. All right, Master Zhang, let us head into the kitchen. He then introduced Master Zhang to Qian, adding, if I am busy in the future, you can always come here. Master Zhang taught me everything I know, and he will be happy to help you. Qian caught his drift immediately. He brought her here just to hand her off to Master Zhang, but her goal was never to learn how to cook. She wanted to spend time bonding with Fang Yuan. What a pain. As they walked into the kitchen, Qian took a deep breath. She had done plenty of homework beforehand, determined to impress Fang Yuan no matter what. Qian worked hard to earn Fang Yuan's praise, but her joy is short-lived. He has Master Zhang demonstrate most of the cooking techniques to her. Excuse? Master Zhang taught him, making the man the ultimate authority. Qian cannot argue with that, even with Gong Li causing trouble. Zero time for romance, just endless cooking. 2 hours slip by in a flash. Still, her skills actually improve. He says he must go. Qian is stunned, leaving already, but he has to get back to Wenwen. Just ask Master Zhang if you get stuck, he tells her. Crushed once again, Qian feels a wave of utter hopelessness. Trying is just self-sabotage. He never steps out of line. No matter what she does, she cannot get closer to his heart, even with Wenwen away. She used to think he kept his distance out of respect for Xia Sining, since Qian is her best friend and he loved Xia Sining back then. She was wrong. It is all about Wenwen. Wenwen is all he thinks about. How is she supposed to compete? She sighs and tells him that Xia Sining is coming. Right then, the door chimes ring. Xia Sining steps in, wearing a custom black suit. She is elegant, her dark hair swept back to frame a flawless face. Her sharp eyes gleam like cold stars, looking right through people. But her tightly pressed lips give away the anxiety eating at her. Gong Li has been spying from the kitchen door, watching for any funny business. She turns at the sound and freezes when she sees Xia Sining. No way. Exactly like Wenwen. A picture cannot capture even a fraction of her real beauty. Seeing her in person, the truth is clear. The resemblance is uncanny. Walking down the street, anyone would mistake them for identical twin sisters. A wave of mixed emotions hits Gong Li. She has always hated that she does not look like her own sister. Always mistaken for friends, which bugs her to no end. And now this stranger shares that exact same face. Just too much to accept. Xia Sining looks at her. You are Gong Li, right? The private detective she hired had plenty of photos. Her cute doll-like face and striking features are hard to forget, but it is the look in Gong Li's eyes. It makes Xia Sining deeply uncomfortable. It is like looking at a shadow of someone else, dripping with resentment and envy. Fang Yuan look at her like this when she was blind? Treat her as a mere substitute? The thought makes her chest ache. She is Kyoto royalty. Yet she was just a stand-in. Worst of all, she fell for him believing he loved her. Gong Li speaks up. You must be Miss Xia Sining, CEO of the Xia Group, right? Gong Li hides her annoyance, refusing to act childishly as she forces a calm smile. I have heard of you, Gong Li says. Xia Sining replies, likewise the brilliant violinist, genius of the music academy. It is an honor. Xia Sining forces herself to stay composed. She extends a hand. Gong Li hesitates, gives a brief shake, and quickly pulls away. Looking at her empty hand, she pulls it back with a bitter mental sigh. She knows why Gong Li dislikes her. She is Fang Yuan's ex-wife, and Gong Li's sister is his current girlfriend, the eternal muse he has always loved. Both of them are miserable over the exact same woman. Wenwen is an obstacle neither of them can ever bypass. Gong Li acts out of loyalty, but Xia Sining's feelings remain locked away. Even Fang Yuan does not know. She can only suffer alone. Right then, Fang Yuan steps out of the kitchen. He bumps into her and stops, confused. What are you doing here? She says she was just passing by and heard he was hospitalized. She asks if he is all right, her voice tight with panic. In all his years, she has never cared this much. He shrugs it off. He is fine, even well enough to teach cooking. She relaxes, asking to sit and talk about her mother's birthday. But he tells her to handle it. He will just tag along. He cuts her off. Wenwen is waiting, and he has to get home. Without looking back, he grabs Gong Li and walks out, leaving Xia Sining to stare blankly at his cold, departing figure. There is no warmth left in him. Now his world revolves entirely around Wenwen. Other women do not even register anymore. Even business talk cannot make him stay. Freezing. This hurts worse than when Luyan betrayed her, because she loves Fang Yuan even more than she loved him. That was the bitter truth. Xia Sining never actually had Fang Yuan's heart. She thought he cured her blindness out of love. But it was all just gratitude, paid to a familiar face. People always crave what they cannot have. It is a toxic habit. Luyan was like that, and now so was Fang Yuan. Xia Sining could not make sense of it anymore. All she felt was a crushing pain, making her knees buckle. Qian asked, Sining, are you okay? Qian originally wanted to vent about her own heartbreak, but seeing Xia Sining looking like a broken kite, completely lost and miserable, she realized her friend was hurting even more. Pushing her own feelings aside, Qian rushed over to steady her. Xia Sining stammered, Qian, I am fine, really, I am okay. She mumbled those broken words, trying to convince herself just as much as Qian. Anyone else could sound this fragile, but not Xia Sining. She was a billionaire heiress, the most elite figure in Kyoto. Aside from when Luyan abandoned her after she went blind, Qian had never seen her this broken. Qian shook her head. You do not look fine. Where is Fang Yuan? He left with Gong Li. Xia Sining replied. He said he was worried about Wenwen being home alone, so I should just decide myself. I wanted to ask him about my mother's birthday gift, but he did not care. His entire world is just Wenwen. Something was wrong, very wrong. These tears belonged to Qian, not Xia Sining. Why was Xia Sining the one breaking down in such raw, agonizing pain? Seeing her look so completely hollowed out, a shocking realization hit Qian. Sining, she whispered, have you been distracted lately because of Fang Yuan? Your pain is not about Luyan or your family, but because of him. Even a slow-witted person would get it now. Xia Sining had made her choice, and things seemed fine at first. She would not suddenly fall apart like this without a massive trigger. There was only one possible explanation. Ever since her divorce from Fang Yuan, seeing him with Wenwen made her realize her heart belonged to Fang Yuan, not Luyan. That was why she was hurting so much now, seeing him choose another woman and leave her behind. A cruel, dramatic irony. Qian used to mock these dramatic tropes on television. She never expected real life to be even more ridiculous. Now it was happening to her best friend, the proud heiress, who should have been immune to such heartbreak. Xia Sining wept. I am sorry, Qian. I did not mean to keep it from you. I just knew I did not stand a chance anymore. What difference would the truth make? Fang Yuan has Wenwen now, with no room for anyone else. I even think his gentle care, his kindness, and his willingness to test medicine for me were all just because of my face. Everyone says I look exactly like her. Even Wenwen's little sister Gong Li stared at me in shock because of how identical we are. For the first time, Xia Sining was laying her heart bare, admitting her love for her ex-husband. She had kept this secret buried for far too long. It was suffocating her, tearing her apart. Speaking it aloud lifted a tiny bit of the crushing weight from her chest. Qian listened to her confession, completely stunned into silence for a long time. Finally, Qian let out a helpless sigh. Sining, I am in the exact same boat. Today I tried so hard to get closer to him. I know it was selfish, but he is the only man I have ever loved and I had to try. But he never crossed the line. He treated me strictly as a friend. Helping me was just a duty, and the moment we finished, he rushed back to Wenwen. I see it clearly now. Wenwen is his entire world. I used to think he kept his distance from me and never crossed any lines because he was in love with you. So I buried my feelings deep down. I could never try to steal my best friend's husband. When you divorced, I thought I finally had a chance. Then Wenwen appeared out of nowhere and dragged me straight into the dark. If Xia Sining felt like a clown, Qian was the ultimate joke. At least Xia Sining lived with him for 3 years, enjoying his devotion as his wife. Their bond was always going to be closer than anything Qian had. Friend. Nothing more. Thinking she could pursue him after he reunited with Wenwen was pathetic. Xia Sining felt a pang of guilt. This was exactly why she had kept quiet, not wanting to tell her. Qian never stood a chance. She did not even have the right to try. Hearing Xia Sining confess would only crush her spirits further. Sining, she said, I wanted to vent to you, but I see no hope now. I want to let him go. I refuse to be the other woman. Yet here you are, hurting even worse than me. I do not even know what to say. Qian looked at her with a weary, sympathetic smile, devoid of any mockery. It still hurt too much. Truly were best friends. Ever since childhood, they shared the exact same tastes, and now they had fallen for the exact same man. He was incredible. Tall, handsome, gentle, a great pianist, and an amazing cook. Spend enough time around a guy like Fang Yuan, and falling for him was inevitable. Possessed every quality a woman could want. Even Qian, single her entire life and never once in love, found her heart fluttering. But to him, they were just friends and benefactors. Nothing more. Their blooming feelings were doomed to be a painful, one-sided obsession they could never shake. Watching the two heartbroken friends, Master Zhang felt like he should be hiding under the car instead of standing there. He did not quite get why they were so sad, but from what he gathered, both women had feelings for Fang Yuan. Unbelievable. Did he not already have a girlfriend? This was massive, unbelievable gossip. He recognized one of them as Xia Sining, the famous billionaire heiress. Was Fang Yuan not supposed to be just a shield to handle her family crisis? He was just a tool, yet she actually fell for him. Still, this was dangerous gossip. For the sake of his career, he should mind his own business. Just as Master Zhang tried to sneak back into the kitchen, he bumped the corner with a loud thud. Liu Qian and Xia Sining immediately whipped around to stare at him. Oh, sorry, you two keep talking. I will just get back to the kitchen. Master Zhang was so embarrassed he wanted the floor to open up and swallow him. Master Zhang, if you heard anything we just said, please do not tell Fang Yuan, I beg you. Liu Qian pleaded. I won't say a word. Of course not, my lips are zipped. Master Zhang mimed locking his mouth and hurried out. Xia Sining, this is no place to talk. Let us find somewhere else to chat. Since Liu Qian already knew everything, Xia Sining saw no point in hiding it. They went to a nearby cafe and got a private booth. Liu Qian asked if Xia Sining wanted her usual Americano. Xia Sining shook her head, saying she wanted a chocolate latte. Liu Qian froze. Since when did she stop drinking bitter black coffee? Xia Sining used to mock lattes as glorified milk drinks that were barely even coffee, let alone with chocolate. Liu Qian could never have imagined her friend ordering something like that. Xia Sining explained that she had visited this cafe once before with Fang Yuan. She had ordered a bitter, sugarless black coffee, while Fang Yuan got a chocolate latte. Since they were here, she wanted to try it. Fang Yuan remembered all her favorite things and even hand-brewed her Americano. Yet she only discovered during that visit that he actually hated black coffee and preferred sweet lattes. Liu Yan was ancient history, but she realized it too late. Even if Xia Sining tried to reach his heart now, Fang Yuan would not care. For Wenwen, he was willing to throw away everything and use Liu Jiaqing's promise just to leave Xia Sining. Xia Sining, I told you to think this through, and this is what you came up with? Liu Qian sighed. For 3 years, you swore you loved Liu Yan, not Fang Yuan. You said you were sure, yet here we are. I do not even know what to say to you. Have you ever considered that doing this is actually incredibly unfair to Liu Yan? Liu Qian's own sadness over losing Fang Yuan slowly faded, replaced by pure frustration at her best friend's stubbornness. Assume I lost my mind, Xia Sining muttered. I am just a fool who took everything for granted. Only when it was gone did I realize who I truly wanted, and now I am drowning in regret. First Liu Yan, now Fang Yuan. Maybe it is my curse, a fatal flaw that blinds me whenever I have to make a major decision. Getting back with Liu Yan was a mistake, and divorcing Fang Yuan was no different. Xia Sining's brutal self-sabotage caught Liu Qian completely off guard. She did not even know if she should keep lecturing her. After all, Xia Sining had clearly realized her mistakes, and she was not acting in denial anymore. Now, Liu Qian could only lament that her friend had woken up too late. Xia Sining was already miserable enough. What are you going to do now, Xia Sining? Xia Sining looked down and whispered, What can I do? You saw how Fang Yuan acted. He only has eyes for Wenwen now. Neither of us stands a chance with him. But Liu Qian shook her head. I am not just talking about Fang Yuan. What about Liu Yan? You love Fang Yuan now, not Liu Yan, yet you promised to reunite. You are fighting your family for him, and then there is your debt to Liu Piaosusu. I do not know. Those words perfectly summed up Xia Sining's state of mind. She genuinely had no idea how to face Liu Yan or their forced reunion. Liu Qian saw her confusion, thought for a moment, then slammed her hands on the table and stood up. Xia Sining, you need to be honest with Liu Yan and call off this reunion. Even if you cannot be strangers, you can just be friends. If you marry him like this, you will be miserable forever. The man you love is Fang Yuan. But Xia Sining stammered. I already promised Liu Yan and he saved my sister's life. I promised to forgive him. Do you want me to lie? Liu Qian scoffed. Love does not work that way. Xia Sining, marriage is for life. Can you spend forever looking at a man you do not love who already abandoned you once? You can be friends with him and not hold a grudge. Not punishing him for abandoning you when you were blind is more than enough to repay his favor. What more could he possibly ask for? Xia Sining knew her friend was entirely right and that she only had her best interests at heart. But finding an easy way out was never as simple as it sounded to someone on the outside. Bystanders can always offer the perfect, logical advice because they are not the ones suffering. But as the one trapped in the middle, Xia Sining had to weigh every single consequence. Past affection, her debt to Liu Piaosu, and her solemn promise, she refused to become a liar. If it were anyone else, Xia Sining might have bent her rules, but Liu Yan was different. They had been through too much together. Even if the love was gone, the history, the debts, and her promises remained. Watching Xia Sining waver, Liu Qian desperately wanted to crack open her stubborn skull and see what on earth was inside. Xia Sining, you are normally so sharp and decisive at work. Everyone fears and respects you. They admire your competence, yet you are so clueless in love. You are like a zombie in Plants vs. Zombies who cracks open your head, shakes his head, and just walks away, completely empty in there. Think of your past. Look at you now. Do you really not see how bad this is? Liu Qian sighed in frustration. Xia Sining replied, Just consider me a fool. I thought about it for so long, mistakenly deciding Liu Yan mattered more. Now losing Fang Yuan is tearing me apart. Seeing Fang Yuan with another woman feels like 1,000 knives in my chest. I cannot face my promise to Liu Yan, so I am just hiding like an ostrich. I know it is terrible, but I honestly do not have any other choice anymore. Xia Sining accepted all of her criticism. In fact, hearing Liu Qian speak so brutally and directly made her feel somewhat relieved. It was a twisted, sick comfort, but love has a way of making people completely blind. Xia Sining had learned her lesson, but it was the same truth she ignored 3 years ago. Liu Qian sighed. I actually had a feeling. You kept delaying the divorce until Liu Yan showed up and forced your hand. And even then, you made Fang Yuan sign a contract to stay. I was so stupid not to see it. I should have known you had feelings for Fang Yuan. It was never just about saving face. If you really loved Liu Yan, you would have jumped at the chance to divorce Fang Yuan and send him packing so he would not get in your way. Yet you kept Fang Yuan around, letting everyone believe he was your doting contract husband. He is just a ticking time bomb. Otherwise, Xia Sining has 1,000 better ways. Why else would she keep dragging Fang Yuan along, divorced but still living under the same roof? Even Liu Yan sensed something was off, risking her anger just to force a divorce between Fang Yuan and Xia Sining. I really am clueless, and Xia Sining completely agrees on that. When it comes to love, I am an absolute idiot. A knock rattles the door and a voice calls out, "Excuse me, your coffee is here." "Come in," she says. The waiter sets down the cups, wishing them a good day. Xia Sining stares at her chocolate latte, complete with smiley face foam, before taking a slow sip. Bitter chocolate and sweet milk blend together. Xia Sining never used to like this kind of taste. She always preferred a bitter Americano to jolt herself awake. But knowing this is Fang Yuan's favorite drink makes it taste surprisingly good. Loving someone means unconsciously adopting everything about them, from their taste in coffee to their tiny habits. Only Fang Yuan's cooking feeds my appetite. Only his touch eases my sleepless nights and headaches. When Fang Yuan is around, a deep, quiet peace finally settles over me. I felt it the second we reunited at the airport. Seeing Luyan again did not spark that old fire. The idealized Luyan in my memories was the real masterpiece. Now that he is actually back, he feels entirely replaceable. I blamed it on the 3 years that kept us apart, convincing myself we had both just changed too much. Past betrayal left a deep scar. But the cold truth is much simpler. I do not need Luyan anymore. The only man I actually need is Fang Yuan. Enough, Sining. Stop talking. There is no point in this. Qian snaps, unable to watch her friend fall apart. She cuts Xia Sining off before she can finish. Xia Sining bites her lip, trying not to drag her down. What about you, Qian? Did today finally show you how you really feel about Fang Yuan? Time to let go? Qian stammers. Then she hardens her resolve. I am not hiding my feelings anymore. My chances are flat out zero. I can never match Wenwen's place in his heart, but walking away without even trying makes me sick to my stomach. I have to tell Fang Yuan how I feel. It is the only way I can finally move on and put this hopeless crush to bed once and for all. Drop some gifts for the extra updates, guys. Chapter 133. I still want to confess to Fang Yuan. Qian, why do this to yourself? He will just run away. You will lose him as a friend, and your chances are already zero anyway. Xia Sining tries to talk her out of it. What is the point of chasing an impossible dream? You will only burden him and break your own heart. I know it might scare him off, but Sining, you know me. Pretending to be just a friend and faking a smile around him would kill me. I would rather lose him on my own terms. Before that happens, I am going all in to tell him the truth. At least I won't have regrets. Getting rejected is better than playing dumb. Qian flashes a bright, brave smile. Bitterness behind her smile, but mostly relief. Her mind is made up and nobody can stop her now. Xia Sining just stares at her, dazed. Why that look, she asks. Think I am being stupid? Xia Sining shakes her head. I envy you. You are so much stronger than me. You have a courage I never had. If I were half as brave, my love life wouldn't be this disaster. Looking back, Qian has always been her rock, helping her with her career, her relationships, and keeping her grounded through everything. She stayed by her side through thick and thin, repeatedly urging her to open her eyes and figure out which man she actually loved. Pathetic how Xia Sining ruined that friendship, only to envy her now. Go for it, Qian, if that is what you really want. I will back you up. Whatever happens, we face it together, just like you did for me. Qian smiles. Now that is my girl. What about you? Qian asks. Just going to drift? Xia Sining smiles bitterly. I will get through my mom's birthday party first, then see. Do not drag this out, Sining, or you will regret it. Make a clean break. Qian mimics her, taking a sip of the latte with a lonely smile. Actually, this latte is pretty good. I forgot how much I love sweet things because I kept forcing down bitter black coffee just to copy you. Xia Sining hears the double meaning, but what can she do? Meanwhile, Fang Yuan and Gong Li arrive back at the entrance of White Swan neighborhood. Gong Li checks her phone. Sister Wen must be asleep. She did not reply to my messages. Check on her. Hospitalization takes a toll, so I will whip up some warm medicinal porridge for dinner to help her recover. With Gong Li here and Wenwen's confession fresh in his mind, Fang Yuan's dark, obsessive side stays quiet. He isn't worrying about trapping her. I was surprised you walked away from Xia Sining without a second thought back there, Gong Li says, her eyes shining with sudden respect. She does not trust him blindly like her sister does, but his loyalty over the past 8 years is hard to ignore. She is slowly accepting him. He keeps a healthy distance from other women, even his former contract wife of 3 years. Walking away the second he reunited with Wenwen is proof of his devotion. My only goal is helping Xia Sining and Luyan get back together. I have been gone too long for Chairman Lu not to notice. If he confronts me at the party, perfect. I can finally end this for good. I hope so. Gong Li, are you doing okay? What? Gong Li blinks, confused. Fang Yuan sighs. Ever since we left the hospital, you have been acting strange, like you are hiding something. It is not because of me, is it? She snaps. Flattering yourself, idiot. I am human too. Of course I have my own worries and bad days. Fang Yuan scratches his neck awkwardly. Well, as long as it is not my fault, she sighs. That makes it sound like my misery is fine. My bad. I did not mean it like that. I just thought, you know what? Forget it. I should stop before I dig a bigger hole. Fang Yuan figures the less he says, the better, so he keeps his mouth shut. Honestly, that was his first time actually meeting Xia Sining, having only seen her in photos before. Gong Li says she looked uncanny in person. She asked Fang if he ever saw her as a substitute. Yes, lying would be useless. After all, they look almost identical. Even their close friends get confused. The sheer guilt of using her as a stand-in made Fang Yuan give in to her demands. He realizes some ties need a clean, fast cut. He wanted to repay the family and move on, but now it is time to stop dwelling on the past. Really, Gong Li looks down. Knowing Wenwen's secret doubts, Fang Yuan stops to comfort her, reminding her they are still half-sisters. They share real blood and sweet childhood memories. That sisterly bond should be enough. Sure, they look alike, but lookalikes exist everywhere. Why obsess over a coincidence? You do not understand. Wenwen is everything to her, yet a stranger looks exactly like her. Meanwhile, Gong Li is supposed to be her flesh and blood, but they look nothing alike. On the street, people assume they are just friends. Gong Li thanks him anyway, even if his comforting skills are terrible. Comforting people is not his strong suit, especially with Gong Li treating him like an enemy who might steal her sister. Getting along with his future sister-in-law will take work. He wonders what her parents are like. Meanwhile, inside, Wenwen is glued to her PlayStation, playing Black Myth Wukong. The Tiger Vanguard beats her again. How many times has her monkey head been chopped off? She is numb, cursing game science for designing such a monster. She searches online for a cheese build. The Cloud Step Heavy Attack build looks perfect. Gong Li taps her shoulder. No wonder she did not text back. She thought her sister was asleep, but she is just gaming. Oh, you guys are back? That was fast. Wenwen thought they would stay out, leaving her to boil some noodles. begs them to wait. One more try. Tiger Vanguard is going down. Gong Li relaxes and heads to the shower. Behind her, Wenwen screams, so close, heal, cast immobilize, and she finally beats him. Tossing the controller, Wenwen stretches her arms and asks Fang Yuan if she is a gaming genius. Fang Yuan pats her head, teasing in a baby voice. She eyes him suspiciously. Did he do something wrong? If she was so worried, why did she act so cool earlier? She stayed behind to play, because she wanted to beat it before getting spoiled by the internet. Her voice softens into a sigh. Even though she has doubts, she is not ready to find out the truth yet. Meeting Qian was a chance to ask about Xia Sining without facing her, but she chickened out. Feels like opening Pandora's box. If the truth is ugly, what is the point? It will only ruin their happy life. Maybe playing dumb is better. Fang Yuan tells her he will support whatever she decides, whether she wants the truth or the present. Pulling her into a warm embrace, Fang Yuan speaks softly. He confesses that Xia Sining actually showed up today. Gasping, she asks why they came back early. He admits he was worried about her. With a soft scoff, she says she is not that fragile. Since he is up and teaching cooking, she is not going to sleep forever. But did Gong Li meet Xia Sining? Fang Yuan confirms it. Gong Li almost confused the two. She cannot understand why a complete stranger looks like Wenwen when they are the real sisters. Wenwen freezes, her eyes dropping as she tries to hide the sudden wave of sadness. She whispers that her sister still cares so much. Fang Yuan agrees, reminding her that she is Gong Li's whole world. He jokes that he still has a long way to go to earn his future sister-in-law's approval. Wenwen rolls her eyes, teasing him. Words soothe her. While the doubt lingers, she relaxes enough to tiptoe up and press a quick kiss to his lips, thanking him. Talking to him clears the fog. She is glad he is here. Ever since their first kiss, more have followed, but that first one remains unforgettable. Fang Yuan asks if that tiny peck is all the thanks he gets. A 27-year-old man cannot be bought off with a simple peck. He wants more. Pulling her close, he demands a proper kiss. She whines playfully, pushing him away to go cook. Finally lets go, promising to feed his hungry gamer. Stealing one last kiss on her cheek, he heads to the kitchen to boil some noodles. As night falls, a sleek Maybach pulls up outside White Swan Community. Sitting inside, Xia Sining stares up at the old buildings, her gaze lost in thought. Lost in thoughts while passersby occasionally walk past, casting curious glances at the Maybach. Kyoto is full of hidden elites. A Maybach is pricey, but not rare. What makes this one stand out is the license plate, Jing A10000. It represents absolute power, something money alone simply cannot buy. Inside, the ambient lighting reflects off Xia Sining's black stockings. The dreamlike glow wraps around her, adding an air of mystery. She leans back against the leather seat, elegant and perfectly curved. Xia Sining tilts her head, letting her long hair fall casually over her shoulders. Her hair glimmers softly. Her delicate face is half hidden in the shadows, brows slightly furrowed. She exudes a cold, noble air, keeping people at a distance, yet pulling them in anyway. Up front, the driver sits in complete silence, not daring to ask a single question. He cannot play music or check his phone. All he can do is count the pedestrians walking by. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lately, Xia Sining has been spending her free time parked outside the White Swan neighborhood. She just stares through the window for hours, lost in thought. For someone who used to be a workaholic, scheduling every single second for the Xia Group's business, spacing out was once an impossible luxury. Yet here she is, doing exactly that. The driver knows she is here for Fang Yuan. She is so preoccupied with him that Luyan has been completely forgotten. It makes no sense to the driver. Uncle Li warned her countless times, yet she never listened. Now she is playing the devoted lover outside his gate. If she really cares, why not just tell Fang Yuan directly? What is the point of just staring? It is a waste of time, just an obsession that only satisfies her own ego. Of course, he keeps these thoughts to himself. He is just an employee. If he gets fired, he will never find a gig this good again. Finally, Xia Sining pulls her gaze back and makes up her mind. She texts Fang Yuan, I am outside your gate. Do you have time? I need to give you something. Soon he replies, okay, I will be out to throw away some trash in a bit. After replying, Fang Yuan turns to Wenwen, who is helping him wash dishes, and tells her that Xia Sining just texted him to drop something off. He asks if she wants to come along, mentioning Xia Sining probably wants to discuss Chairman Lu's wife's birthday banquet. To prove his loyalty, he even shows her the chat log. She hesitates. No, I think I will pass. Fang Yuan knows Wenwen is still hesitant to touch Schrodinger's truth, so he does not push her. Having reported in, he turns to Gong Li, suggesting they go meet Xia Sining together. Gong Li, clutching her Jinglu pillow while watching White Snake 3, pouts and says she is not going either. Stunned. You are not going? Is she not supposed to be monitoring him? If Gong Li tagged along, he would have an excuse to make it quick. Meeting Xia Sining alone just feels weird. Xia Sining has not been hanging out with her beloved Luyan lately. Instead, she keeps running to Fang Yuan. He has no idea what she is playing at. Why can't everyone just live in peace when they both have their own loves? Gong Li pouts, asking if he will betray Wenwen the moment she stops watching. Fang Yuan grabs the trash and assures her that of course he won't, promising to be back soon. Gong Li simply tells him to have a safe trip and goes back to her movie. Gong Li is pleased with his behavior today. Between that and the diary, she wants to start trusting him more, just like Wenwen does, and finally accept him as her brother-in-law. Meanwhile, Wenwen wants to avoid Xia Sining because of their identical faces. For Gong Li, seeing Xia Sining also hurts, reminding her of how everyone says she and Wenwen look nothing like sisters. Fang Yuan shakes his head helplessly. A woman's mind is a mystery, constantly changing on a whim. Still, gaining Gong Li's trust is a win. It means his place in his future sister-in-law's book is solid. Acceptance is just around the corner. Humming a little tune, Fang Yuan throws away the trash and walks to the gate of the White Swan neighborhood. He texts her on WeChat, "Where are you?" Reading his text, Xia Sining replies, "I am out of the car." After leaving Qian, she did not return to her Ziyun mountain villa. She just wanted to see where he lives, wondering what Fang Yuan and Wenwen are doing right now. Are they having dinner, playing games, watching television, or doing chores together? Are they happy? More free and relaxed than the 3 years he spent taking care of her? The thoughts consume her. She envies Qian's courage. Even though Qian knows how much Wenwen means to him, she is still determined to confess, refusing to live with regrets over the first man she has ever loved. She is ready to confess, even if rejection means Fang Yuan avoids her forever. But Xia Sining? She no longer loves Luyan, yet she cannot bring herself to break things off due to past loyalty. She deeply loves Fang Yuan, but lacks the courage to speak up. And even if she did, what would it change? Absolutely nothing. The moment she misjudged her own heart, chose Lu Yan, and divorced Fang Yuan, she doomed herself to lose him forever. Back then, before Wenwen returned, she might have had a chance if she had realized her feelings sooner and not been so ruthless. Now everything is a mess. Regret and guilt crash over her like waves, leaving her dizzy and physically sick. Cannot sleep. She is numb and in agonizing pain, her subconscious whispering that just seeing Fang Yuan might ease the suffering. Even if it changes nothing, just seeing him brings her back to those 3 years. Back when she was blind and desperate, Fang Yuan was her warmth, always by her side. Now she is resorting to lies and cheap tricks just to catch a glimpse of him. She would have despised this pathetic behavior in the past. She never would have sacrificed her dignity or lines like this for Lu Yan. Yet here she is, unable to even muster a bitter laugh. It is the ultimate proof of how she truly feels. Pride she refused to abandon for Lu Yan, choosing to walk away instead, is completely gone for Fang Yuan. She is deeply in love with him, far more than she ever loved Lu Yan. Spotting her step out of the car, Fang Yuan crosses the street and asks what she brought for him. She hands him a bag, explaining these are things he left in his old room. Fang Yuan looks inside and frowns. These are gifts you gave me. They are not mine. Xia Sining shrugs. What I gave you is yours. If you do not want it, throw it away. I never take back my gifts. Before Fang Yuan can even finish, Xia Sin cuts him off. Her voice is pure ice. Fang Yuan hates arguing here. Fine, I will take it, he says coldly. Anything else? She sighs. Fang Yuan, I need to talk about my mother's birthday party. You can decide that yourself, he says. After all, I am just acting here, right? Xia Sining looks down, hiding the sudden flash of pain in her eyes. Taking a deep breath, she asks if Wenwen is okay. Yeah, I overreacted, he says. She was just gaming and forgot to text. Since she is fine, Fang Yuan, do me a favor and help me see this party through. You know my mother. She always favored my 2 older brothers, and she absolutely hates that I inherited the Xia group. During the 3 years I was blind, she kept trying to hand the company back to them. If they were not so useless, my father would never have chosen me. Now I have to tell my family about Lu Yan. Without your help, Fang Yuan, I really do not know how I will face any of this. Fang Yuan is speechless. He has never seen Xia Sining this fragile, completely lost about her future, and actually begging him for help. Back when she was the proud, untouchable heiress, even during her darkest days of blindness, she never showed a single trace of weakness like this. I will help you, Sining, he says. It is our contract, and I owe you. You do not need to explain. After 3 years, you know how I am, and it is not just because we are friends. I know you will, Fang Yuan. You are just too kind and gentle. Suddenly, I kind of envy Nuan. She got to have someone as wonderful as you. Someone who always cares, who never once forgot about her. Xia Sining speaks softly, as if talking to some imaginary listener, or maybe just to herself. She is whispering the secret she has tried so hard to bury, desperately hoping he will take the hint. Before today, she would never have dared say something so suggestive, terrified he might realize how her feelings have changed. But seeing how brave Lu Qian was, she suddenly wants to try just once. Even if she is bound to fail, anything is better than this constant, agonizing self-torture. Fang Yuan feels a bit uneasy, but since she is in love with Lu Yan, he doubts she meant anything by it. He smiles. If only Wenwen were as smart as you think she is. Looking at his smile, Xia Sining feels utterly crushed. Did he really not get the hint? He even agreed with her, wishing Wenwen were actually smart enough to notice all his efforts. Did notice and said that on purpose. His rejection is devastatingly clear. He knows exactly how to break a heart, leaving her shattered and completely off guard. Suddenly, she feels like a total clown. It is honestly so humiliating. Feelings she suffocated herself to hide mean absolutely nothing to him. His mind is so consumed by Wenwen that he brushed off her confession like it was nothing but casual conversation. In the end, she is the only one left regretting, desperately clinging to a tiny shred of hope that she could ever win him back. Just overthinking. He has already made his decision, and that decision is Wenwen. Suddenly, a surprised voice cuts through her thoughts. Senior Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan turns to see Wenwen carrying grocery bags. When she spots Xia Sining, she freezes. Are you Senior Wenwen? She asks. I am not, Xia Sining says, fighting back a wave of bitter pain. Crushed by Fang Yuan and now mistaken for Wenwen, a sudden, blinding anger erupts inside her. She snaps, look a little closer before you guess. I am not Wenwen. My name is Xia Sining. Her sudden outburst startles both of them. Oh, I am so sorry, Wenwen stammers. You look exactly like Senior Wenwen. I did not recognize you and just blurted it out. Xia Sining glares at the trembling girl, then looks at Fang Yuan. I am leaving, she snaps. She climbs into her Maybach and barks at the driver. What are you staring at? Drive! Terrified, the driver does not dare say a word. He hits the gas and speeds away immediately. Once she is gone, Wenwen looks down anxiously. Senior Fang Yuan, I think I messed up. I made Miss Xia Sining really angry. Fang Yuan snaps out of his daze. That is the first time I have seen her so furious. She must be under a lot of pressure lately. Do not take it to heart, Qian. But still, does she really need to be that mad about being mistaken for Nuan? She never used to care, and even ask me if they really look that much alike. Fang Yuan really not get it? Unlike the lies he told Lu Yan, his decision to stay under the same roof after the divorce makes no sense. No matter how many excuses Xia Sining makes, none of it holds up. Since you are heading back anyway, let us walk together. I am going home too. As they walk back to the White Swan estate, Wenwen slows down, falling a step behind him. She watches his tall silhouette stretch long and thin under the golden streetlights. Back was once her entire world. Sitting at the piano, Fang Yuan looked like the reincarnation of Beethoven. Even away from the keys, he was the campus heartthrob of the music academy. Gentle, handsome, and chased by more girls than she could count. It was impossible not to fall for him. But remembering what Suru told her back then, a sudden sharp ache catches in her throat. Pull yourself together, Wenwen, she tells herself. You prepared for this. You know you can never replace Wenwen in his heart. Copying her only makes you a cheap, second-rate imitation. He has been so gentle and supportive, but you have to move on now. Do not let him see how much you are hurting inside. By the way, Qian, did I ever tell you about Wenwen? Why did you call her Senior Wenwen just now? Have you two met before? The first update lands. Fang Yuan turns to ask Wenwen, only to find her eyes brimming with unshed tears. Freezes, asking her why she is crying. Shocked by his sudden turn, she quickly wipes her eyes with a dry laugh. Sorry, Senior Fang Yuan, a gust of wind just blew sand in my eye. It really stings. Oh, was there wind, he asks? Did not feel any breeze. But since she says so, he does not pry. Everyone has secrets after all. Maybe Wenwen is just going through a rough patch, just like Xia Sining. In the old days, he would have probed, looking for some way to help. To avoid any suspicion, Fang Yuan decided not to ask. His momentary guilt and soft-heartedness had dragged him back into Xia Sining's life over and over again. It was a massive miscalculation. The whole situation with Xia Sining was less than enough. Fang Yuan wanted no part in their family drama. Stepping back into their emotional crossfire would only end badly for everyone involved. Senior Fang Yuan, you just asked me about Senior Wenwen. Fine, I will confess. The truth is, I lied to you when we first met. Long ago, I watched you and Senior Wenwen perform together at your high school New Year's festival. Qian Wenwen quickly changed the subject, terrified he would read her true feelings. Fang Yuan ever found out she liked him, he would feel cornered. He might even cut her off entirely. Staying friends was safer. At least this way they could still make music together. Talking like this was enough to keep her dream alive. It was better than making him uncomfortable and losing him. Besides, Qian Wenwen already knew exactly how he would answer a confession. Honestly, Fang Yuan was not surprised. Her admission was unexpected, yet it made perfect sense. Sharing a character in their names, Wenwen and Qian Wenwen, was only the first coincidence. Both had wine-red hair and studied music. On top of that, Fang Yuan had previously asked Suru which high school Qian Wenwen went to. Turns out they attended the exact same school. Going by their ages, when Fang Yuan and Wenwen performed at that New Year's festival, Qian Wenwen was still in middle school. The middle and high schools were on completely different campuses, one south and one north. In a school that massive with separate campuses, it made sense they had never crossed paths. But that New Year's performance by Fang Yuan and Wenwen had become a local legend. Even arriving years later, there was no way Qian Wenwen had not heard of it. I am sorry, Senior Fang Yuan. I did not mean to hide it. Dyeing my hair wine red and even changing my name to Qian Wenwen, it was all because of Senior Wenwen. I followed in her footsteps all the way to the Huaxia Conservatory of Music. But actually, we met when we were very young. Senior Wenwen and I went to the same music school. When I first started violin, she was already a famous prodigy. All the teachers constantly praised her. When I watched her play, my eyes lit up. I was completely spellbound. I had never seen someone so young pull such raw emotion and beauty out of an instrument. She looked like an angel. It was because of Senior Wenwen that I chose to dedicate my life to music. That is the honest truth. Qian Wenwen poured her heart out, her voice filled with excitement and deep admiration as she spoke of Wenwen. Even after she fell for Fang Yuan later on, Wenwen remained her ultimate idol. That was one thing that never changed. Her violin practice was fueled by the desire to keep up with Wenwen. Having that dream kept her grounded, pushing her forward step by step. Hearing this, Fang Yuan asked curiously, "Why did you never look her up after she came back? Is she not your idol?" Qian Wenwen looked down. Senior Fang Yuan, back then there were so many people crowding around a genius like her. I was so young and shy, I doubt Senior Wenwen even knew I existed. I just admired her from afar. I picked up my violin, practiced tirelessly, and chased her shadow until I finally made it to the Huaxia Conservatory of Music. Pretty embarrassing. She was my hero, but she had no idea who I was. It was completely one-sided. Qian Wenwen's eyes dimmed. Worse than that, she had fallen for her idol's boyfriend. Wenwen was Fang Yuan's official girlfriend. Qian Wenwen felt like a fool hiding in the shadows, too afraid to utter a word. She was a loser from the start. Knowing she had no chance but unable to let go had left her exhausted. Today was the first day she even managed to go shopping. Fang Yuan suddenly spoke up. "Why don't you go see Wenwen?" She gasped. "You want me to just go see Senior Wenwen like this?" "Sure, why not? Even if you don't know her, it is never too late to start. Besides, you went to the same music class. You'll have plenty to talk about. I actually told Wenwen about you, and she is really interested in meeting you. It just depends on whether you are ready to take that step. I get the anxiety of meeting your idol, so it is your call. If you want to meet her, I can text her right now." At this point, Qian Wenwen had backed herself into a corner. But deep down, she knew that if she kept working with Fang Yuan, running into Wenwen was inevitable. It was a confrontation she could never avoid. Truly ready to face her idol, Qian Wenwen thought it over and shook her head. "Senior Fang Yuan, isn't your first piano competition starting soon? I will be there to cheer you on. I can meet Senior Wenwen then," he agreed. "Up to you." After saying goodbye, Fang Yuan headed back to his apartment. Before he got too far, Qian Wenwen called out to his retreating figure. "Good luck with the competition, and please be happy with Senior Wenwen. I hope the two of you find true happiness." "Thanks." When Fang Yuan walked into the apartment, Wenwen looked surprised. "Well, you came back pretty fast. Why? Did you want me to spend more time with Xia Sining?" Fang Yuan half joked, sounding slightly jealous. Why couldn't she be more possessive of him? Was she really that comfortable leaving him around other women? Especially when that woman used to be his wife. Men could be so exhausting. "I trust you. You complain I am too calm. If I don't trust you, you say I am smothering you." Wenwen saw right through him and rolled her eyes. "All right, I am just teasing. Xia Sining only met me to return some items she gave me over the last 3 years. I told her they were too expensive, so she told me to just throw them away." Wenwen glanced at the pile. Rolex Patek Philippe Graph. The saying about rich people collecting watches was true. A quick look told her this was worth millions. Wow, are you living out some wealthy romance novel? The kind with toxic drama and a runaway first love? Fang Yuan flicked her forehead gently. "I told you to stop reading those books." She winced. "That hurt. I am being serious, you know? But throwing all this away is a waste. I have an idea. Why don't we sell them and donate the cash in the name of the Xia Corporation?" Wenwen smiled at him. "Not keeping even one piece for old times' sake," he countered. "Why would I? Compared to my past with Xia Sining, our present and future are far more important. Besides, I could never feel right keeping things this expensive. Throwing them out is wasteful, so donating makes the most sense." Wenwen knew this was just his way of reassuring her, rolled her eyes playfully. "All right, we will do it your way." Meanwhile, back at her villa, Uncle Li approached Xia Sining. "Madam, have you eaten dinner yet?" Ignoring him, Xia Sining headed straight upstairs to the piano room she built for Fang Yuan. All she wanted was to release the bitter rage burning inside her. To hell with dinner. Groaning to himself, Uncle Li watched her. Over the past few days, Xia Sining had finally seemed to cheer up. Why was she suddenly acting like she swallowed a gunpowder keg? It was even worse than when Fang Yuan first moved out. Uncle Li put on a serious face, looking at the driver who followed him in. What on earth happened? The driver did not dare to leave out a single detail, stammering as he explained everything that had just occurred. Stunned by the news, Uncle Lee stood frozen before letting out a heavy sigh, telling the driver to just go. Sure enough, what he dreaded most had finally happened. Uncle Lee had seen the signs early on and tried his best to advise Xia Sining. At first, she refused to listen. All he could do was pray she would realize her true feelings while there was still a chance to win Fang Yuan back. Now she finally realized it, but there was no room left to salvage things. Xia Sining was completely trapped in her own feelings, unable to pull herself out. Who was to blame? Honestly, even though Uncle Lee had served Xia Sining for a long time and naturally favored her as her butler, he still had to admit the painful truth. She had nobody to blame but herself. Feeling like he had just received a royal pardon, the driver quickly slipped away. An angry Xia Sining was terrifyingly oppressive. Even if you did nothing wrong, just being near her kept you on edge, making you even more prone to making mistakes. She kept up this temper. No amount of money would make him stay. It was not worth making cash if you did not live to spend it. Meanwhile, in the quiet piano room, music suddenly exploded, shattering the silence like thunder. The notes poured out, telling an endless story of sorrow. Xia Sining's fingertips flew across the black and white keys, dancing like butterflies through a wild garden. Her playing was wild, like an approaching storm. She swirled and leaped, retreating into a world of her own. With her eyes tightly shut, she poured out her pain, struggle, and anger. The frantic notes rushed like a raging torrent, suffocating anyone listening. By the time she finished several fast-tempo pieces in a manic rush, her fingertips were cramping and trembling, unable to press another key. Xia Xin clenched her hands into fists and slammed one down hard on the keys. Bang! The historic, highly collectible piano let out a loud, discordant wail. Other pianists would have wept. But Xia Sining felt nothing. He was gone. What use was a piano? No matter how many songs she played, her mood would not improve. Why did Fang Yuan still haunt her thoughts the moment she closed her eyes? Why? Why? She hated herself for being this weak, agonizing over a man like some brainless girl. She was even taking her anger out on innocent people. She did not even recognize herself anymore. 3 years ago, it was for Luyan. 3 years later, it was for Fang Yuan. As the sharp pain in her right hand pulsed through her body, she took a deep breath, finally calming her racing mind. Phone rang, playing a song about rain and overflowing love. Reaching out with her uninjured left hand, Xia Sining checked the screen. It was Liu Piashui. Xia Sining hesitated for a moment before answering. Sister, is everything okay? Liu Piashui explained that Fang Yuan was playing in his first competition in a few days. She had already talked with Wenwen, and she wanted to take time off to watch him. You are going too, right? You and Fang Yuan have been through so much, and you are still good friends. Can you come pick me up and take me with you? Otherwise, she was worried their parents would not let her go. Normally, Xia Sining would give her sister anything she wanted without hesitation. But this time, she froze. Going to Fang Yuan's competition meant facing Wenwen, or worse, being mistaken for her again. It was a constant reminder of how little she actually mattered in his world. The great CEO of the Xia Group was nothing but a substitute. Now even Liu Piashui was getting close to Wenwen, leaving Xia Sining terrified of being replaced by everyone around her. Are you okay? Hearing only silence, Liu Piashui grew worried. Xia Sining quickly covered, saying she was just looking over some papers and promised to take her sister along. Liu Piashui thanked her and then asked if she and Fang Yuan were coming to their mother's birthday. Hearing this, Xia Sining remembered Fang Yuan's warning that Liu Jiacheng and the family could not possibly be in the dark. She smiled mockingly at her own naivety. How could they not know? Her parents were simply waiting for her and Fang Yuan to come forward and confess the truth. Fang Yuan had moved out, got a divorce, moved in with Wenwen, and restarted his music career. If Liu Jiacheng did not know all that, he would not be running the Xia Group. Even the photos of her and Lu Yan had trended online. From start to finish, she was the only one lying to herself. She was lying about her feelings for Fang Yuan. And for Lu Yan too. The truth had to be faced eventually, but she had no idea what would happen when it did. A few days flashed by, and the morning of Fang Yuan's first piano competition finally arrived. Xia Sining ordered her driver to take the Maybach to pick up Liu Piashui. Driver steered carefully, constantly checking Xia Sining's expression in the rearview mirror. Her breakdown had only lasted that one day. The next morning, she was back to her usual cold, elite self, and even apologized for her outburst, leaving the driver completely shocked. The old Xia Sining would never have apologized to a mere employee, no matter what she did. Marriage to Fang Yuan had subtly softened her. As her daily driver, he could see the change clearly, though Xia Sining herself was completely oblivious. Sister. Liu Piashui waved excitedly from the curb as she spotted the approaching Maybach. Xia Sining opened the door, only to find her sister wearing a March 7th swordswoman cosplay. She did not play games herself, but her company had a gaming division, so she recognized the character. Why on earth are you wearing that? Liu Piashui giggled, explaining that she, Wenwen, and Gong Li were all anime fans, and they had planned to wear cosplays to support Fang Yuan. Will the concert hall even let you in dressed like that? Of course, we are just spectators, and as long as we do not disrupt anything, they do not mind. Times have changed. Nobody judges cosplayers anymore. We are just dressing up for something we love. I also want to wear traditional Hanfu next time I go shopping. Seeing her sister bubble with excitement, Xia Sining's gaze softened slightly. Forget it, as long as you are happy. Even though Liu Piashui grew up in the wealthy Xia household, her mother never pressured her too hard because of her weak heart, fearing any stress might trigger another attack. So after her sister successfully received a heart transplant, with her health recovering, Xia Sining takes charge of the Xia Group. She wants to support Liu Piashui and let her live freely. She does not want her sister to worry. Whatever pain Xia Sining suffers, she will carry it alone. But that is not what Liu Piashui wants. Why not try it too? Liu Piashui coxes. With your body, you would look amazing in cosplay. Even Fang Yuan loves it. Xia Sining freezes, unsure of how to respond. Wearing these flashy anime outfits feels completely wrong to her, sparking instant resistance. Back during her sweetest days with Lu Yan, he had jokingly begged her to wear a sexy Santa outfit for Christmas. She had snapped at him back then, refusing to wear such nonsense. Yet hearing that Fang Yuan likes cosplay, her resistance melts. She actually wonders how he would look at her. You are losing your mind, truly going crazy. To abandon your principles and compromise yourself just for one man. Then a voice cuts through her thoughts. Sister Sining. Lu Piaosu shakes her arm, snapping her back to reality. Xia Sining forces a weak smile and asks what is wrong, only to hear her sister call her weird. Everything okay? Lu Piaosu asks. Xia Sining blames it on taking back the company right after recovering her sight. She is just stressed. It is nothing, she says. This is adult business. You just focus on being happy. Xia Sining brushes it off. But Lu Piaosu presses on, asking why she would divorce Fang Yuan just to get back with a scumbag like Lu Yan. He abandoned you and broke your heart. Have you really thought this through? Xia Sining stands frozen and speechless. Everything is a mess, but she has already made her bed, and there is no turning back now, especially since Lu Yan saved her sister's life. She promised him another chance, and she cannot just break her word. Feeling helpless, Xia Sining gently strokes her sister's hair. She whispers that the adult world is complicated, and sometimes you just have to go with the flow. I do not understand, and I do not want to, Lu Piaosu cries. But you look way more miserable now than you ever did before. Even when you were blind with Fang Yuan taking care of you, you never looked this lost. Xia Sining feels her heart sink. Is it really that obvious? Everyone else sees it clearly. Leaving Fang Yuan for Lu Yan's has drained the life out of her, changing her completely, yet she is blind to it. Lu Qian and Uncle Li warned her. Even Lu Piaosu sees it instantly. Xia Sining has had so many chances to wake up, but she ignores them all. Day Lu Yan returned, she realized her feelings for him were no longer the obsessive, irreplaceable love she once felt. Watching Lu Yan turn ugly and bitter, even targeting Fang Yuan, who saved him, disgusts her. She realizes how happy she was with Fang Yuan. She had taken his constant warmth and care for granted. Now that he is gone, misery is her only companion. Xia Sining lets out a bitter laugh, finally admitting the truth to her sister. She cannot keep lying to herself, let alone everyone else. That is not what I meant, Lu Piaosu stammers. I just want to know if you are happy. Wait, why are you suddenly talking about Fang Yuan? If I told you I was happier with Fang Yuan, but I am bound to Lu Yan by a past promise, what would you do? If it were you, how would you choose? Her sister shakes her head. I do not get it. You are giving me a headache. Adult relationships are too heavy for a high schooler. Xia Sining smiles, telling her to forget it and go cheer on Fang Yuan. Forget everything I just said. It was just a joke. I will handle things, so you just focus on being happy. Lu Piaosu feels a pang of frustration. She desperately wants to help her sister, but she can barely grasp what Xia Sining is going through. She is still too young. If only she could grow up faster and shoulder some of her sister's burdens. Outside the piano exam hall, a sleek car pulls up. Fang Yuan steps out wearing a sharp tailored black suit. Standing 6'2", he looks absolutely stunning. Sharp brows flare, dark eyes deep and gentle. A firm line is set across his lips, radiating quiet confidence. He looks like a celebrity ready for the red carpet. Right behind him steps out Wenwen as Jin Shi and Gong Li as Chang Li. Wenwen rocks a white twin-tail wig, her eyes sparkling like stars. Beside her, Gong Li is a gorgeous busty showstopper. Turn instantly and guys begin drooling. Envious glares lock onto Fang Yuan. Is this a piano exam or a runway show? It's not Comic-Con. Why does this lucky bastard get to show up with two absolute goddesses on his arms? Rich kids really have it all. Fang Yuan carries himself with an effortless grace that completely overflows the other contestants, leaving onlookers grinding their teeth in envy. Sure, piano playing is about skill, but a killer face never hurts. Combine talent with movie star looks, and you have already won the crowd. After all, looking good is a cheat code. Professor Suru is waiting at the entrance, and Fang Yuan smiles and waves as he walks over. Having cleared the air with Wenwen, Suru has let go of her feelings for Fang Yuan. She smiles naturally as they approach, greeting him warmly. Before Fang Yuan can speak, Wenwen and Gong Li rush over, thanking Professor Su for letting them dress up to cheer him on. It is no big deal, Suru nods. People are more open to cosplay these days, as long as it does not disrupt the event. Do we look pretty? Wenwen spins around, showing off. Suru smiles, telling her they look absolutely beautiful. Maybe you can dress me up next time, Suru muses. Wenwen beams, suggesting Suru would make an incredible kikyo or vermouth. Then I am counting on you. Bring me along next time. Wait, Professor Su, are you actually serious? The shock hits Fang Yuan like a bolt of lightning. He thought Suru would at least give Wenwen and Gong Li a polite warning for dressing like this, not encourage them. Instead, Suru is dead serious. She actually wants Wenwen and Gong Li to teach her how to cosplay. Even the Professor Su he knows? Suru pouts, what, do I look that old-fashioned? Exactly, girls love beauty, and it would be a crime for someone as gorgeous as Xia Sining to not dress up. Fang Yuan, you are getting a free show and you still dare to complain? Wenwen and Gong Li team up, firing shots until Fang Yuan is completely numb. Wenwen, Gong Li, I did not mean it like that. Alright, old fogey, focus on the exam and let us head inside. Suru finally steps in to save him. Still, Fang Yuan feels a sting of self-doubt. Was he too chauvinistic to assume Suru would never care about cosplay? Honestly, besides piano, Fang Yuan barely knows Suru. Aside from Wenwen, the only woman he actually understands is his contract wife, Xia Sining. Fang Yuan leans in, whispering to Wenwen, did you invite Lu Piaosu to watch my exam? Yeah, Lu Piaosu agreed right away, and she said Xia Sining is coming too. Are you ready for that? Hearing Fang Yuan's question, Wenwen pauses before replying. We have to face it eventually, Fang Yuan. Even if I am hesitant, Xia Sining is your friend. We are bound to meet. Fang Yuan nods. As long as you are ready, I will always be right here by your side supporting you. Don't worry, just focus on your own exam. You are like a max-level player in a beginner zone, but do not mess up or I will beat you. They follow Suru inside, leaving the crowd whispering. Wait, is that gorgeous woman Suru Huaxia Music's youngest genius professor? She's bringing a student to test. Didn't you hear? Back at the Huaxia Conservatory of Music, Suru favored a genius pianist named Fang Yuan. They had so many rumors swirling around them. Now Fang Yuan is back. Oh my god, that is really Fang Yuan. I thought his raw talent would have conquered the world by now. Why is he competing with beginners like us? This is totally unfair. I am completely numb. When I was a kid, Fang Yuan crushed me in every piano competition. Now I run into him at graduation exams. How is the world this small? Fang Yuan follows Suru backstage to prepare. In the audience, Wenwen and Gong Li sit down, and Wenwen immediately texts text Liu Piaosu. Wenwen texts Liu Piaosu, are you almost here? Yes, about 10 minutes away. Great, we are at seat 13 in Area A. Gong Li looks up. Is Xia Sining coming too? I heard she is coming, Wenwen says. Gong Li just nods flatly. Gong Li still struggles with how much Xia Sining looks like Wenwen, but after months of mental preparation and comfort from Fang Yuan, she is starting to accept it. Look, sister, even if Liu Piaosu and Xia Xing show up, just keep your cool. We will treat them like ordinary friends. Or are you just intimidated by a powerful female CEO like Xia Sining? Wenwen drapes an arm around Gong Li, teasing her gently. Not at all, Gong Li scoffs. I have toured the world and met all kinds of people. I am not that useless. Wenwen chuckles. Good, that is a relief. Let's take a selfie first. Your makeup skills are insane. My Genesee cosplay looks so real. Soon, Liu Piaosu, Xia Sining, Liu Qian, and Qin Wenwen all arrive at the venue. Liu Qian and Qin Wenwen quietly slip into a remote corner, avoiding any contact with Wenwen and the others. Only John Peng texted ahead of time to find their spot. He walks over with a wide grin. Hey Wenwen, hey Gong Li. Wenwen waves him over like a boss greeting a loyal sidekick. John Peng, you made it? Sit down, you got it, Wenwen replies. John Peng sits next to Gong Li, staring at their cosplay. His face stiffens with deep gravity. Wenwen, I have a life-altering request. What is it? Can I please get a photo with you? Pulls out his phone with absolute determination. Having two stunning beauties cosplaying Jinxi and Changli right next to him is a dream come true for any anime fan. Wenwen laughs. Throw up a peace sign, sis. Cosplayers never reject a photo, especially when it is a close friend from high school. Cheese. John Peng beams with happiness, then grins. Wenwen, once Fang Yuan finishes his exam, we need to start marketing your social media accounts together. Since you are dating, how about we set you up as an official couple online? And Gong Li, my offer stands. If you ever want to join the platform, I will welcome you. John Peng really never stops thinking about business. Gong Li hesitates. My band contract allows it, but I should check with them first. Wenwen shakes her head. No couple marketing yet. I want to see how far my own talent can take me. If I ride Fang Yuan's coattails, I will never know if people actually love my music or if they are just obsessed with our relationship. Fair enough, John Peng laughs. Once you hit it big and leave him in the dust, you can carry him instead. Gong Li agrees. Yes, Sister Wenwen, I support you. Chat idly. Suddenly, a sweet voice calls out, Sister Wen, Sister Gong Li. Liu Piaosu bounces over like an energetic anime girl, dressed in a March 7th cosplay. Instantly, the air is filled with pure youthful energy. Seeing her bright and sunny personality, Wenwen feels like she is looking at her past self. She quietly sighs. I am getting old, truly old. Gong Li's first time meeting Liu Piaosu. She looks, acts, and feels exactly like Wenwen did back in high school. It makes Gong Li deeply uneasy. Why do the Xia daughters look so much like Wenwen? Could it be that Wenwen is not actually her sister? Shuddering at the thought, Gong Li shakes her head. What is she even thinking? Wenwen is her real biological sister, the true daughter of Gong Min and Li Nuan. Nobody can ever change that fact. No one can. Traffic was terrible, but we made it. Liu Piaosu waves toward Xia Sining. Sister, over here. Xia Sining approaches slowly, her steps hesitant. She is not ready to face the legendary woman Fang Yuan loved deeply and yearned for all those years. Bonus update for you. Summer is ending way too fast, but no matter how long the journey is, every road eventually comes to an end. Xia Sining finally stands right in front of Wenwen. Neither of them speaks. They just scan each other, their eyes wide with quiet disbelief. The resemblance is uncanny. Even with Wenwen dressed in cosplay, she looks almost identical to Xia Sining. Xia Sining is in her signature look, a custom white power suit and sheer black stockings that trace the elegant lines of her legs. Styled hair cascades down like dark silk. She radiates a cold, effortless authority, the quiet confidence of a woman who commands everything around her. They feel like total opposites. Yet those faces make them look like sisters, and watching them, Gong Li feels a shadow cross her eyes. First Xia Sining, now Liu Piaosu. They both look more like Wenwen than Gong Li does. Gong Li hates admitting it, but seeing them together hurts. Looking nothing like her own sister has always been Gong Li's secret wound. Then Wenwen breaks the silence. I have heard so much about you, Miss Xia Sining. Uncanny, Wenwen says, looking closer. We do not just look alike in photos. Meeting you in person feels unreal, like looking at another me. Her voice trembles with genuine shock. Hearing rumors is one thing, but standing face to face changes everything. A sudden dark premonition grips Wenwen. Shaking it off, she smiles and offers her hand to keep up appearances. Xia Sining looks down at the hand. Pale, slender fingers, the hands of a true pianist. Xia Sining realizes this is the woman Fang Yuan spent years agonizing over, his unreachable first love, the original woman who made Xia Sining a mere substitute. Seeing her freeze, Liu Piaosu quickly nudges her elbow, bringing her back to reality. Forgive me, Miss Wenwen, Xia Sining says smoothly. My sister kept telling me we looked alike, and she was right. It seems we share a strange fate. Shaking hands, Xia Sining recovers her perfect CEO poise. Nearby, John Peng watches in silence. He was the first of them to ever see both women. He remembers mistaking Xia Sining for Wenwen when they first met, thinking she had finally returned. But seeing them side by side now is a massive shock. Piaosu beams, looping her arm through Wenwen. See sis, I told you she looks exactly like us. Xia Sining nods quietly, exchanging polite small talk. Yet one shadow hangs over them both, Fang Yuan. Xia Sining avoids his name entirely. Listening to Wenwen reminisce about their past would only hurt. Fang Yuan, Xia Sining is just a friend, a benefactor. But Wenwen, she is his first love, the woman he would throw everything away to win back. While Xia Sining is consumed by thoughts of Fang Yuan, Wenwen is watching Xia Sining. Meeting her in person has unlocked a deeply unsettling feeling. She senses the truth is far from beautiful. Dragging it into the light will only open a Pandora's box, leaving everyone involved miserable, including Wenwen herself. But things are never that simple. The auditorium seems calm on the surface, but a quiet storm is already brewing underneath. The auditions begin. Backstage hit, Fang Yuan closes his eyes, trying to find his focus and calm his nerves. Beside him, Suru quietly handles his preparations. He is scheduled as performer number 5, leaving them with some time. Once everything is ready, Suru watches him rest in silence, refusing to disturb him. Instead, she just stares at him. Even though Wenwen helped her step back from her feelings and remember why she became a pianist in the first place, freeing her from the confusion and escape. But if burying a deep, genuine love were that easy, the world would not be so full of lovesick fools. She is one of them now, though she once despised such weakness. She used to think romance was just an obstacle for a modern, independent woman, a distraction that ruins careers. She was convinced she would grow old alone. Then reality struck out of nowhere. She had fallen hopelessly in love with her own student, Fang Yuan. Watching him rest now, without any work to distract her, her mind wanders. During those 4 college years when Wenwen was missing, they were inseparable. If she had only recognized the quiet shift in her heart back then, could she have changed their destiny? Deep down, she knows dreaming is pointless now. Wenwen is back, and Fang Yuan loves her completely. Nobody could ever replace her in his heart. But back when Wenwen was missing, and her fate was uncertain, if Suru had been bolder and helped him open up, could she have claimed him? Is a selfish, ugly thought. It betrays Wenwen's trust and poisons the genuine respect Fang Yuan holds for her as his mentor. But she cannot stop herself. He is the first man she has ever truly loved, and the most brilliant young pianist she has ever known. Staring at him in his sharp suit, she forces herself to look away. She slips out to the quiet hallway, taking a deep breath. It is time to let go. Session leads to ruin. She wants to guide him to the world stage and watch his rise from the front row. Slowly, the heavy bitterness in her chest begins to fade. Next up is candidate number 5, Fang Yuan, representing the Xia Music Academy under the sponsorship of his mentor, Suru. Suru knocks gently on the door. Fang Yuan, it is time to go. He slowly opens his eyes, a strange spark flashing in his gaze. When Fang Yuan steps onto the stage under the brilliant spotlight, a wave of whispers ripples through the crowd. Even the 3 judges freeze. Standing at 1.88 meters tall in his tailored black suit, he radiates the melancholic grace of a true artist, his eyes deep and intense. Look, Fang Yuan is on stage, Lu Piaosu whispers excitedly, desperately trying to keep her voice down in the quiet auditorium. My brother is ridiculously good-looking, John Peng grumbles, though his eyes secretly well up with tears as he watches his friend reclaim the spotlight. Years ago, to save his family from ruin, Fang Yuan had abandoned his piano career to sign a marriage contract with Xia Sining. Sean Peng had wanted to help back then, but the family's financial black hole was simply too massive for his own savings to fix. Only the powerful Xia group had the wealth to rescue them. In a way, Fang Yuan had been incredibly lucky to catch their eye. So many people face bankruptcy, begging for help only to get slammed doors. But this family drops hundreds of millions without blinking. All Fang Yuan had to do was agree to a 5-year contract marriage and look after Xia Sing. Most people pray to save 1 million in 5 years. He made hundreds of millions just playing a part. He even got tens of millions after the divorce, making him deeply grateful to the Xia family. Still, John Peng hated seeing him quit the piano. With his talent, if not for those lost 3 years, he would be a world-class maestro bringing glory to China. Xia Sining watches him. On stage, Fang Yuan bows, pulls out his bench and sits. He looks like a god born for this. Xia Sining drifts off. It has been so long since she made up an excuse to hear him play her Steinway. She almost forgot what he looked like at the keys. Beethoven in their villa or a grand Steinway. Whenever Fang Yuan was near a piano, they seemed like a match made in heaven. Terrible. He was born for the keys. Standing under the spotlight, he is about to conquer the room with his music. Meanwhile, Xia Sining glances at Wenwen. This was the girl who once saved him, his unforgettable first love. They shared a perfect musical bond. How would she react to seeing him back on stage after 8 long years? Yet Wenwen looks calmer than expected. Resting her chin on her hand, she watches him with quiet interest, like she has seen this 1,000 times. To her, it is just second nature. That mix of ease, appreciation, and nostalgia is something Xia Sining could never replicate. Xia Sing casts her eyes down in sadness. The gap between them is painfully clear. 3 years of marriage, and she never knew he liked lattes or played the piano. She had been too busy drowning in her own grief. Obsessing over Lu Yan, she never knew what her heart truly wanted. Is everything okay? Only her younger sister, Lu Piaosu, notices her distress. Xia Sining quickly gathers her thoughts, claiming she is just stressed about work. Did their parents ask about today? Lu Piaosu nods, saying she kept it simple. But Xia Sining knows their parents would never let her go without investigating first. Besides, his return to music is no secret. Thinking about Lu Yan's upcoming birthday party gives Xia Sining a massive headache. She is not ready to commit, but feels trapped into moving forward with him. But, as Fang Yuan warned, hoping her family remains in the dark is completely unrealistic. At the party, she will have to make a choice. But can she truly find happiness with a man she does not love? She doubts it. As Lu Qian said, this is a lifelong gamble. Lu Piaosu breaks her thoughts, asking if she is scared of their parents' reaction. She brushes it off and asks how her sister's heart is doing. Lu Piaosu touches her chest, saying it feels warm whenever she is near Fang Yuan. She actually feels that? It sounds too mystical. Yet when they first married, Lu Piaosu had secretly confessed to having the exact same sensation. She dismissed it as a coincidence then. But now, seeing how things turned out, maybe her sister's transplanted heart sensing his presence is not an accident. What else could it be? A lingering melody fills the air. Fang Yuan has begun his audition piece, Vladimir Ashkenazy's Piano Concerto No. 2 in C minor. Fingers dance across the keys, notes flowing like living spirits. Everyone plays the same piece, making his brilliance undeniable. Even novices can feel the massive difference. His music shifts from a wild storm to a gentle whispering spring rain. The audience is drawn into his world held spellbound. He is just different. Skills in this basic audition are like a force from another world, completely overshadowing everyone else. From the corner, Liu Qian and Qin Wenwen watch him bow and leave the stage, their hearts racing. This is the man they love. Loving someone so incredible makes rejection feel natural. Compared to him, they are completely ordinary. He has no reason to choose them. There are far too many options out there. Besides, his heart already belongs to his first love. He will never look their way, yet a heavy weight in their chest suddenly feels lighter. Even if things do not work out, being rejected by a man like him leaves no room for regrets. The real tragedy is staying silent, watching his happiness from afar. In life, the one who falls first always loses, but it is better to lose trying. Lu Qian texts him. Backstage, Suru nods in approval, telling him his performance was excellent. She knew he belonged on stage. He does not freeze under the lights. He thrives. Connecting with the audience, his playing becomes seamless, weaving a soundscape that is uniquely his. This is his true gift. Some musicians struggle in private, but the moment they step into a competition, they transform completely. He is what they call a big game player. Your future isn't decided by hours of lonely practice, but by how you perform under the bright lights of the stage. Nobody sees the grind behind the scenes. It is like Olympic athletes. No matter how talented, one bad day on the biggest stage washes away years of sweat, turning their entire life into a joke. Fang Yuan has so much raw, unique talent. He is destined to become a world-class pianist, standing right at the very top. Su believes this with her whole heart. Fang Yuan smiles. Thank you, Professor Su. I finally made it. He knows saying more thanks would just sound repetitive, so he stops there. The only way Fang Yuan can repay her belief is with real results. Even now, the whole thing feels incredibly surreal. Years have slipped away since college graduation. During his time with Xia Sining, his entire life was consumed with taking care of her. He never once touched the piano. Sometimes, he wondered if he had drifted too far from the keys. Would he ever get to play again, let alone keep his promise to Wenwen? Now, Wenwen is back. His contract marriage with Xia Sining is over. He is competing again, back on his path as a pianist. All of this is because of the woman standing right in front of him. Fang Yuan looks at Su, his eyes filled with pure gratitude. Su looks down, deliberately avoiding his gaze. She knows his eyes hold nothing but pure, clean respect and gratitude. But to her, that utter lack of romantic feelings is like a cold, sharp blade stabbing straight into her heart. Even if Su forces herself to let go. Moving on is just a way to keep walking forward. It does not mean her heart has stopped aching. She forces a smile. All right, Fang Yuan, the results will not be out for a week, but you basically passed. Take a week off, then get back to practicing at the China Conservatory of Music. Use this time to handle your personal business. You still have to attend Xia Sining's mother's birthday banquet, right? He nods. She gives him a few quick instructions and turns to leave, but he calls out, by the way, Professor Su, I am throwing a celebration tonight at Yuanyue Private Kitchen. Make sure you come. She says, sure, staying as his mentor and friend, watching him find his happiness from afar, and fulfilling her own dream as a piano professor through his music. Surely that should be enough. It is time to let go of hopeless desires and wake up. This is for the best. Once Su leaves, Fang Yuan pulls out his phone to check where Wenwen and the others are. Instead, he sees a message from Qian. Meet me on the second floor terrace. Confused by the sudden request, he types back a quick reply. What is going on? Everyone is at the main entrance. Why the terrace? She quickly replies, just come up. I have something I need to tell you alone. Do not tell anyone else either, or I will never be able to say it. Just get over here. Let's get this over with. Since she is insisting, Fang Yuan has no choice. He sends a quick message to Wenwen and the group, telling them to gather at the main gate and that he will be right down. At that moment, Xia Sining gets a text from Qian. Signing, I just asked Fang Yuan to meet me. Right now, I am going to confess to him. Xia Sining's heart skips a beat. Is her best friend really doing this? Right now? Today? Qian replies, yes, no time like the present. If I do not say it now, I might never find the courage again. If I miss this chance, I will just keep agonizing over it. It is better to get it over with. I already know what his answer will be, but I will not live with regrets. I wanted to warn you first so you do not get mad at me for keeping you in the dark. It is getting windy up here. I am absolutely freezing. Reading her friend's determined words, Xia Sining looks down. She texts back, Qian, where are you? A moment later, Qian replies, if you want to come, head to the second floor terrace. Xia Sining turns to her sister. Sorry, keep talking with Wenwen and the others for a minute. I need to use the restroom. Lu Piaosu is chatting happily with Wenwen, so her sister's sudden apology feels a bit odd. She shrugs. Sure, go ahead. Xia Sining turns to Wenwen, please watch after my sister. With that, she slips away in a hurry, looking like someone with a guilty conscience. After all, Xia Sining knows what Qian is planning, yet she is keeping it from Wenwen. In a way, Qian's move is not just self-sabotage, it is stepping over a line with someone else's man. If she truly cared about her friend, she would have stopped Qian from ruining her own image in Fang Yuan's eyes. But Qian has made up her mind to face whatever comes next, and nobody can talk her out of it. Xia Sining's silence is her way of supporting her friend, but deep down, a selfish curiosity makes her want to witness the end of this story. Sorry, Wenwen. Whispering the apology only in her mind, Xia Sining quickens her pace. John Peng scratches his head in confusion. He feels like Xia Sining has changed. She used to carry this massive, imposing presence wherever she went. Seeing her constantly apologizing and acting so secretive, is she really the ruthless corporate queen he always heard about? Lu Piaosu sighs. My sister is probably just stressed about Luyan and our mother's upcoming party. Sorry if she made you worry. Knowing Xia Sining divorced Fang Yuan for her first love, Luyan, the group does not pry any deeper. Oh, Lu Piaosu, you are way too sweet. There is absolutely no need to apologize. Completely charmed by her, the group immediately forgets about Xia Sining's strange behavior. When Fang Yuan finally reaches the terrace, Qian is already standing there. Hearing his approaching footsteps, she takes a long, slow breath. Even though she prepared herself, her heart is still racing. But she will not back down now. Turning around, she forces a soft smile. Beaks first. Fang Yuan, you made it. He looks up at her. Is something wrong, Qian? The warm autumn sun wraps around her, bathing her in a soft, gentle light. A khaki autumn sweater fits her perfectly, her long hair falling over her shoulders while the sunlight dances through her dark strands. Her eyes are remarkably clear and bright. A sudden autumn breeze sweeps across the terrace, sending a few strands of her hair dancing through the air. Fang Yuan is taken aback by her appearance. There is something different about her today, like she is finally ready to lay bare a secret she has guarded for years. She looks at him. Fang Yuan, I love you. No hesitation, she just drops the bombshell. Hesitating would not change the outcome anyway, and dragging things out just is not her style. Yet the moment the words leave her mouth, her face instantly flushes red, glowing like a ripe apple in the sunlight. She instinctively covers her face. Did she really just say that out loud? Even she can barely believe her own courage. She did not waste time with small talk or try to soften the atmosphere with a long intro. She just came right out and confessed. But she feels incredibly light now, like a massive weight has finally been lifted off her shoulders. The feelings she hid for so long are finally out, no matter what people say. Compared to her current relaxed state, Qian does not really care anymore. Fang Yuan is a bit dazed. Wait, does like mean as a friend? There is no way Qian is actually confessing to him, right? By liking, I mean romance, right? Hahaha, little brother Fang Yuan, you dummy. I always said I like you. Did you really think it was just as friends? We are adults. I do not believe you did not feel it at all. Or does a girl have to keep confessing and pouring her heart out for you to get it? Fang Yuan's brain completely short-circuited for a whole minute. Once Fang Yuan snapped out of it, meeting Qian's trembling gaze and flushed face, everything suddenly clicked. He clears his throat. Sister Lu Qian, I already have someone I like, and you know that. I did not expect you to confess to me. I always thought you saw me as a younger brother. Look at you. This is exactly why I had to make things clear. Otherwise, you would keep misunderstanding my feelings, and I would probably lose my mind every time I see you. I gave you such obvious romantic hints, yet you mistook it for sibling affection. I could seriously explode. After saying this, Lu Qian lets out a relaxed, relieved smile. She clasps her hands behind her back and turns away, showing only her profile. Her voice is very soft. I know. The result is obvious. I definitely cannot compare to Wenwen, but keeping things bottled up is not my style. Plus, when I said I liked you before and wanted you as my boyfriend, you thought I was joking. That really annoyed me, which only made me want to confess even more. Now that I have said it all, I finally feel free. My mind is much lighter. If anyone else heard this, they would probably call me a homewrecker, right? Fang Yuan, whether you believe it or not, I just wanted to express my thoughts. I knew this was 100% failure, but I did not want to live with regrets. Carrying this feeling around forever is too uncomfortable, and that is not my style. Thank you so much for being willing to listen to all of this, to my messy, completely shameless confession. Probably troubled you, but I feel so much better now. Better you than me, right? Fang Yuan, just think of me as a very selfish woman. Fang Yuan watches Lu Qian smile as if nothing happened. It is her usual smile, but even for a battle-hardened woman like her acting is a bit off. Under the autumn sun, Fang Yuan can see the lingering sadness hidden in Lu Qian's eyes. After thinking it over, he bows his head to her. Sister Lu Qian, thank you so much. Thank you for your deep affection and love. Hey, Fang Yuan, why are you suddenly saying thank you? You are throwing me off. Lu Qian freezes for a moment, an indescribable feeling surging in her heart. I always remember when I first entered the contract marriage with Xia Sining, seeing her constantly moody, locked in her own world and refusing to connect with outsiders. I was so helpless and did not know what to do. I did not want to fail Chairman Lu's expectations, but Sister Lu Qian helped me by sharing Xia Sining's preferences, allowing me to slowly open Xia Sining's heart, getting her to eat the medicinal food I prepared, and to step out into the sunlight and gradually show a real smile. That let me fulfill the contract and repay the Xia family for saving my family. At first, many in the Xia family did not believe me. Uncle Li, Aunt Zhang, I was completely isolated in that house. I was not fearless. Actually, I was very afraid and lost. They only chose to believe me later on, but the one who trusted me first and helped me was Sister Lu Qian. Recalling the past, a smile touches the corner of Fang Yuan's lips as he looks at Lu Qian with gratitude. So, Sister Lu Qian, I am so sorry. I always misunderstood your feelings, thinking you were just teasing me like a younger brother. Because I am so grateful for your help, I have to respond to you directly. Thank you for liking me, and I am sorry. I know it took immense courage to make this confession. You are still the same Sister Lu Qian I have always known. Faced with the girl's courage, the only thing I can do is give a heartfelt response, making sure this confession does not become a joke and gets a proper conclusion. Sister Lu Qian, you will definitely meet a better man in the future, someone who cherishes you and loves you back. Right now, my heart is completely occupied by Wenwen. There is simply no room left for anyone else. You are a good person, and you will be happy. Fang Yuan, you idiot. First you try to comfort me, then you friendzone me anyway. Do you have any idea how much I hate being friendzoned right now? You might as well just say you love Wenwen and do not like me. That would be way more straightforward. Seeing Lu Qian flare up, Fang Yuan quickly explains, No, Sister Lu Qian, you misunderstood. I did not mean anything else. I just wanted to say you can find a better man than me. I really just wanted to respond to your confession seriously. I did not mean anything else, I swear. Your kind of gentleness is like a blunt blade that still chops my head off anyway. The relief she just felt disappears into anger again. He mumbles, sorry about that, Sister Lu Qian. Fang Yuan scratches the back of his head. He definitely said the wrong thing and stepped on her landmine. This is his first time being confessed to by someone close, and he has no clue how to handle it. Back at the Huaxia Conservatory of Music, girls did confess to him, but they were strangers. A simple excuse about focusing on studies was enough to easily brush them off. He did not care about those strangers' hurt feelings. Besides, his heart was already full with Wenwen anyway. If he had to worry about the feelings of every girl who failed after confessing, he would have been exhausted long ago. But Lu Qian is different. He views her as an older sister, so he wanted to be careful with her feelings. Unfortunately, he only made things worse. Fine, I have said everything I needed to. You can leave now. Fang Yuan looks concerned. But Sister Lu Qian, will you be okay on your own? What, do I need you worrying about me? Fang Yuan, I prepared myself mentally before confessing this. I knew there was a 100% chance of failure. You and Wenwen are so close and happy. No other girl could ever get between you. I only confessed so I would not have to live with regrets for the rest of my life. Just leave. I will be fine. Fang Yuan purses his lips, knowing that letting her be alone to sort out her feelings is the best choice right now. Surely Lu Qian would not do anything foolish over a confession that was doomed to fail from the start, right? He decides to leave. But before he goes, he offers one last promise. Sister Lu Qian, no matter what, you will always be my best sister and friend. Speaking with absolute sincerity, they have laid everything bare, leaving no more secrets between them. Lu Qian exhales slowly and smiles. All right, little brother Fang Yuan, those words actually make me feel a lot warmer inside. I thought you would distance yourself to keep things from being awkward, but this actually puts my mind at ease. Fang Yuan shakes his head. Sister Lu Qian, nothing will ever ruin our bond. I truly treasure our friendship. Fang Yuan is gone. Lu Qian stands on the terrace, letting the autumn wind whip her clothes and mess up her hair. Even the brightest sunlight can't warm her now. Instead, a bitter, indescribable cold spreads through her entire body. Suddenly, soft footsteps approach. Lu Qian doesn't turn around. She knows exactly who it is. Taking a deep breath, she asks, Sining, did you hear everything I said to Fang Yuan? Xia Sining hums in response. Ever since rushing to the second-floor terrace after getting Lu Qian's text, she had been hiding by the door, overhearing the entire confession. Even Fang Yuan didn't notice her when he left. Now both of them are quietly digesting it all. Xia Sining asks, Lu Qian, are you okay? I'm fine. Better than ever. Sure, a rejected confession hurts, but mostly I just feel relieved. At least now I won't regret keeping my feelings a secret from him. Everything she wanted to tell Fang Yuan is out there now. Xia Sining bites her lip, steps forward, and pulls her friend into a tight embrace. Xia Sining whispers, Liu Qian, if you want to cry, just cry. Why are you still acting tough? You really have zero talent as an actress, you know? Hearing this, Liu Qian completely crumbles. She collapses into Xia Sining's arms, tears streaming down like broken pearls, soaking her friend's chest. She sobs, you dummy, Sining. Couldn't you just ignore my sadness and comfort me? I tried so hard to hold it in. I didn't want to cry in front of Fang Yuan. I wanted to save face and avoid stressing him out. Confessing my feelings was already awkward and embarrassing enough for that silly guy. I did it for selfish reasons, just so I wouldn't have regrets. But I ended up dumping my emotional burden on him. I thought I could let go easily, but the pain is just too much. It makes sense though. This was her first love, a crush that ended before it even started. If she didn't feel this level of heartbreak, it would mean she never truly loved Fang Yuan. She would just be mourning a prize she couldn't win. Listening to her, Liu Qian finally understands why Xia Sining was so devastated when Lu Yan betrayed her, and why she went back to him 3 years later, torn between him and Fang Yuan. Your first love is always special. Even if it is just a quiet, unrequited crush, it leaves a permanent scar. You never forget the face that first made your heart race. Down the road, you might meet plenty of people and date around, swapping one partner for another. In the middle of crowded, noisy rooms, their faces blur together. But you realize they all have one thing in common. They all carry a shadow of that first love. That first person becomes your ultimate standard, the untouchable white moonlight. So, crying like this over him, it is really nothing to be ashamed of. For being single my entire life, the very first man I ever fell for is someone I can never have. I have to step back as a friend and wish him well, even if his world doesn't include me anymore. Xia Sining squeezes her. I'm here, Liu Qian. Let it all out. You'll feel better once you cry it out. Just like when Lu Yan betrayed me and you lent me your shoulder. Thank you for always being there. I know you wanted me to hear Fang Yuan's answer to help me make my own choice. By showing her raw pain like this, Liu Qian proves she truly trusts Xia Sining. Nobody wants an audience when they confess to someone, especially when they already know they are going to get rejected. Liu Qian didn't do this out of selfishness. She did it to give Xia Sining a clear answer, and to finally give herself some closure too. Liu Qian says, Sining, no matter what anyone else thinks, you're my best friend. I just want you to make a choice you won't regret. I want you to be happy. Even if we both end up without Fang Yuan, having you as my friend is enough. Hearing this, Xia Sining finally knows what to do. Seeing Liu Qian put her own heartbreak aside just to give her strength, Xia Sining makes a quiet promise to herself. Even if she won't do it for herself, she has to do it for her best friend. She must make a decision that leaves no room for regret. That is the only way she can face everyone and herself. As they reach the venue entrance, a familiar ringtone plays. It is Lu Yan calling. Liu Qian sees the caller ID but stays quiet. She has already said everything she needed to say. The next move is entirely up to Xia Sining. You can't make life decisions for someone else. The pressure is too heavy, and a mistake can ruin everything. Liu Qian just hopes her friend chooses wisely. Whether the future is bright or dark is up to Xia Sining now. Taking a deep breath, she presses the accept button. Lu Yan's voice comes through. Sining, can we meet up? You keep saying you're busy, preparing for the birthday party and working on our relationship. He continues. I've been patient because you asked me to be. But let's meet after the party, I miss you. Didn't you already forgive me about Fang Yuan? Why have you been avoiding me for days? I send you so many texts and you barely reply. It really hurts. I'm your boyfriend, the man you want to marry, right? Lu Yan blurts out everything. He thought that by getting Fang Yuan out of the picture and forcing a divorce, he would easily win her back. After all, he is her unforgettable first love, and he has Liu Piaosu's life-saving favor on his side. Yet lately, Xia Sining has been refusing to even see him, barely even replying to his texts. Whenever he asks, she claims she is too busy with the party, their relationship, and her family. These perfect excuses leave him completely speechless. Presses. She snaps that he is being clingy instead of planning for their future. It leaves him furious but unable to complain. A deep sense of panic starts creeping into his chest. If this keeps up, he and Xia Sining are going to drift apart forever. Even without Fang Yuan in the picture, the damage might be permanent. She might give up on him entirely, even if she never goes back to her ex. Terrifying gut feeling is exactly what forced him to make this call. They absolutely must meet. Fine, Lu Yan, once my mother's birthday banquet is over, I will see you. This time, Xia Sining has made up her mind. All right, Sining, I promise to behave. Hearing her finally agree to a meeting, Lu Yan is absolutely thrilled, too blind with joy to suspect a thing. Plans to use his childhood savior image and Liu Piaosu saving her life to guilt-trip Xia Sining. No matter what, Lu Yan must win over her family and marry Xia Sining. But with his current connections, getting through to the Xia family is nearly impossible. 3 years ago, Lu Yan abandoned Xia Sining, leaving the Xia group in absolute ruin. The damage to the family was massive. Even her opportunistic mother, Fan Li, won't forgive him overnight. It all depends on Sining. But if she truly lost interest in him, his whole plan falls apart. She casually brushes him off, but Lu Yan is too overjoyed to notice her cold tone. Deep down, he refuses to face the truth. He cannot accept that the woman who once worshipped him now loves someone else. Even a tiny hint of that reality is too much. Once Xia Sining hangs up, Liu Qian asks what she plans to do after her mother's banquet. Sining replies that she will set things straight with Lu Yan. I do not love him anymore, Sining says. There is no way we are getting back together. Marrying him would be a lifetime of mutual torture. I can repay him in a million other ways, but marrying him is off the table. Anything else he asks for, I will give him. I am doing this for our past and for my sister. Liu Qian lets out a long sigh of relief, telling Sining she is glad she finally woke up. Exactly what she wanted. Lu Yan had actually changed and Sining still loved him, it would be different. True love can heal past wounds, but marrying without love, that is just a recipe for disaster. Sining does not love him. Even without Fang Yuan, marrying Lu Yan would mean a lifetime of misery. Just thinking about that kind of marriage makes her shudder. Obligation only leads to regret. Sining thanks her friend, promising she will not waver when she breaks it to Lu Yan. As for Fang Yuan, she knows she has to let him go. She already knows how this story ends. Letting him pay his debt and disappear hurts less than watching him be happy with Wenwen. Even if I try, my feelings refuse to obey. I will still feel the sting of jealousy. Making this choice hurts more than she can bear. No more seeing Fang Yuan, no more of his piano music, no more of his custom meals. It is a nightmare. If she can never have him, she might as well cut him off completely. Total coward's move, but what else can she do? She could never confess to Fang Yuan like Liu Qian did. Sining does not have that kind of courage, especially when she already knows the heartbreaking rejection that awaits. Liu Qian chose to confess to avoid living with regrets, but Xia Sining cannot. Years ago, Sining was the one who chose Liu Yan, actively throwing Fang Yuan away. They are divided by an unbridgeable gap. Besides, Fang Yuan would never choose her anyway. To him, Wenwen is everything. Things might be different if she had recognized her feelings back when she was blind, but there is no rewriting history. Meanwhile, Wenwen and the others arrive at Yuanyue private kitchen. After getting permission from Master Gong, they start mixing their own drinks at the bar. When Fang Yuan finally arrives, he texts Wenwen to step outside. She heads out to meet him, sipping her freshly mixed lemon juice. Where have you been, Fang Yuan? You took forever. And where is Professor Su? Is he not with you? Fang Yuan looks at her seriously. He swore never to hide anything from her. Even though it feels a bit unfair to Liu Qian, he tells her about the confession anyway. Honesty builds real trust. It is much better than her hearing it through the grapevine later and creating unnecessary drama. When Wenwen hears the news, she gasps, blurting out a loud "holy shit." She gives Fang Yuan a knowing look. He quickly defends himself, clarifying that he firmly rejected Liu Qian and only sees her as an older sister. I promised I would never keep secrets from you, especially something this big that could easily cause a massive misunderstanding. Keep this a secret, he says. She scoffs, who do you think I am? Even though Liu Qian crossed a line, she just wanted to live without regrets. I get it. You are just way too popular. Why don't you become a stay-at-home husband and I will support you? Seriously, my dad is actually loaded. Plus, with my talent, I will easily go viral on TikTok. You can just sit back and count my money. Wenwen is actually half serious, genuinely mapping out this future. After all, Fang Yuan is tall, handsome, sweet, and a genius pianist. During the 8 years she was gone, she constantly worried some other girl would steal him away. It was selfish. She did not even know if she would survive or have a future back then. Even if he moved on, she could not blame him. Yet, she still asked Gong Li to watch him at the music academy, secretly checking if any other girls were keeping him company. Wenwen knew how popular he was at school. Even the campus beauty in Suru had secretly fallen head over heels for him. The guy is a total magnet. If he gets any more famous, she will be drowning in love rivals. Chasing away all those pests sounds like a massive headache. She huffs in annoyance. But to her surprise, Fang Yuan agrees without a single moment of hesitation. Stares in shock. You actually agree? Why not? Being with you has always been my dream. Seeing you jealous is amazing. Honestly, being your stay-at-home husband sounds perfect. With your incredible musical talent, you can pamper me while I enjoy the good life. Besides, I am amazing at taking care of people. I have absolute confidence in that. Fang Yuan gently pats her head. He was dead serious, completely agreeing with Wenwen. Fang Yuan shouldn't be the only obsessive one in this relationship. Truly possess her, Wenwen had to depend on him completely. Love Fang Yuan so much she would go crazy without him. That was only fair. Wenwen hadn't come to his room, confessed, and kissed him first. Fang Yuan might have ended up even crazier than her. For an obsessive lover, security is everything. It is the only thing that keeps their dark impulses in check. Now Wenwen finally gets a taste of that fear. Fang Yuan is thrilled. But Wenwen protests. Forget it, Fang Yuan. She does not want to ruin his career as a pianist for her selfish desires. It is not just her. Everyone would judge her, calling her a selfish, horrible woman. Besides, she was just complaining a little. It is not that serious. He sticks his tongue out and thinks. To keep his promise, he suggests, once he becomes a world-class master pianist, he will retire to be her house husband. That way, he keeps his promise to her and Professor Su while doing what he actually wants. She asks, Fang Yuan, are you serious? Do not joke about this. Do not say that. Wenwen reaches out to cover his mouth, but Fang Yuan anticipates the move and catches her hand. He holds her palm tightly in his. Gaze burns. He is serious, Wenwen. He decided this before he even found her. As an orphan, family means everything to him. They all died in a car crash. Piano is important, yes, but compared to the woman he truly loves, it is not worth mentioning. If they marry, they will be family. She is the most important woman to him. He refuses to live with regrets anymore. He wants to cherish what he has. He wants to protect the family he finally found, to take care of her. That does not mean he is giving up the piano completely. Like her grandparents, he can keep playing music without needing the global stage. He knows what matters most. Being with her means she is his family. Wenwen shakes her head. But Fang Yuan making this choice, is it really fair to you? He is a genius pianist, destined to leave his mark on the world stage. She cannot let him throw that away for her. She wants to see him shine. But Fang Yuan explains that if they both pursue their careers, they will barely see each other, trapped in a long-distance relationship. They will barely have time for a single meal. He suggests taking the hit since he is great at cooking and caretaking anyway. Wenwen should chase her dreams. He will handle the rest. He even agreed to sign with Jean Peng on Duet to post short videos. That way, their work aligns and they stay together. No constant international travel. It is the perfect setup for them. Hearing this, Wenwen is so touched she is on the verge of tears. Throws herself into Fang Yuan's arms. She calls him a dummy. Why does he have to say things that make her want to cry? Wenwen has actually worried about this before. Gong Li once privately warned her that if Fang Yuan goes global, their careers will inevitably keep them apart. Both have demanding careers. When Gong Li goes on world tours, she disappears from Kyoto for anywhere from 2 to 6 months. That is why her apartment in White Swan Estates was rented out. There was no one to maintain the piano. Real life is rarely perfect. Fang Yuan aims for the global stage while she builds her short video career. They will be worlds apart. Pretending she has no doubts would be a lie. Back in high school, she helped him find his passion for the piano again. They were just students with endless time. To her, he was always most beautiful when playing. Growing up means losing that simple innocence. Wenwen might be inexperienced, but she is not a child anymore. She is an adult. She took Gong Li's warnings to heart. But this is the career Fang Yuan fought for. The piano is where his genius shines, and she always wanted him to conquer the global stage. Wenwen has no reason and no right to hold him back. Hearing him offer this makes her realize that choosing Fang Yuan was the best decision of her life. No one else would sacrifice their grand dreams for her, only him. She looks ridiculous crying and laughing at the same time. Finally, Wenwen takes a few deep breaths and flashes him her biggest smile. He smiles. Giving this up for her is the most natural thing in the world. When he first started learning piano, his parents told him that playing for the girl he loves would unlock his most beautiful music. Just like his father strove to become a better painter for his mother. As a kid, he did not understand those words. He just loved playing and making his family proud. It was not until he met Wenwen that he finally understood. Because of her, he is the man he is today. She is the single most important person in his life. His voice is steady and absolutely sincere. After 8 long years, he has finally found the girl who saved him. This time, he is never letting go. In this moment, Wenwen finally understands her grandmother's wisdom. She once asked her, back when she was a world-renowned musician, and how she could give up her acclaimed career to follow her grandfather around the world, playing only for their private little circle. Even with a loving partner by her side, did she ever wonder what if, without marriage, she could have conquered the global stage and built a historic legacy? Did she ever feel regret? Did she want a do-over? Her grandmother's answer still rings clear. She said, maybe I had that youthful drive. If that old man hadn't stolen my heart, who knows? She was highly confident in her skills. But then her gaze drifted to grandfather, who was playing with the dog in the yard like a kid, her eyes filling with peace. Even given a second chance, she would choose this. She is more content and happy now than she ever could have dreamed. With happiness like this, there are no regrets. Even if she could start over like in those web novels, she would just find him sooner to save time. A few short decades together is never enough. It has to last forever. Back then, little Wenwen listened. She still didn't get why Grandma chose this. If you could start over, wouldn't a different life be way more exciting and challenging? But this time, Wenwen finally got it. You don't find happiness by chasing a different life. It's a happy, fulfilling life itself that's actually worth striving for. Since she was already on a happy, regret-free path, why go out of her way to obsess over things that didn't even exist? Even if she did, the answer was simple. He was the most important. She said, Fang Yuan, I've made my decision. He looked at Wenwen surprised, but she just smiled. She silently told herself, I'm better than you anyway, so I'll get famous first, reach my dreams faster, and then I'll be the one by your side. After all, he was more than just a little behind her, and his goal was the whole world. That was going to take a very long time. Fang Yuan waited, then asked, what did you want to say? Did his decision scare Wenwen? Fang Yuan couldn't tell. As the old saying goes, a woman's mind is like a needle at the bottom of the sea. For a man, trying to figure out a woman's mind is nearly impossible, even if he spends a lifetime trying. But Fang Yuan didn't care about other women. Xia Sining, Su Rou, Liu Qian, and Gong Li could think whatever they wanted. He only needed to understand Wenwen, and his words just now? Not a joke at all. They were straight from the heart. Too early to say all this anyway. He had a lifetime with Wenwen to prove it. Suddenly a voice cut in. Hey, what are you two sneaking around for? Been gone so long, Gong Li is getting worried. I figured you'd be out here flirting, and look at that, I was right. Your best bud Peng had officially entered the chat, completely annoyed. He strolled over, grumbling about being forced to eat their public displays of affection. Fang Yuan sighed, wishing he could elbow his friend. Peng, if you knew we were together, why are you being a third wheel? Where's the bro code? Peng snapped. You dare complain? I've been out here 15 minutes keeping watch. If I hadn't stopped Gong Li, she'd have busted you. Would you rather she catch you or me? With how protective Gong Li is over her sister, Fang Yuan would have been dead meat. Has it really been that long? Fang Yuan checked his watch in disbelief. Called Wenwen out of the courtyard. Holy cow, half an hour had flown by. Time was moving way too fast. Hearing this, Liu Qian couldn't hold it in anymore. She collapsed into Xia Sining's arms, tears streaming down like a broken necklace. She sobbed. You idiot, Sining. Couldn't you just pretend not to see my pain and offer a little comfort? I tried so hard to bottle it up because I didn't want to cry in front of Fang Yuan. I wanted to save face and keep from stressing him out. Confessing my feelings had already made things awkward enough for the poor guy. I acted out of pure selfishness, just to avoid future regrets, but I ended up placing a burden on everyone. I thought I could walk away easily, but the bitterness is just too much to handle. That's because he was the first man you ever loved, Liu Qian, a crush that ended before it even started. If you didn't feel this hurt, it would mean you never truly loved Fang Yuan, that you only wanted him because you couldn't have him. Hearing this, Liu Qian finally understood why Xia Sining was so devastated after Lu Yan betrayed her, and why 3 years later she got so confused between her feelings for Fang Yuan and Lu Yan that she took Lu Yan back. Your first love is always the most special, no matter who you are. Even if it's just a one-sided crush, it still leaves a scar, and you can never quite forget the face that first made your heart skip a beat. Sure, you meet other people down the road, go through different relationships, and watch partners come and go. Amid the flashing lights of the nightlife, their faces blur together, but you realize they all carry a shadow of that very first person. That first love remains your ultimate ideal, a permanent scar on your heart. Knowing that, is it really such a crime for me to cry over him just this once? After being single my entire life, my first love is someone I can never have. All I can do is stand by as a friend and wish him the best. He doesn't need me in his world. Xia Sining comforted her. I'm right here, Liu Qian. Let it all out. You'll feel so much better once you do. Just like when Lu Yan betrayed me, and you lent me your shoulder to cry on. Thank you for always being there. I know you brought me here to see Fang Yuan's answer so I could find closure. By laying her raw feelings bare like this, Liu Qian proved she truly saw Xia Sining as her absolute best friend. Otherwise, no one in their right mind would let a third party witness a confession that was doomed from the start. Besides, Liu Qian wasn't just thinking of herself. If she were selfish, she would have ignored everyone else's feelings. She took this step to find real answers for both Xia Sining and herself. Sining, no matter what anyone else thinks, you'll always be my best friend. I just want you to make a choice you won't regret, and finally find the happiness you deserve. Even if you don't end up with Fang Yuan, having you as my friend is enough to make me happy. And seeing Liu Qian's strength finally helped Xia Sining realize what she needed to do. Seeing Liu Qian put her own heartbreak aside to offer comfort and courage, Xia Sining quietly made a decision of her own. If not for herself, then for the friend who always put her first. She had to make a choice she wouldn't regret. It was the only way to do right by everyone. As they reached the entrance, Xia Sining's phone started ringing to a love song about overflowing rain. The screen showed a call from Lu Yan. Liu Qian saw the caller ID too, but she kept quiet. She had already said everything she needed to. The choice now rested entirely on Xia Sining's shoulders. No one can live your life for you. That pressure is far too heavy, and one wrong move could ruin everything. You have to be the master of your own fate. Qian only wanted her friend to choose without regrets. Whether the future turned out good or bad was up to Xia Sining to worry about, not her. Xia Sining took a deep breath and answered. Yan's voice came through the line. Sining, can we please meet up soon? He said. You keep saying you are busy with your mom's birthday party and fixing our relationship. I've tried to be patient, but we have to meet when it's over. I really miss you. He asked. Didn't you already forgive me about Fang Yuan? Why have you been avoiding me? I sent so many texts and you barely reply. Yan poured his heart out. I'm hurting, Sining. I'm your boyfriend, the man you want to spend your life with, right? Yan finally said everything he wanted to. He genuinely believed that forcing Fang Yuan out and making him divorce Xia Sining would solve his problems. Status as her unforgettable first love, combined with Lu Piasu's sacrifice, Yan figured Xia Sining would blindly obey him forever. But lately, she refuses to even see him and barely replies to his texts. If he asks, she's just too busy. Busy with the birthday party, busy working on her marriage, and busy dealing with her family. Perfect excuses completely shut Yan up. If he asks just one more question, Xia Sining complains he is too annoying and accuses him of ignoring their future just to cling to her. It leaves Yan absolutely fuming with no way to vent. Meanwhile, a deep panic starts eating at Yan. He feels her slipping away. Even with Fang Yuan out of the picture, the cracks between them are impossible to mend. Xia Sining might just give up on the reunion entirely. Even if she stays away from Fang Yuan, she might never choose Yan again. Driven by this intense panic, Yan calls Xia Sining, desperate to arrange a meeting. When she finally answers, she simply tells him, fine, we will meet after my mother's birthday party. Xia Sining has truly made up her mind. Yan quickly replies, okay Sining, I promise I will be good. Overjoyed that she finally agreed to meet, Yan doesn't stop to think about what this actually means. He plans to use his status as her first love, combined with Lu Piasu's life-saving sacrifice, to guilt-trip Xia Sining. No matter what, he has to win over the Xia family and marry her. But winning over the Xia family is nearly impossible with his weak network. 3 years ago, he ran away instead of taking responsibility, leaving Xia Sining to drown in a massive corporate crisis. Even if her mother Shen Li only cares about money, she won't forgive him overnight. If he wants to win Xia Sining back, his only real hope is Xia Sining herself. But if Xia Sining has truly lost interest in him, none of those plans will matter anyway. Xia Sining brushes him off with a few cold words, but he is too ecstatic to notice. Or maybe, deep down, he just refuses to accept that the woman who once worshipped him now loves another man. Even the slightest hint of that reality is something he cannot face. Once Xia Sining hangs up, Qian asks what she plans to do after her mother's birthday. Xia Sining sighs. I am going to tell Yan the truth. I do not love him anymore, and we are not getting back together. Getting married and tying themselves together for life would just be mutual torture. Neither of them would ever be happy. There are plenty of ways to repay Yan without forcing a relationship. I will give him anything else he asks for. It is the only way to honor our past and my sister. Qian lets out a long sigh of relief. Sining, you are finally waking up. That is the exact answer she has been waiting to hear all along. If Yan had changed and Xia Sining still genuinely loved him, that would be one thing. Even with the bitter history from 3 years ago, real love can heal almost any wound. But Xia Sining does not love him. Even without Fang Yuan in the picture, she would never find happiness with Yan. Thinking of a marriage like that only brings despair. Marrying Yan out of obligation would lead to a lifetime of regret. Xia Sining smiles. Thank you, Qian. I am done being confused. Qian asks, what about Fang Yuan size? We will see. I already know how my story ends anyway. Maybe it is best to let Fang Yuan repay his debt and vanish. That is better than standing on the sidelines, watching him build a beautiful life with Wenwen. She cannot stop her feelings. The jealousy and heartache are too real. Walking away is going to hurt, especially knowing she will never see him or hear him play the piano again. No more of his gentle care, no more meals made just for her. Losing all of this feels like a nightmare, except she cannot wake up from it. Since he was never hers, she might as well make a clean break. It is a cowardly move, but she has no other choice. She cannot just confess her feelings the way Qian did. It is not just about lacking courage. She already knows exactly how badly she would get rejected. Qian could put her heart on the line to avoid regret, but Xia Sining just can't. She was the one who chose Yan and abandoned Fang Yuan. That created a massive unbridgeable gap between them. Besides, even if she had stayed, Fang Yuan probably wouldn't want her now. Fang Yuan, Wenwen is everything. Things might have been different if she recognized her feelings when she was still blind. But there are no do-overs in life. Meanwhile, Wenwen and her friends arrive at Wanyue private kitchen first. With Chef Zhang's permission, they head straight to the bar to mix some custom drinks. Fang Yuan shows up a bit late, sending Wenwen a quick message beforehand to ask her to step outside. Taking a sip of her freshly made lemonade, Wenwen asks him what took so long and why Professor Su isn't with him. Fang Yuan looks at her. I have something to tell you. He promised never to keep secrets from her. Even though it feels a bit unfair to Qian, he tells Wenwen about the confession anyway. Being completely honest now is far better than letting her find out from some other source later. He wants to offer her total transparency to prevent any stupid misunderstandings. Wenwen drops her jaw, blurting out a loud swear word. She gives him a long, knowing look, prompting a helpless chuckle from Fang Yuan. Look, I told you everything. Even though I feel bad for Qian, I turned her down flat. I told her she is just like a sister to me. I told her I appreciate her help, but we are strictly friends. I am sharing this because I promise never to hide anything from you, especially something so easy to misunderstand. Keep this between us. Wenwen nods. Obviously, what do you take me for? I wouldn't even tell my own sister. I think she crossed a line, but at least she won't have any regrets. Honestly, you are just too popular. Maybe you should be a house husband from now on, and I will just work to support you. Don't underestimate me. My dad has money. Plus, with my talent, I could easily become a massive viral influencer on TikTok. You can just sit back and count the cash. She is actually half serious. After all, Fang Yuan is tall, incredibly handsome, sweet, and a literal genius on the piano. During the 8 years she was gone, she constantly worried some other girl would steal him away. It is selfish, but it's the truth. Back then, Wenwen did not know if she would survive, or if she even had a future. If Fang Yuan moved on with someone else, she could not blame him. Still, she asked Gong Li to keep an eye on him at the Huaxia Academy of Music, just to see if he was seeing anyone else. Wenwen knew that so many girls at the Huaxia Academy of Music liked Fang Yuan, including the former school beauty, and even Su Ru. The man was a total magnet. If he kept getting more famous, she would just end up with even more rivals. Keeping all those flies away from him sounded like a total nightmare. Honestly, it made her pretty annoyed. Surprisingly, Fang Yuan agreed without a second thought, catching her completely off guard. She stared at him in pure shock. "You are actually willing?" He laughed. "Why wouldn't I be? Being with you has always been my dream, Wenwen. Honestly, seeing you get jealous over other girls just makes me happy. Staying home as a house husband actually sounds great. You have so much musical talent, Wenwen. You can support me while I live the easy life. I am actually pretty great at taking care of people, and I have absolute confidence in my skills." Fang Yuan gently patted her head, his voice completely serious. Completely agreed with her. In this relationship, he could not be the only obsessive one who wanted total possession. Wenwen needed to depend on him. She had to love him so much that she would go crazy without him by her side. That was only fair. If she had not taken the initiative to go to his room, confess and kiss him back then, he would be the crazy one now. For someone with an obsessive streak, a sense of security is everything. It is the only thing that keeps the madness inside from breaking out. Fang Yuan felt a smug sense of satisfaction. But Wenwen shook her head. "Wait, let us forget it. I do not want to ruin your career just for my own selfish desires. It is not just me. Everyone would hate it and think I am just a selfish, terrible woman." He smiled, sticking out his tongue. "I was just complaining. It is not that serious. But to keep my promise, how about this? Once I become a world-class master, I will retire to be your house husband. Deal? That way, I keep my promise to you and Professor Su while finally doing what I actually want." She gasped. "Are you serious? Do not joke about that." She tried to cover his mouth, but he saw it coming and gently caught her hand. He held her hand tightly, his eyes burning with intensity. "I am serious, Wenwen. I made up my mind before I even found you, Wenwen. You know I am an orphan, and my entire family died in that crash. Piano is important, but compared to the woman I love, it is nothing. We marry, we are family. You will be the most important person to me. I do not want any more regrets. I just want to hold on to the family I fought so hard to find, take care of you, and stay by your side. Of course, I am not giving up the piano completely. I can play like your grandparents do, off the world stage. But I finally know what truly matters to me. Being with you means you are my family." She shook her head. "But Fang Yuan, is that really fair to you? You are a genius pianist. You were destined to do great things on the global stage. I cannot let you do this. I want to see you shine." But he countered, "If we both chase our careers, we will barely see each other or even share a meal. We would always be long distance. Let me make the compromise. I can handle things. I can cook and manage the house while you chase your dreams. I even agreed to sign with John Peng for Duyan so I can post short videos. That way our work aligns, we stay together, and nobody has to travel abroad. It is perfect for us, isn't it?" Her eyes welled with tears as she threw herself into his arms. "You idiot. Why do you have to say things that make me want to cry? You are making me a total mess." She had actually worried about this herself. Gong Li once privately warned her that if Fang Yuan went global, their careers would keep them apart for a very long time. Just like Gong Li, once the band started touring, he would be away from Kyoto for months on end. That was why the apartment in White Swan was rented out, since nobody was around to maintain Xiling's piano. Reality is never perfect. If he goes global while she does short videos, they will end up worlds apart. Gong Li wanted her to be ready. It would be a lie to say she was not worried. Back in high school, when she helped him play again, they were just students with all the time in the world. She thought he looked happiest at the piano, so of course she supported him. But they were not kids anymore, and things were no longer that simple. Wenwen might have lacked experience, but she was an adult now. She took Gong Li's warnings to heart. Yet that was his dream. It was where his talent belonged, and she had always wanted to see him stand on the world stage as a premier pianist. She had no right to hold him back. But hearing him offer this sacrifice made her realize how incredibly lucky she was to have him. "Nobody else would ever give up their dream for me," she said, laughing through her tears. She looked completely ridiculous, crying and smiling at the same time. Finally, Wenwen took a deep breath and offered him a bright smile. He looked at her. "Giving this up for you is only natural. When I first started playing, my parents told me that once I found the girl I wanted to play for, my music would sound even more beautiful, just like my father became a better painter for my mother. As a kid, I did not understand what he meant. I just wanted my family to be proud of my music. But meeting you changed everything, Wenwen. Because of you, I am who I am today. You are the most important person in my life." Spoke with total conviction. After 8 long years, he had finally found the girl who saved him so long ago. This time, he was never going to let her go. And in that moment, Wenwen finally understood what her grandmother had meant. She had once asked her grandmother why a world-famous, elegant musician would give up her own career and hobbies just to follow her grandfather everywhere, traveling from country to country, playing only in her own tiny world. Even with the love of her life, did she ever wonder if a completely different career was waiting for her? Maybe she could have performed on global stages. Did she ever regret her choice or wish she could start all over again? Wenwen remembers her grandmother's answer clearly. "Maybe, back when I had that youthful drive. If that old man had not stolen my heart, I might have made it big. I was pretty confident in my skills," she laughed. But then she looked at Grandpa playing with their dog in the yard, her eyes softening with pure happiness. "Even if I could start over, I would choose him again. My life now is so full, so happy. When you are this happy, there are no regrets." If she could travel back in time, her only wish would be to choose Grandpa the very first second they met. That way they would not waste a moment. A few decades together is just too short. It should last forever. As a child, Wenwen did not understand why her grandmother made that choice. Why not choose a different, more exciting life? But now she finally gets it. True happiness is not about chasing the unknown, but about cherishing a peaceful, beautiful life. She is already on a happy path. Why look for trouble by imagining other lives? Even if she did, the answer would remain the same. You are the only one who matters, Fang Yuan. I have made up my mind, she says. Fang Yuan looks at her, surprised, while she just smiles, secretly thinking that she will definitely become famous first. Then she can protect him. After all, his global dream is going to take a long time, and he is a step behind her. When she stays quiet, Fang Yuan asks what is on her mind. He wonders if his sudden decision just scared her a bit. He cannot tell. A woman's mind is like a mystery at the bottom of the sea, nearly impossible for any man to decode. But he does not care about other women. Xia Sining, Su Rou, Liu Qian, Gong Lin, they can think whatever they want as long as he gets Wenwen. Promise was sincere, not a joke. It is early, but they have a lifetime ahead of them. He will prove it over time. Hey, what are you two doing sneaking around here? Gong Lin was getting worried since Nuan had been gone so long. I knew you two were sneaking some romance. John Peng, his best buddy, walks over, grumbling about being a third wheel. He looks completely done with their public affection. Fang Yuan snaps, John Peng, if you knew we were busy, why come over and play the third wheel? Fang Yuan wants to elbow him. John Peng retorts, I gave you plenty of time. If I had not stopped Gong Lin, she would be here too. Would you rather be caught by me or Gong Lin? With how protective she is of her sister, you would be in serious trouble, Fang Yuan. Has it really been that long? Fang Yuan checks his watch. Wow, 30 minutes have flown by since they stepped out. Time really flies. Even though they deny it, everyone at school is convinced they are a couple, whispering about a secret teacher-student romance. Otherwise, there is no explaining why Su Rou favors him so much, or why he turned down the campus beauty. They just look perfect together. The rumors died when Fang Yuan graduated and married Xia Sining. But once he returned to study under Su Rou again, the gossip caught fire once more. But close friends know he does not care about Su Rou or Xia Sining. Wenwen is the only woman who holds any real space in his heart, yet the other women keep trying, hoping to win him over while she is gone. Fang Yuan did not even fall for Su Rou, treating her strictly as a mentor. How could he possibly feel anything for Qin Wenwen? Poor Qin Wenwen. Honestly, if she had just paid attention from the very beginning, she would have known she never stood a chance. In this game of love, she was always destined to be the clown. It was time to wake up from this dream. For herself, for Fang Yuan, and for Wenwen. But as Qin Wenwen grieved, a soft voice suddenly reached her. I am sorry. Qin Wenwen spun around, staring at Su Rou in complete shock. Was that really Su Rou speaking? Qin Wenwen, back at Fang Yuan's apartment. I said those things on purpose. I wanted you to think Wenwen made him happy, and no one could ever come between them. What? Qin Wenwen looked at her, utterly mortified that her secret was out. She quickly panicked. Professor Su, please do not misunderstand. I do not feel that way. I just admire Senior Fang Yuan. Besides, he is dating Senior Wenwen. How could I ever try cut the act? How could I not see it? If Wenwen were not around, would you honestly say you do not love him? Your feelings are so obvious. Everyone can see it, except Fang Yuan himself. Su Rou sounded so certain that Qin Wenwen was left completely speechless. Was her love for Fang Yuan really that obvious to everyone? Qin Wenwen looked down, totally confused. If you already knew how I felt about Senior Fang Yuan, she asked, then why did you deliberately say those painful things to me? Did I offend you somehow? Su Rou sighed. Because I am a bad woman. Su Rou gave a faint, bitter smile. Back then, I was consumed by dark, jealous thoughts. I only wanted to see you hurt, hoping it would ease my own agonizing pain. But after you ran away crying, I did not feel better. I just felt incredibly ugly, selfish, and completely unrecognizable to myself. That is why I was too ashamed to face you. I did not know what to say. But today I want to sincerely apologize to you. Qin Wenwen, I am truly sorry. I let my own selfish desires hurt you. Qin Wenwen froze as the truth hit her. Professor Su, did you fall for him too? Su Rou sighed. By the time I realized it was too late. Actually, there was never a chance. Once I met Wenwen, I understood. If I were Fang Yuan and met someone who rescued me in high school, who was my guiding light, I would choose Wenwen too. I would wait and search for her forever, even if she disappeared for years. You feel the same way, do you not, Qin Wenwen? In that moment, Qin Wenwen felt a deep connection to Su Rou. They loved the same man, but his heart was never theirs, especially after seeing his perfect girl and witnessing the sheer brilliance of her light. It makes them feel so small in comparison, completely outmatched. Yes, Professor Su Rou, that is what I was thinking. Seeing Wenwen today and feeling her sincere, kind acceptance makes me feel so wicked. Someone like me doesn't deserve her friendship or the right to perform with Fang Yuan. I am the type who only thinks of myself, ignoring everyone else. But Wenwen saw my feelings for Fang Yuan and brought it up directly. Before Qin Wenwen can finish, Su Rou cuts her off. Yet Wenwen's honesty gave me an outlet, and I actually feel a lot better now. Going to the celebration dinner and seeing both Fang Yuan and Wenwen helped ease my mind. I cannot say I have fully moved on, but being friends is enough. I get it now. Professor Su Rou is sharing her own past to comfort me. But did Wenwen really act normal after realizing you like Fang Yuan? Oh, her? Liking Fang Yuan is not a crime, but her reaction shocked me. She accepted it so easily and even asked me about his college days. She was not mocking me or marking her territory. She just wanted to know more about the past of the man she loves, a past she missed out on. Call it a path forward rather than comfort. Besides, I owed you this advice. Now we are even. Su Rou has nothing else to offer, only hoping the girl moves on. Qin Wenwen bites her lip. Professor Su, do you think I can keep up with Fang Yuan? Please be honest with me. I want the truth, not comforting lies. I already owe Fang Yuan and Wenwen too much. I cannot hold them back anymore. Su Rou responds, do not worry, Fang Yuan is not as soft as you think. If you start dragging him down, you will have only two choices, cooperate perfectly or leave. I let you stay this long because I believe in your talent, and Fang Yuan does too. Keep practicing, and you will get your chance to perform alongside Fang Yuan, gain attention, and rise to fame. Think like an adult from now on. Qin Wenwen, put your career and future first. Qin Wenwen goes quiet before nodding. Thank you, Professor Seuss. I know what to do. Hang in there. You are a wonderful girl, and you will find someone better. Professor Su Rou, so will you. They share a quiet, understanding smile. Someone better than Fang Yuan? In this lifetime, she wonders if that is even possible. Once the celebration wraps up, Xia Sining plans to just send a driver for Lu Piaosu, but somehow she finds herself in the back seat, tracking the route and sending her location. Soon, Lu Piaosu walks over and climbs into the car. Sister, aren't you going to say hello to Fang Yuan and the others? Xia Sining shakes her head. No, it would only make things awkward and ruin the mood. Lu Piaosu disagrees. You are overthinking, sister. They are both genuinely nice people. Besides, your contract marriage with Fang Yuan was purely business. Why would they hold a grudge? Xia Sining gently pats her head, hiding a sudden flash of sorrow. Did you have fun? Yes, but sister, you seem a bit off. Are you unhappy? What is wrong, sister? Xia Sining sighs. I just decided to do something huge for my future. sister. I am a bit sad, but mostly relieved. You will support me, right? Meeting Xia Sining's clear, bright gaze, it hits Lu Piaosu. She has not seen her sister look this determined in years. Nodding in a daze, she promises she will always have her back. Time flies, and soon it is the birthday banquet of Xia Sining's mother, Feng Li. Having confirmed the schedule, Xia Sining sends a car to fetch Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan is already waiting, dressed in a custom tailcoat tailored specifically for tonight. Bleak black fabric catches the light, making him look exceptionally sharp. His natural artistic elegance as a pianist shines through, leaving Xia Sining completely breathless. Since when did Fang Yuan look this incredibly handsome in formal wear? Back when she was blind, she only offered simple verbal blessings during family birthdays, unable to see anything around her. Once she got her sight back, she immediately pushed for a divorce for Lu Yan. Now, this is her first time seeing Fang Yuan look so refined. Even if she has unspoken feelings for him now, she knows she has no right. She ignored him for years, only to regret it too late. Talk about a tragic wake-up call. But she does not even have the right to win him back. If he never loved her, how can she fix this? Seeing her stare, Fang Yuan asks if everything is okay. She snaps out of it, saying the tailcoat suits him perfectly and that it is her first time seeing it. He replies that he never had a reason to dress up before. Yet tonight is Chairman Lu's wife's birthday banquet, so he had to look the part. He knows Feng Li dislikes him. She always saw him as a mere tool to shield her family business. Still, he remains grateful. He owes them nothing now. With the divorce finalized, he is free to walk his own path, and Feng Li has no reason to resent him anymore. He has a strong feeling everything will wrap up tonight. The Xia family would have to be fools not to know what is going on by now. But Lu Jiacheng is no fool, and this birthday party is actually a showdown. Fang Yuan turns to her, Sining. Are you ready for this? Yes, I am ready. She answers easily this time. The guilt is there, but she is determined to end this mess. Fang Yuan studies her, sensing a change he cannot quite name. The car pulls up to the Xia family estate. Before Xia Sining lost her sight, her mother's birthday parties were always incredibly lavish affairs. The entire elite of Kyoto would gather just to show their faces and flatter the wife of the Xia Group chairman. Xia Group's power in the capital is massive. But ever since Xia Sining lost her sight and the Lu family canceled the wedding, the entire family became a laughingstock. To avoid gossip, the family kept their gatherings small and private. It had been years since they threw a massive banquet. Even though Xia Sining regained her sight and took back the company this year, the timing still isn't right. So Fenli's birthday party is kept small, just for family. When their Maybach pulls up at the entrance, Liu Piaosu is already waiting. She rushes out to greet them. Xia Sining, Fang Yuan, you are finally here. She gasps. Wow, Fang Yuan, you look so handsome. You look even better than you did during your piano exam. Is not just empty flattery. She saw instantly that the tailcoat suits Fang Yuan perfectly. With his height, looks, and effortless charm, he is built for the high society spotlight. Fang Yuan smiles. Thank you for the compliment, Liu Piaosu. Your dress looks beautiful too. Liu Piaosu giggles and ushers them inside. The big day is finally here. Fang Yuan stayed quiet during the drive, knowing Xia Sining understood that their secret could not be hidden any longer. There is no escaping this confrontation. When Fang Yuan and Xia Sining step into the old family mansion, the servants bow. Miss Xia Sining, welcome back. Tell her it is so good to see her again. This mansion is where Xia Sining grew up, and she still visited occasionally after taking over the company. 3 years of blindness meant she never showed up. Seeing these familiar faces brings back so many memories. There are almost no new faces until a voice cuts through the air. Well, if it isn't Xia Sining and my dear brother-in-law, strutting over in a dark red suit and gold-rimmed glasses is a smug, arrogant man. This is the eldest son of the family, Liu Changming, who also happens to be Xia Sining's older brother. Xia Sining's face tightens slightly, but she stays quiet. As the eldest son of the family, everyone assumed Liu Changming would naturally inherit the entire Xia Group. He believed it with all his heart. But Xia Sining came out of nowhere. Her business skills were like heaven and earth compared to his, and she completely overshadowed Liu Changming in every single way. Instantly, their high expectations shifted from him to her. Xia Sining became the ultimate hope of the family, a rising star in the business world. Meanwhile, Liu Changming was reduced to a pathetic older brother who lost his inheritance to his sister, leaving him with absolutely nothing else to his name. Jealousy ate him alive. When Xia Sining lost her sight for 3 years, Liu Changming assumed his chance to reclaim the throne had finally arrived. Yet, even with 3 whole years, Liu Changming failed to pass Lu Jiacheng's evaluation. He made zero progress while in charge, lost massive amounts of money on failed investments, and destroyed the shareholders' trust. Because of his failures, Xia Sining took back the presidency the very moment she returned. Even after a 3-year gap, the shareholders and Liu Jiacheng still preferred to trust Xia Sining's talent. As for Fang Yuan, knowing that Liu Changming despised him, he simply gave a polite nod, refusing to waste his breath on someone so hostile. Besides, Liu Jiacheng was the one who saved Fang Yuan's family. He only owed his loyalty and gratitude to the patriarch. Others treated him with respect, he would return it. He believes in returning kindness, but he is no doormat. Seeing the tension, Liu Piaosu quickly steps in as the peacemaker, begging her brother not to target Xia Sining on their mother's birthday. Liu Changming scoffs, as if I would ever dare oppose her. He sneers. She is the universally recognized successor of the Xia Group, and I am apparently nothing. Liu Changming rolls his eyes, dripping with sarcasm. Xia Sining fires back coldly. Father made that decision purely based on capability, and I do not owe you a thing. If you actually had the talent, those 3 years of my blindness were your golden opportunity to make the Xia Group yours. Yet you failed completely. The fact that I replaced you the second I returned proves I am the only logical choice to lead. Facing his sarcasm, Xia Sining shows absolutely no fear as she strikes back, completely ignoring Liu Changming's dignity as her older brother. If Liu Changming had even a shred of self-respect left, he would focus on improving his own skills to take the position back from her. As the eldest son, he held every advantage. If he possessed even a fraction of talent, he would not have lost his birthright. Ending up in this position only proves his complete incompetence. He has nobody to blame but himself. Another voice chimes in. Come on, brother, keep the peace. If Xia Sining is doing all the work, we get to live in luxury. All we have to do is collect our annual dividend payouts and live a carefree life. This is basically paradise. Just then, a flashy man dressed in loud colors and sunglasses strolls over, dripping with a playful rogue charm. He looks slightly like his siblings. This is the second son of the family, Lu Tianwei. Liu Changming snaps. Do you think I am like you? Only knowing how to live off handouts and wait for charity. You are a man, yet you do not care about family affairs and rely on Xia Sining to survive. It is pathetic. He looks at Liu Tianwei with deep disappointment. If this younger brother would actually team up with him, they might stand a real chance of defeating Xia Sining. Alone, Liu Changming is no match for Xia Sining. Unfortunately, Liu Tianwei never pays any attention to family affairs, spending his days only thinking about partying and having fun. Liu Tianwei leaves all his shares for Xia Sining to manage, simply waiting for dividends. While Liu Jiacheng and Fen Li are still alive, they can keep Xia Sining in check. But once the elders eventually pass away, her next targets will be her own brothers. Did they really expect to coast forever? Xia Sining is not the type to let a useless person sit back and drain dividends. Liu Tianwei shrugs. Brother, Xia Sining is simply stronger than both of us. Have you still not accepted reality? Even our parents agree, so why not just relax and give up? Liu Changming curses angrily, but Liu Piaosu quickly steps in to stop the two brothers from fighting. She begs them to stop for their mother's birthday. Seeing Liu Changming and Liu Tianwei arguing until their faces are completely red, Liu Piaosu desperately tries to play the peacemaker. He still has some affection for his frail little sister. With a cold scoff, he turns around and walks away. Liu Piaosu sighs deeply. Why do you always provoke him, Liu Tianwei? Fortunately, Mom and Dad are not here right now, or both of you would have been heavily scolded. Liu Tianwei shrugs. I am just speaking the truth. If he had any real talent, he would have taken over the company years ago. Why would Liu Jiacheng hand over the company to Xia Sining the second she recovered? The opportunity was given to Liu Changming many times, but he lacked the capability to seize it. Hearing this, Liu Piaosu is left completely speechless. Even as a high schooler with zero business experience, Liu Piaosu knew that Liu Changming was no match for Xia Sining. Otherwise, how did Xia Sining take over the Xia group so fast? People even whispered that Liu Changming would have ruined it. Between the gossip and the hard facts, it was obvious. Everyone saw it, even Liu Tiancheng. That is why he chose to just coast. Why fight Xia Sining? It would only bring humiliation and make her hate him. He was no fool. Only Liu Changming was blind enough to think he could compete, probably blinded by his ego as the eldest son. Xia Sining, the company is in your hands now. Your second brother is rooting for you. Take it to the top. He told Xia Sining that he believed in her. Liu Tiancheng knew that staying on Xia Sining's good side was key to a lazy life. A backup plan was fine, but getting a free ride from Xia Sining was much easier. Xia Sining nodded, seeing right through him. Desire to stay out of the way and support Xia Sining was real, but Liu Tiancheng was far from stupid. He kept a safety net while choosing the winning side. Unlike Liu Changming, he knew better than to fight Xia Sining. Xia Xin felt no obligation to feed a freeloader, even if he was her own blood. Ill. Compared to Liu Changming, Liu Tiancheng's quiet obedience was refreshing. Xia Sining would take care of him since he had real talent, just in case things ever went south. Fang Yuan watched in silence, having always stayed out of the family drama. Even when Liu Changming offered him a massive bribe to spy on Xia Sining, Fang Yuan refused. He had made a promise to Liu Jiacheng. Shortly after, Liu Jiacheng punished Liu Changming anyway. Xia Sining knew this, and it made her trust Fang Yuan even more. 3 years later, and Liu Changming Sing was still obsessed with the company. Fang Yuan shook his head. Rich family drama was none of his business. He was just a pianist who wanted to grow old with Wenwen. Sorry you had to see this mess, Fang Yuan, Liu Piaosu murmured. Fang Yuan patted her head. It's fine, Liu Piaosu. Let's go. Watching him leave, Xia Sining remembered the bribe he had refused. The money Liu Changming offered back then had been a small fortune. Playing double agent would have made him rich overnight. Yet, flat broke and hopeless, Fang Yuan refused to sell his soul to Liu Changming. If Liu Jiacheng hadn't investigated and tracked it all, Xia Sining never would have known the truth. After months of vetting, Liu Jiacheng trusted Fang Yuan completely, and so did Xia Sining. If her father vouched for him, he was decent. No matter her tantrums, Fang Shun cared for Xia Sining without a single complaint or crossing any lines. It made her feel safe. Maybe Xia Sining had started falling for Fang Yuan way back then. Fang Yuan was different. Even Liu Yan could not match his restraint, perhaps because Fang Yuan's heart was already entirely filled by Wenwen. Up ahead, Liu Tiancheng stopped and waited. Hearing their steps, he turned with a raised eyebrow. Did you move out of Xia Sining's place? Something happened? Xia Sining's heart skipped a beat, but she knew this secret was never going to last. Anyone could find out Fang Yuan moved. He was living with Wenwen and Wen Li, practicing piano under Elder Su's wing. Xia Sining could never hide this unless Fang Yuan let her control him, and that was never going to happen. Liu Tiancheng was asking in front of Xia Sing they already knew. Yeah, I moved out, Fang Yuan said. Liu Tiancheng looked between them. Nothing happened, right? Better let Xia Sining explain that, Fang Yuan said, stepping back. Bitterness washed over Xia Sining. Let us see our parents first, she muttered. Liu Tiancheng frowned. Do not bully Xia Sining. I might seem like a slacker, but I can still protect her. Liu Tiancheng spoke half-jokingly, but he meant it. Xia Sining was stronger, but if Fang Yuan ever hurt Xia Sining, he would pay. Fang Yuan had no intention of crossing Xia Sining. They already had their deal. Beneath the casual tone, Liu Tiancheng was dead serious. He backed down because Xia Sining was his sister, not just because she was powerful. A memory of his own late sister flashed by, darkening Fang Yuan's eyes. Inside the hall, Liu Jiacheng waited, hair slicked back. Liu Jiacheng stood straight, radiating an imposing power. His eyes were sharp, carrying the quiet authority of a man who ruled empires. A slight smile softened his imposing presence, balancing raw authority with a rare warmth. Right now, Liu Jiacheng was just sipping tea, completely devoid of any grand pretension. Even the estate was surprisingly modest, not a gaudy castle, just tasteful and understated. Liu Jiacheng could easily spend millions building a palace, but he shot down every flashy proposal. A tall tree catches the wind. Being too flashy invites trouble, and staying low was their real power. Liu Jiacheng had built an empire from nothing, yet he kept his feet on the ground. Most men would have lost their minds. Staying decent and keeping your hands clean is rare nowadays. Most people are drowning in vice, leaving a paper trail of dirty secrets. After his retirement, Liu Jiacheng focused on government partnerships and charity. Aside from everything else, Fang Yuan felt more than just gratitude for him. It was pure respect. Anyone who knows how Liu Jiacheng built his empire respects him. Even in retirement, his lingering shadow still shields the Xia family business and its children. Sining, you are here. Make yourselves comfortable. Liu Jiacheng greets them with the warmth of a loving father. He acts as if he knows nothing about Xia Sining and Fang Yuan's divorce, or Fang Yuan's plans with Wenwen. The old Xia Sining might have clung to foolish hope seeing him like this, but those illusions are dead. She cannot lie to herself or treat the father she respects most like a fool. Xia Sining forces herself to stay calm. She steps forward and hands over her gift. Dad, it has been a while. This is for you and Mom. Her father smiles. Just having you here is enough, Sining. You did not need to get me anything as long as your mother got hers. Dad, this is the least I can do. As your daughter, I have put you through so much worry, and I can never repay everything you have done. If you had not supported me and held my hand through it all, I do not know where I would be today. Xiaosin means every single word. Tears well up in her eyes as she looks at Lu Jiacheng. Since childhood, she had studied hard and pushed herself to become stronger, all to protect the Xia family. Yet, over the last 3 years, she had dragged the Xia family down, forcing Lu Jiacheng to carry a heavy burden. Through all of it, he never blamed her once. He never judged her poor choice in men. Instead, he kept telling her to stay strong, live well, and face life with courage. Even if her blindness was permanent, he promised the family would search the earth for a cure. Aside from Fang Yuan looking after her and friends comforting her, if not for Lu Jiacheng's endless encouragement, Xia Sining would have drowned in despair. She could never have recovered so quickly on her own. I know you have your reasons for everything, Sining. Your eyes, well, that is in the past now. I just want you to know it was never your fault. Illness and tragedy strike everyone. No one can prevent them. If you pull through and survive, you are already luckier than most. Sometimes, the choices that seem right turn out to be completely wrong. You spent 3 years in the dark. You should know that better than anyone. Darkness should have taught you perspective and patience, not just despair. After all, what could possibly terrify or break you more than what you already survived? Hearing her father's wise words, Xia Sining casts her gaze downward. Dad, after Mom's party is over, I want to sit down and talk to you. Sure. Ever since your eyes healed and you took over the Xia group, you have been so busy I barely see you. We are overdue for a real chat. The timing is perfect, Lu Jiacheng says with a warm laugh. But Xia Sining and Fang Yuan both know exactly what he is really doing. He is giving her an easy opening, waiting for her to confess her choices on her own. He trusts her enough to wait patiently for their explanation. Looking at her gentle father, guilt gnaws at Xia Sining's heart. She is drowning in bitter regret. She had forced her father to carry so much only to realize she made the absolute wrong choice. She failed to realize she loved Fang Yuan, choosing Lu Yan instead. Now her father has to bear the weight of her mistakes all over again. You are all here. Feng Li's voice rings out like sweet bells from the second floor. She glides down the stairs with effortless elegance. Her pale skin glows against a striking diamond necklace. She looks absolutely stunning. Her royal blue Qiangsam flows like deep water, shimmering with intricate embroidery and delicate sequins under the warm chandelier light. Tailored silk hugs her perfect curves, emphasizing her mature charm. She looks nothing like a woman in her 50s. Instead, she easily passes for 30, carrying herself with a rare, intoxicating elegance that makes her the ultimate dream for any man. Walking right behind her is Liu Changming. As the eldest son of the Xia family, Feng Li places all her high hopes on him. If he was not so utterly useless, she would have handed him the Xia group long ago instead of letting Xia Sining run it. Feng Li, a daughter will always marry off, and her children will carry another man's name. Even a live-in husband feels wrong. She has 2 sons, so a daughter shouldn't have to carry the family. But her youngest, Liu Tianqing, is a playboy. The eldest, Liu Changming, is her only hope. Fortunately, Liu Changming is ambitious, and Feng Li does everything she can to back him up. If he had even a shred of talent, Xia Sining would never have inherited the estate. This makes the bond between mother and daughter incredibly tense. Xia Sining knows she was never her mother's choice. No matter how hard she works, Feng Li wanted anyone but her to rule. Still, Feng Li is her mother. Since it is her birthday, Xia Sining knows she has to show respect and offer her best wishes. Following her pride, Xia Sining steps forward to help her mother down the stairs. Happy birthday, Mom, she says softly. Feng Li merely nods. Even with the tension, she cannot ruin her own party. Making a scene would only make her look bad. Besides, the inheritance is already settled. There is nothing Feng Li can do unless Liu Changming suddenly achieves something brilliant to change everyone's minds. Otherwise, he is hopeless. Liu Changming does not dare throw a tantrum in front of his parents, so he just glares at Xia Sining. Once Feng Li reaches the bottom, Liu Tiancheng and Lu Piaosu greet her. Fang Yuan steps up last. You came too, she asks. Her tone is not hateful, but her surprise is obvious. She clearly did not expect him to show his face here today. She already knows they are divorced. If anything, Xia Sining gaining her sight back and cutting him loose was exactly what she wanted. She is just afraid Fang Yuan will cling to the marriage because he cured Xia Sining. If he demands more and refuses to divorce, things will get incredibly ugly. Feng Li appreciates Fang Yuan, but trusts no one when massive interests are at stake. She is naturally on guard. That is why Feng Li did not ask about the divorce immediately, choosing to wait. But today she must ask about Lu Yan. Just then, Fang Yuan arrives. Make yourself at home. Feng Li says it, but her cold tone makes it clear he is a guest, not family. Lu Piaosu begs her mother not to speak to Fang Yuan like that. She knows his low status in the family, but she genuinely likes him. More importantly, Fang Yuan cured her blindness, yet Feng Li treats him like a total stranger. It is incredibly cold. Feng Li shakes her head helplessly. She dotes on her youngest daughter, who almost died years ago, and cannot bring herself to speak harshly. She has no idea how dark the adult world is. Giving Fang Yuan false hope now is just a cruel setup for an even messier end. They want Fang Yuan to know his place from the start. No matter what he thinks, they have made their position crystal clear. Keeping this distance prevents awkward misunderstandings. Fortunately, Fang Yuan knows his place. He knows he is just a temporary shield used to protect the family business from the ongoing scandal. Just a tool. That is all. Fang Yuan expects nothing, so he does not take it to heart. Fang Yuan says it is fine. Lu Piaosu just pouts, annoyed by his indifference. She hates her mother's attitude, but since Xia Sining is silent and Fang Yuan does not care, she reluctantly keeps her mouth shut. Feng Li is highly satisfied with his attitude. She is not foolish. She knows their deal is mutually beneficial, and she is truly grateful he cured Xia Sining. But letting him stay married to Xia Sining, that is absolutely out of the question. Party begins. Just a quiet family dinner. No grand gestures. Everyone sits down to eat, catch up, and hand over gifts to make Feng Li happy. Xia Sining arranged Fang Yuan's gift, so he has nothing to worry about. He is just there to play his part and eat in peace. Then, someone at the table breaks the silence, asking Fang Yuan if it is true that he moved out and is living with another woman. The instigator is Lu Changming. With both parents present, he simply cannot hold himself back from taking this rare perfect shot. He is dying to humiliate Xia Sining, showing their parents that the future heir of the Xia group cannot even control her own contract husband. Cheerful mood freezes. Instantly, Lu Piaosu frowns, immediately annoyed by her brother's meddling. Lu Piaosu snaps at her brother for ruining their mother's birthday, but Lu Changming retorts that she already knew about it and warns her that she cannot hide it forever. He claims he just wants to know what is going on. After all, if the public finds out that Xia Sining's legal husband is cohabitating with another woman, it will spark a massive scandal for the Xia group. This is not just a private matter anymore. Xia Sining is the chosen heir, and countless eyes are watching her every move. Turns to Xia Sining. Is Lu Yan back? He demands to know why she met Lu Yan again when their photos are already trending online, asking if he has not ruined their family enough. Everyone at the table knows his concerned act is a sham. He just wants to embarrass Xia Sining in front of their parents. Yet nobody stops him. They all want the answers, but none of them want to be the one to ask. With Lu Changming leading the charge, every eye in the room locks onto Fang Yuan and Xia Sining. Fang Yuan remains silent. Before coming, Fang Yuan made it clear that Xia Sining must handle any such situations. To him, speaking more only leads to more mistakes. Besides, these facts are impossible to hide, and anyone could easily look up his cohabitation with Wenwen. He has no intention of hiding it anyway. This arrangement was Xia Sining's choice, so she has to deal with the fallout. Xia Sining crosses her arms. Her icy glare cuts through the room. Xia Sining counters, asking if ruining their mother's birthday is truly for the family's sake, or if he is just serving his own selfish agenda. Lu Changming claims he is being merciful by waiting until today, but Xia Sining shoots back. She demands to know why he did not ask her privately in the first place, instead of waiting for a public family gathering. She accuses him of bringing this up during their mother's birthday celebration, just to make her look bad in front of their parents, all to grab another chance at running the Xia group. Snaps at her insolence, shocked by her absolute composure. How can she stay so calm and rational after being exposed? Her cool response makes it look like she does not care at all. It backfires, making Lu Changming look like the desperate clown. Utters that she is the one who messed up, almost ruining the company's reputation just like 3 years ago. Yet she is turning it on him. He demands to know if she even respects him as her brother. Xia Sining calmly points out that no news has leaked, and the company's image is fine. She had already promised their father they would talk, intending to do so after the party so as not to ruin the mood. She points out that his impatience to expose her during the peak of their mother's birthday dinner only proves he is driven by selfish jealousy, not care for the family. He is just jealous. Green with envy because she took over the reins of the Xia group. Furious and humiliated, Lu Changming demands to know where she gets the nerve to question him when she is the troublemaker. It is obvious to everyone that Lu Changming has lost control of the argument. He wanted to trap Xia Sining, but his plan has completely backfired. Xia Sining remains completely unfazed. She is the one interrogating him now. The tables have turned. Xia Sining tells him that if he wants to inherit the Xia group, he should prove his ability through fair means. He had 3 full years while she was blind to show his worth, yet he still managed to ruin everything. If I were you, I would have tucked my tail and behaved long ago. Why are you still here acting like a clown, leaping around, picking fights, and ruining everyone's good mood at mom's birthday banquet? Even if I mess this up, do you honestly think mom and dad would ever choose you? Keep dreaming. Lu Tiancheng finally smiles and speaks up. I agree with Xia Sining on this one, big brother. Bringing this up now makes your motives way too obvious. Lu Tiancheng, what do you even get out of being Xia Sining's lapdog? Do you really think she'll support your lazy lifestyle forever? Xia family never harbors useless people, especially a spoiled brat who only bullies his own family and wastes every opportunity. Lu Jiacheng interrupts Lu Changming, his face turning incredibly dark. Seeing Lu Jiacheng fly into a rage, Lu Changming freezes, not even daring to breathe. As the older brother, was Xia Sining really wrong to call you out? You know exactly how much your mother supported you. You are the eldest son and everyone had high expectations, yet you still let Xia Sining completely surpass you. Even though Xia Sining was blind for 3 years, you still achieved absolutely nothing to prove yourself. Instead, you hurt the Xia group. Do you honestly think I am just playing favorites? If you were not so incompetent and deeply disappointing, you would not be in this mess. Think about the resource gap you had over Xia Sining since birth, and how hard she had to work to catch up. Humiliated in front of everyone by Lu Jiacheng, Lu Changming looks completely embarrassed, his face flushing red with shame. He never expected this. Lu Changming had endured everything just to put Xia Sining in her place, but he was the one who ended up getting humiliated. Feng Li still pities her eldest son, so she steps in to play peacemaker, telling Lu Jiacheng to stop. But a doting mother only spoils the child. Lu Jiacheng drops it. Since it is her birthday, he does not want to ruin the mood. But Feng Li is already miserable after getting dragged into the scolding because of Lu Changming. Still, she swallows her anger to protect her eldest son and keep her own birthday party from falling apart. After that scene, the birthday dinner is completely ruined. Once they finish the cake, Lu Jiacheng speaks directly. Xia Sining, Fang Yuan, come to my study. He has something to say to them. What must come will come. Xia Sining and Fang Yuan calmly follow Lu Jiacheng upstairs, ignoring Lu Changming's hateful, smug glare. Inside the study, Lu Jiacheng sits down and finally looks at them. You two caused quite a storm lately, and I did not ask because I trust my daughter. Xia Group belongs to Xia Sining in the future. If she cannot handle a minor personal matter like this, she cannot lead a massive corporation. So I waited for you to come clean. Is it time? Xia Sining takes a step forward. Let me explain. Without holding back, she tells Lu Jiacheng everything. The divorce, how Fang Yuan found his old love Wenwen, and his plans to return to playing the piano. Speaking the truth brings Xia Sining a deep sense of relief. She originally thought winning approval for her relationship with Lu Yan would require months of careful, agonizing planning. But now that she realizes she loves Fang Yuan and no longer holds those old feelings for Lu Yan, her entire plan starts to crumble. Was your plan all along? Lu Jiacheng is not surprised. He saw this coming the moment Fang Yuan moved out and Lu Yan re-entered the picture. If those two wanted to get back together, they would need family approval first. Without it, their relationship is completely meaningless. Fang Yuan bows his head. I am sorry, Uncle Liu Jiacheng, I should not have hidden this. He always respected the older man, planning to beg for his forgiveness once the truth finally emerged. Dad, I forced Fang Yuan to keep quiet and play along just so Liu Yan and I could get the family's blessing. Please do not blame Fang Yuan. He had no choice in this, it was entirely my doing. Xia Sining is ready to take all the blame to protect Fang Yuan's reputation. Liu Jiacheng stays silent. Even with his suspicions, this massive revelation takes a moment to process. Finally, Liu Jiacheng fixes his sharp gaze on Xia Sining. Are you absolutely sure about this? Gaze is incredibly sharp. Xia Sining has made up her mind, but not in the way they think. She just cannot say it yet with Fang Yuan standing right here. Her own selfishness has already caused Fang Yuan far too much trouble. Knowing his daughter, Liu Jiacheng senses her hesitation right away. He clears his throat. Fang Yuan, I need to speak with Xia Sining alone. Could you wait outside? Of course. Fang Yuan cooperates and steps out, only to find Lu Piaosu and Lu Tiancheng waiting right outside. Lu Tiancheng sighs. I told you not to eavesdrop, little sister, they will handle Dad. But she was worried, and honestly, so was I. That is why we are here. Rolling her eyes, Lu Piaosu sighs. Nice job shifting the blame, second brother. Whatever, I am not dealing with you right now. Turns to him. Did Dad make things hard for you and Xia Sining? Fang Yuan smiles gently. Uncle Liu Jiacheng already knew everything. He just trusted Xia Sining, so do not worry. Blains it gently. But Lu Piaosu still looks anxious. Really? I hope you are right. Fang Yuan's reassurance helps ease her mind. Back in the study, Xia Sining finally confesses her true feelings. Dad, I regret everything. I do not want to get back with Liu Yan. I will break it off. I can compensate him some other way, but we are over. Actually shocks Liu Jiacheng. He asks why the sudden change, but Xia Sining shakes her head. Nothing happened, Dad. I was just trapped in the past, pretending I still loved Liu Yan. Even though he betrayed me, he was my first love. We had so many sweet memories. I trapped myself, treating Liu Yan like some unattainable saint, and I hated him as deeply as I loved him. But when Liu Yan came back and I saw him again, everything shifted. I realized my memory had romanticized him, making him seem entirely flawless. I was just lying to myself to feel better, to pretend I was not stupid for trusting him. His betrayal nearly dragged the Xia group down with him. As she pours her heart out, Liu Jiacheng stares at his daughter. He sighs deeply. Are you doing this for Lu Piaosu? So you only gave Liu Yan one more chance, right, Dad? Xia Sining froze. She never expected Liu Jiacheng to know, leaving her completely speechless. Why else do you think I stayed silent for so long? Sining, you look cold and ruthless on the outside, but you have a soft heart. You always care too much. Especially since Liu Yan found that heart transplant for Liu Piaosu. Without him, her chances were slim. Do you really think I did not investigate all of this? That is exactly why I did not stop him the day he returned. If you still loved him, and with him saving Liu Piaosu, nothing I said would have made a difference. Xia Sining forced a bitter smile. Fang Yuan was absolutely right. Dad, I was so naive. I really thought I could hide it and slowly convince you to accept Liu Yan again. You knew from the very day he returned. I completely failed your trust. He chuckled, asking how a little girl like her ever expected to hide something like that from him. Otherwise, my title as a self-made chairman would be a joke. But I am just glad you finally woke up and turned Liu Yan away. My biggest fear was that you still missed him and would make a terrible mistake. Ever since the Jiang group kicked us while we were down, you and Liu Yan were finished. Judge this too back before you lost your sight. One mistake is enough, Sining. Do not make a second. Marriage is not simple, it is a lifetime commitment. If you carry this betrayal and stay with Liu Yan, you will only end up miserable. Sining, you are the chosen heir to the Xia group. Only you can surpass me. Your two brothers are useless, and your younger sister is not cut out for this. You carry a heavy burden. Do not let these emotional distractions drag you down again. I understand, Dad. Xia Sining felt a sudden burn in her eyes. Liu Jiacheng had said these exact words 3 years ago, on the very day she was named the heir to the Xia group. He said them again when she regained her sight and took charge. Hearing him say it again today made her feel like an absolute failure. She had worked so hard to grow stronger, just to make her father and her family proud of her. In the end, she had vastly overestimated herself. She was still nowhere near ready. Walking forward, Liu Jiacheng patted her shoulder. Sining, you are still young. Once you get past this hurdle, there is a long road ahead of you. Treat this as a lesson. Failure is never pointless. It is all about how you look at it. Now, let me ask you one last question. Are you cutting ties with Liu Yan simply because you do not love him anymore? Yes, she managed to say. Her throat tightened, and she could not bring herself to say anything else. That single word was all she could manage. In her heart, she whispered an apology. I am sorry, Dad, this is the last time I lie to you. She could not let her selfish desires drag Fang Yuan into any more trouble. He was with Wenwen now. He made his choice, and he wanted to move forward. He should not be held back by the Xia and families anymore. That is good, her father muttered. As for Feng Li, he only stayed quiet because Liu Jiacheng reminded him of young Liu Piaosu's medical debt. No leaks. They must prevent any unnecessary distress for Liu Piaosu. Only 3 people in the entire family knew the truth. Liu Jiacheng, Feng Li, and Xia Sing. Though the family often disagreed, they all deeply spoiled young Liu Piaosu. She was no threat to anyone. Unless someone was completely monstrous, who would not favor the youngest, fragile child? Fang Yuan and Xia Sining left together. Sitting in the Maybach, he watched her silent profile, wanting to ask what happened, but not knowing where to start. I made everything clear to my dad, she said quietly. Fang Yuan, I am sorry for taking up so much of your time. You are finally free to live your life. As for our divorce, let us keep it private and let things settle naturally. Otherwise, gossip reporters will swarm you and Wenwen, completely disrupting your quiet daily lives. I will have my team block any leaks so the press leaves you alone. He thanked her, but she shook her head, saying she was the one who owed him thanks. Thank you for taking such good care of me for 3 years, and for curing my eyes. If someone else had come into my life instead of you, I would still be a blind, helpless wreck, trapped forever in total darkness. I would never have been able to celebrate my mother's birthday with everyone so happy, nor would I have regained my position running the Xia group to help my father and family. Truly, everything I have now is because of your incredible efforts. She was not exaggerating at all. If she had stayed blind, her life would have been completely ruined. Even with her family supporting her, she would have just been a wealthy, helpless invalid. For a blind person, life is pitch black. Once you have tasted the light, going back to the dark is a living nightmare. You drown in a hell of self-doubt, eventually ending up depressed and dying young. But because of Fang Yuan, she had been given a real second chance to stand tall. Without him, she knew in her heart that nobody else could do it. Only a fool like Fang Yuan would risk testing experimental medicine on his own body for a debt, unlike some mindless romantic. Honestly, she was the mindless one. Her deep gratitude caught him completely off guard, but on second thought, this was how they were supposed to be. It was a contract marriage, but he cured her eyes and they became true friends. Neither of them owed the other anything. Fang Yuan, I will have that Beethoven piano and the 10 million delivered to your place tomorrow, she said. As for our previous contract, consider it void. I am the one unilaterally breaking it anyway. Your mission is complete. What? But I did not do everything I promised. You already did, and I am the one in your debt. Repaying you for my sight is impossible. I finally see things clearly now. I need to cherish the present and love myself. I want to embrace this second chance at life instead of acting like a mindless romantic over a foolish first love. I will work hard for my family and my father's trust. If you consider me a friend, please accept it. This is nothing to me, and it helps balance our debt. Fang Yuan knew her temper. Once she decided something, no one could change her mind. Just as she said, ordinary people could never earn this much in several lifetimes. But to a wealthy heiress like Xia Sining, it was like pocket change. It is like that famous saying online, do not waste a lifetime competing with my allowance. The wealth gap between them was as wide as a galaxy's. Fang Yuan accepted it. Why argue and make her upset? Rather than arguing, he might as well just accept it and help play matchmaker for Xia Sining and Lu Yan as agreed. Once he makes up his mind, Fang Yuan feels relieved, then thank you, he says. Here we go again with the thanking. She says she wants to stop running in circles. Fang Yuan chuckles, back to her confident self. Yet Fang Yuan senses a hidden secret. Deciding not to pry, he figures their current dynamic is good enough. A woman's mind is a total enigma anyway. He asks about Lu Yan, she cuts him off, they are over. A heavy weight finally lifts. She had spent weeks wondering when to confess she no longer loves Lu Yan. Spilling everything brings instant relief. Fang Yuan is ready to encourage her to stay strong with Lu Yan, promising his full support. After all her expensive gifts, he feels bad just taking them. But wait, did she just say she is leaving him? Seeing his confusion, she repeats, I am definitely breaking up with him. Why, he asks. She explains that Wenwen remained perfect to him, but Lu Yan is different. Remember the airport? He mocked you and trash-talked you. He is not the man he used to be. She simply cannot forget how he abandoned her back then. Seeing him try to make amends does not help. She cannot accept him. He is just a total stranger now. Maybe first love only stays perfect when they remain out of reach. Once attained, the magic fades. Fang Yuan shakes his head. His bond with Wenwen is different. Wants to live happily with Wenwen forever. Hearing this, Xia Sining feels a pang of envy. Loving Lu Yan would have been so much easier. Fang Yuan sighs. As a friend, he delivers the hard truth. You just do not love him anymore. At the end of the day, she has simply outgrown him. Lu Yan was her first love, so she mistook sweet nostalgia for actual devotion during her darkest years. Memories created an illusion of love, made worse by her debt to Lu Piaosu. She agrees. Overestimating herself out of arrogance brought her to this point. Only she had realized sooner. She smiles bitterly, but there is no point now. Even if she had chosen him, Fang Yuan would never love her. His bond with Wenwen is unbreakable. No marriage could ever change his mind. And if he did change, he wouldn't be the loyal man she admired. Decision is made. She will compensate Lu Yan, and Fang Yuan is finally off the hook. She wishes him well. Her gaze dims. Can she really find happiness while watching him build a life with another woman? But what is lost is gone. Time moves forward, and they can never return to the day they first met. Clinging to a hopeless dream is no longer an option. She has caused him too much pain already. Forcing a smile, she says she is just grateful to have him as a friend. Back home, Fang Yuan finds Wenwen and Gong Li playing a co-op game. He silently watches until they toss the controllers. Wenwen laughs, teasing her sister that she carried them to victory. Gong Li agrees, admitting she was super tense. Fang Yuan coughs loudly to get their attention. He complains about being invisible. Gong Li rolls her eyes, saying they were busy. Knowing they need to talk, Gong Li tactfully heads to the shower. Left alone, Wenwen asks how things went. He warns her to brace herself before explaining everything. Wenwen sits in shock. So she asks she is actually giving up on her first love? Her taking back a betrayer is pure foolishness. An elite heiress like Xia Sining deserved better, or was simply better off single. Cheating man is forever useless. Maybe it was because Xia Sining looked so much like her, or that strange sense of connection they shared, but Wenwen was genuinely angry. She felt someone as amazing as Xia Sining should never suffer for a guy like that. Fang Yuan was half amused. Why are you getting so worked up? Wenwen pouted. She just thought President Xia made the right call. That was the powerful career woman she had heard of, not some lovesick fool. Wenwen said she was just happy President Xia figured it out. Fang Yuan teased, sounding a bit jealous. Well, you are certainly a very generous wife. Wenwen did not mind his past marriage to Xia Sining and trusted him completely. While that made him happy, Fang Yuan still felt a little empty. What was wrong with him? Did he actually want her to be jealous? He wanted her to be at least a little jealous of Xia Sining. Typical man. She had probably just given him way too much freedom. When women care, men complain about a lack of trust. When they do not care, men feel neglected. Even Fang Yuan had to admit he was being ridiculous. Nuan laughed. What is going on in that head of yours? Did you really think I would be jealous of you and President Xia? I know you only had a contract marriage for the Fang family. Besides, you love me, and President Xia loves Mr. Zhang. I have no reason to be jealous. Fang Yuan pinched his fingers together. Not even a tiny bit? Nuan laughed. Okay, just a tiny bit then. Is that fine? Fang Yuan shook his head. You dummy. A tiny bit is not enough. Be at least a little jealous. Otherwise, I will feel like I do not matter to you. Wenwen rolled her eyes and playfully flipped him off. But from what you said, President Xia feels much better after coming clean to her family. Does that mean you do not have to help her win back Mr. Zhang? Yes, she finally knows what she wants and plans to end things with Lu Yan. But considering Sister Piaoxu saved her life and their past history, Xia Sining will probably handle this well. There is no need for me to step in. Honestly, there was not much I could do anyway. Maybe she was just so lost in her own feelings before that she lost herself. Today, she seemed completely different, more like her old self. Seriously, as a friend, I am just glad she figured things out. Oh, Wenwen gave him a knowing look, dragging out the word playfully. I said as a friend, you do not tease me when you should, but you do it when you should not, right? Fang Yuan poked Wenwen's forehead. She grabbed his hand and bit it gently, leaving a faint mark. Fang Yuan laughed. You dare bite me? You are going to get it now. She stuck her tongue out. After playing around for a bit, they collapsed onto the sofa. Wenwen whispered, if Gong Li hears us, won't she think we are showing off too much? Fang Yuan did not care. At a happy moment like this, he was fine being selfish. Shoving affection in his future sister-in-law's face was better than holding back his own joy. All right, Fang Yuan, let's get serious. How did it go today when you met Chairman Liu? Remembering her request from this morning, Fang Yuan pressed his lips together. He said, my guess was right. Even though Xia Sining and the others inherited some traits, they look much more like Chairman Liu. Talk about strong genetics. Even as daughters, Xia Sining and Liu Piaosu inherited their sharp, heroic features and overall looks mostly from Liu Jiacheng. Liu Jiacheng had a strikingly androgynous look, almost like a male version of Bridget Lin. Although time and business battles turned Liu Jiacheng into an imposing, secretive tycoon, his natural features were exceptional. It made sense that he could father a beautiful daughter like Xia Sining. Wenwen asked more about Liu Jiacheng, and Fang Yuan shared everything he knew. He understood her worries, her rare blood type, and the uncanny resemblance she shared with Xia Sining. Now, Wenwen knew that Xia Sining's looks came mostly from Liu Jiacheng. Looking up photos of Liu Jiacheng online, Wenwen saw the striking resemblance. She did not dare think about what it meant. Could there really be such a terrifying coincidence in this world? Was she actually not the biological daughter of Wenwen and Nuan, but a child of the Xia family instead? Truth was that cold and cruel. She did not want to face it. It was better to remain ignorant. Her current life was comfortable. She had Fang Yuan, Gong Li, her loving grandparents, her parents, and a wonderful stepmother. Feeling her fear, Fang Yuan gently took her hand and spoke softly. If you think digging deeper will bring trouble, then just stop. She looked at him. Do you really think I should give up? He nodded. Honestly, yes. I can see how much you love your life right now. Even if you knew the truth, what would change? Why disrupt your peace? Wenwen agreed she would let it go. I have made up my mind, Fang Yuan. I do not care about the truth. I am the daughter of Wenwen and Nuan. By the way, would you like to visit my family soon? My father is almost back from his business trip abroad. Fang Yuan's eyes lit up. Oh, my father-in-law is coming back. Nothing is official yet, so do not get ahead of yourself. Before she could finish, Fang Yuan leaned in and covered her mouth with his. He kissed her to silence her silly words. All objections were completely rejected. Unlike the sweet couple, Xia Sining went straight home. After dropping Fang Yuan off, she had her driver take her back to the villa. Uncle Li, the butler, hurried over. President Xia, you are back? I am sorry for being so emotional lately and causing trouble for everyone, she apologized. This shocked Uncle Li. President Xia, please do not say that. I know everyone has been incredibly supportive. Even though we are employer and employee, we have spent so many years together that we are like family. Uncle Li, you were right when you tried to warn me. I just did not listen, and now I have to face the consequences of my own actions. Hearing her heartfelt words, Uncle Li froze for a moment before sighing. He told her, President Xia, I might just be your butler, but I have lived a long life. Everything is settled. You should focus on the future. Let the past go. My past with Fang Yuan is over, but my past with Liu Yan is not. I must cut ties to find myself again. She had to become the Xia Sining who vowed to protect her family for her father. Uncle Li asked carefully, have you truly made up your mind? He had to ask. Uncle Li despised Liu Yan, thinking that betrayal-prone scumbag was completely unworthy of her. Yet she had sacrificed Fang Yuan and so much else for him. Hearing her suddenly choose to let go made Uncle Li both happy and confused. My mind is made up. Everyone saw that the truth except me. I was trapped in my own past. If the love is gone, there is no shame in admitting it. Uncle Li, please arrange to have the piano delivered to Fang Yuan tomorrow. It is a promise I made to him. But my selfish desires end up wasting everyone's time and causing so much unnecessary drama. Just like you said, it is time to put a complete end to this. President Xia, Uncle Li. It is heartbreaking that Fang Yuan and Xia Sining did not work out. Even if his background did not match hers, his constant care and emotional support made him a wonderful partner. But marriage is different. You cannot build a life on love alone. You need compatibility, trust, and a real sense of responsibility. Liu Yan matches her on paper, but he has zero accountability. He abandoned Xia Sining once already, then crawled back the second she regained her sight. Men like that do not change. They just keep repeating their worst mistakes. But since Xia Sining finally sees through him and lets him go, it is for the best. Even if her future does not include Fang Yuan, anything is better than marrying Liu Yan. Right then, her phone lights up with a familiar number. It is Liu Yan. Xia Sining looks down at the screen. She was actually wondering why he was acting so quiet lately. Speak of the devil. It does not matter though, because she wants a clean break anyway. She picks up the call. Liu Yan sounds completely exhausted as he asks, Sining, how did today go? Did you clear things up with your family? Her ears catch the slurring immediately. Frowning in disgust, she asks him directly, have you been drinking? Sure, drinking is part of doing business, but she absolutely despises people who do not know their limits and get completely wasted. And that is exactly what Liu Yan is doing. He tries to hide it, but the slurring is too obvious. He has clearly had way too much to drink, completely forgetting that this is the one thing she can never tolerate. In this moment, she realizes something painful. This man is not the devoted partner from 3 years ago. Between his betrayal and her feelings for Fang Yuan, going back to the way things were is completely out of the question. At least she realizes the truth before making a mistake. Regretting all this after marrying him would be a living nightmare. Liu Yan apologizes, saying he is just too anxious. He keeps worrying about her facing her family, relying on Fang Yuan to put on a show while he can only wait around. Supposed to be their battle. Yet he can do nothing while an outsider like Fang Yuan handles everything. He claims the guilt drove him to have a few drinks, insisting he is not actually drunk. Snaps, enough, Liu Yan. Are you seriously still trying to lie to me? Fang Yuan is supposedly an outsider, yet when her life falls apart, he is the only one who stays. He cleaned up the disaster Liu Yan left behind when he selfishly broke their engagement. He even cured her eyes, helped her reclaim the company, and stood by her against her own family. She asks him, do you not feel even a shred of guilt? She asks if he actually loves her at all, since he only shows bitter jealousy instead of gratitude toward Fang Yuan. Her harsh words instantly sober him up. For days he has been obsessing over Xia Sining attending Feng Li's birthday party. He wants to intervene but has no way to do it, which leaves him completely sleepless. Out of frustration, he ends up at a private club, drinking with a crowd of women. Looking to blow off some steam, he passes out and only wakes up 2 hours ago. He tries everything to sober up, knowing how much she hates drunkards. Yet she sees right through him anyway, tearing into him over a nobody like Fang Yuan. Scrambling to apologize, he insists he does not mean that, but she cuts him off, telling him she is done playing games. Mind is racing. Why is Sining suddenly acting so hostile? He wonders if Fang Yuan has done something, or if her family has provoked her, causing her to dump all that anger directly onto him. Apologizing frantically, he swears he will never make those same stupid mistakes again. You promised to try again. Your family must have pressured you. I will face them with you. In fact, let them take it out on me instead. I will kneel before your family if it makes them feel better. The blame is entirely on him for hurting her and the company, and he will accept any punishment. In the past, his pathetic act would work. She would soften up, remembering their old memories. But this time, she feels absolutely nothing. Groveling just feels pathetic. It is incredibly disappointing. She just does not love him anymore. But once that love dies, their drama just looks pathetic. She lets out a quiet, self-mocking laugh. She is not as noble as she likes to think. In the end, she is just as selfish as anyone else. Seeing the truth leaves her cold. When she loved Lu Yan, she was cruel to Fang Yuan. Now that she loved Fang Yuan, she can discard Lu Yan without a second thought. But mistakes have to be corrected eventually. She tells him they need to meet tomorrow to talk about their relationship once and for all. Lu Yan grows frantic, asking why they cannot just talk over the phone. He insists his hostility toward Fang Yuan only comes from a place of love. He asks if any normal man would tolerate another guy staying married to her for 3 years without wondering what his real intentions were. A wave of dread hits Lu Yan. To him, everything between them matters. She reminds him that he has been begging to see her. He stammers, admitting he is just terrified she's about to make a decision that will ruin him. Let us talk when we meet. I will send you the location tomorrow, and whether you show up is entirely up to you. Xia Sining does not want to waste another breath on Lu Yan. She hangs up immediately and texts him the location. From that moment on, she blocks every single call and message he tries to send her. Walking upstairs, she enters the piano room she had custom built for Fang Yuan. The piano of his dreams stands silently under the soft lights. Xia Sining stares at it, her eyes filling with a sudden blurry haze of memories. It is almost like she can see Fang Yuan sitting there, playing a melody just for her. That beautiful moonlit scene is etched so deeply into her soul that she will never forget it. She closes her eyes. His music seems to echo in the quiet room, a lingering melody that refuses to fade away. Opening her eyes, she mimics his posture. She places her long, slender fingers on the black and white keys, beginning to play a gorgeous, sweeping melody. Plays the exact song Fang Yuan performed for her that fateful night. Over and over she plays it. Once this piano is delivered to him tomorrow, she will never hear its voice in this house again. Even if she buys a replacement, even the exact same model from the same batch, it will never compare to this one, because this very instrument is the one Fang Yuan played for her right here on that one special night. It holds their very first and absolute last musical memory together. From this moment on, his music will never be for her alone. He will play for Wenwen and for the rest of the world. And that was the day before Wenwen returned. The last day his mind was completely clear. Back then, when he played for Xia Sining with such deep passion, was he secretly thinking of Wenwen, or had 3 years of marriage actually carved out a tiny space in his heart just for his wife? From now on, she will never find that spark again. Etched into her very soul, ticking away like a clock. Crystal clear tears overflow, spilling down her face and shattering on her fingertips like fragile glass. A wave of sorrowful music swells, echoing through the empty room. Once she finally lets all her emotions out, her ringing phone cuts through the quiet. Xia Sining looks at the caller ID, presses her lips together, and slides to answer. She asks how the investigation is going. The voice on the other end replies, "President Xia, we have gathered everything you asked for, but you should brace yourself." She cuts him off coldly. "I am already prepared, just tell me." But as she listens to the report, her eyes grow freezing cold, completely devoid of emotion. She quietly mutters, "I understand." Meanwhile, Lu Yan stares at his unread messages. Xia Sining has completely ignored them, and a sudden wave of panic washes over him. What is that bitch playing at? Did something actually happen with her family to scare her off and stop the reunion? Or did Fang Yuan pull something behind his back? Despite his rising anxiety, Lu Yan decides against calling Fang Yuan to avoid any unnecessary complications. Since Fang Yuan is already divorced and has a new girlfriend, his threat level is practically zero. It cannot be Fang Yuan. If it were, Xia Sining would never have agreed to get back together in the first place. Her family must have found out, leaving her completely overwhelmed. He just needs to play his cards right and sweet-talk her tomorrow. Between Lu Piasu saving her life and their history together, she will not just throw him away. Phone starts buzzing. Lu Yan lights up, hoping against hope that Xia Sining is finally calling him back. Instead, his mother's name flashes on the screen. Feeling a bit let down, he answers the call. She immediately asks, "Lu Yan, did you fix things with Sining?" Her voice is incredibly frantic on the other end. Lu Yan sighs. "Mom, I literally just told you yesterday. Sining is trying to get her family's approval for us to get back together. We betrayed the Xia family and humiliated their entire company. They are not going to just forgive us overnight." Mother says, "I know, son, I know. I told your father the exact same thing." But she continues, "The company is facing a massive financial crisis, and your father is losing control. If our family collapses before you even get back with Sining, our secrets will get out. There is no way they will let you back in then." Mother is right, and that is exactly what Lu Yan is terrified of. If the Lu Group's massive financial crisis is exposed, the Xia family will slam the door on him forever. Even Xia Sining herself would realize the truth. She would know he did not actually love her, but was only begging for a reunion because his family business was sinking and only her money could save him. Once she starts doubting his motives, the entire plan is ruined. Lu Yan groans, "But what can I do? I do not hold any cards. All I have is Sining." Remembering her strange sarcastic tone earlier, his stomach drops. What if she is already digging into our secrets? Parents had promised to cover their tracks and leave absolutely no loose ends before things went south. But their opponent is the powerful Xia family, who already distrust Lu Yan completely. If they uncover the truth, he would not even be surprised. Right now, he is entirely at the mercy of fate. Mother pleads, Lu Yan, our entire family's survival rests on your shoulders. I hate putting this on you. I have never asked you for anything in your life, but you must lock Sining down and make no mistakes. If you fail, we are completely ruined. Prin. I know, Mom. Crushing weight of her words settles over him, but he has no choice. This is the exact reason he returned to China. The next morning, after hours of agonizing, he heads out to meet her. The meeting spot is a luxury estate in the Kyoto suburbs. It is a private Xia family property featuring a beautifully kept garden that he and Xia Sining used to visit. Full of colorful, blooming flowers, it was always her favorite spot. She had even promised back then that they would take their wedding photos right here. It is a place dripping with nostalgia. Under normal circumstances, Lu Yan would be brimming with confidence, sure that these memories would pull her right back to him. But this time, he is completely on edge. By picking their private estate, Xia Sining is sending a message. Her family already knows he is back, and she is not even trying to hide their meeting. Earlier, Lu Yan had tipped off reporters to leak photos of them together, sparking a massive online rumor before the Xia group quickly buried it. But with their vast influence, the family definitely noticed. That was his plan all along, to force their hand, letting him wait until Sining wears them down so long as she still loves him. But his family is running out of time. If he waits any longer, they are finished. Date manager steps out to greet him. When she sees Lu Yan, a brief flicker of pure disgust passes over her face. She coolly tells him, Mr. Lu, President Xia is waiting. Go on in. Lu Yan recognizes her immediately. 3 years ago, when Xia Sining brought him here, this exact manager had bowed and scraped before him with total respect. She is like a completely different person now, filling Lu Yan with dread. He nods and follows the manager inside. Before long, he sees Xia Sining, wearing white tea robes with her hair in a ponytail. Her pale skin glows with effortless grace. She looks incredibly delicate. As Xia Sining tilts her head, her long lashes flutter like butterfly wings, her dark eyes flashing with a cold, deep intensity. Lu Yan feels his heart skip a beat, even though his reasons for getting close to her again have rotted, and everything has changed. But one thing remains true. He loved Xia Sining deeply back then, treating her as his ultimate goddess. Even though he has other women now, she still has this intense hold over him. She has everything a man could want. Beauty, brains, a perfect figure, and unmatched grace. Truly flawless. Her only flaw is that she never gave herself to him. For a healthy man, staying close to the woman he loves without touching her is pure torture. It is a slow, burning agony. Back then, he could hold back. But after they broke up, he ran wild. He can no longer handle the restraint. You are here, Xia Sining says, interrupting his thoughts. Lu Yan snaps back to reality, meeting her cold, unblinking gaze. Panicking, he forces a weak smile. Sining, what is going on? Why did we have to meet out here? Place not good? We do not have to worry about paparazzi here, and this is my property, she says. It is the perfect spot to clear things up. Lu Yan sighs. Sining, are you still blaming me for that tea house incident? I really did not mean for that to happen. You seem upset today. Did something go wrong at Aunt Fing Li's birthday party yesterday? What else could possibly go wrong besides us, she asks. Lu Yan, I am so disappointed in you. Even now, you are still lying to my face. Xia Sining suddenly slams her teacup onto the floor, splashing scalding water right onto Lu Yan's hand. The look she gives him now is colder than anything he has ever seen. Lu Yan gasps from the sharp pain, barely noticing the blisters forming on his skin. Shrinking under her fury, Lu Yan's heart drops. He quickly stammers, Sining, I really do not know what I did wrong. Are you listening to rumors? Still lying to me, she sneers. It makes me sick hearing my name from your mouth. See for yourself. Her face is filled with pure disgust as she flings a folder of investigation papers right at his feet. Lu Yan turns pale as ash. His worst nightmare has come true. Xia Sining has uncovered the massive financial crisis currently choking the Gong group. No matter how hard his parents tried to hide it, the Xia family are no fools. A financial disaster of this scale is impossible to conceal from players like them. Sining, I only hid this because I did not want you to worry, he pleads. I wanted to get back together because I truly regret my past mistakes. It has nothing to do with my family's money issues. This is our mess, and we will clean it up. I promise you it will not affect your family or cause you any trouble at all. Xia Sining stares at him with icy eyes. Then let us sign a legally binding agreement. If we stay together, neither you nor your family can touch a single cent of our money or connections. If we catch you, you will pay 10 times that amount in damages. You know what my family is capable of, Lu Yan. I dug up the secret reports your parents tried so hard to bury. Any tricks you plan on pulling in the future? Forget it. I will have eyes on you constantly. Lu Yan clenches his fist. Sining, must you be so heartless? Xia Sining sneers, dropping the act already? Your motives were dirty from day one, Lu Yan. All that talk about rekindling our past love was a lie. You just want our money to bail out your family. Xia Sining expected to feel devastated by his betrayal, but her heart is completely numb. In fact, she feels a strange sense of relief. Once she realized she no longer loved him and had fallen for someone else, Lu Yan ceased to matter. His entire existence has been completely erased from her heart. Sining, I admit I had my own agenda, but my love is real. We went through so much together. Have you completely forgotten our past? If you forgot, why did you agree to get back together? Lu Yan, are you a child? The love you speak of died the second you betrayed me 3 years ago. Did you honestly think I took you back out of pity, without considering what your family could offer mine? Her words strike him like a physical blow. He stands there frozen, barely able to breathe. He can only stare blankly at Xia Sining, the very woman he once believed was completely devoted to him and utterly under his control. You owed my family a massive debt back then. By taking you back, the Gong group would be forced to bow to us, giving us whatever we demanded. It was the easiest way to recoup our losses and grow our business. You owed us that much anyway. 3 years ago, our families were equals. But now that your family is on the brink of bankruptcy, you are completely useless to me. And yet you call me heartless for not bailing you out. Do you really think I am just some lovesick idiot, Lu Yan? Every single word cuts him to the bone. Yan opens his mouth to speak, but nothing comes out. He has been far too arrogant, assuming that because she agreed to get back together after everything, she must still be hopelessly in love with him. He thought she would always take him back, but she had planned this all along. She only took him back to exploit his family and squeeze every last drop of leverage out of them. He has lost all his leverage. His entire plan is a pathetic joke. Sining, I do not believe you, he stammers. You cannot tell me there is absolutely nothing left between us. You would never agree to get back together just for the Zhang group. You are not that cold. I am not, she says. But what kind of person are you, Yan? The coward who stabbed me in the back when I was desperate, or the absolute scumbag who ran around having fun? Lately, you have been sneaking off to the Heaven on Earth Club quite often. How many women have you sweet-talked with that mouth, and how many did you sleep with? Xia Sining easily tears apart his pathetic lies. Posed and stripped of his dignity, he feels like a criminal caught red-handed. His face drains of color, his excuses suddenly completely useless. Sining, since you know so much, you must know that the club is my business, he mutters. I only built it to make money. Yan defends himself. If I don't show up personally as the boss to welcome those VIPs, they won't even bother coming. Xia Sining sneers. Then who forced you to climb into bed with other women? Tell me, Yan, how does it feel to sleep with someone you don't even love? Or are you just that cheap, taking any woman who crosses your path? Yan stands frozen, speechless. He has no defense, his conscience is filthy. She is entirely right. Yan only wanted her back for his own selfish gains. For 3 years, he slept around with too many women to count. The damage is done. Even after returning to China to beg for her forgiveness, he still snuck off to private clubs to get his fix. Sure, he loves Xia Sining, but she kept refusing to sleep with him, so he felt he had no choice. Of course, he lacks the balls to say that aloud. It would only trigger her wrath. Time to end this drama. Xia Sining is done looking at Yan. He looks like a pathetic, beaten dog. Knowing the truth now, her love has completely vanished. All that is left is absolute, skin-crawling disgust. She loathes his lies and betrayal. He is filthy, sleeping with and kissing countless women, yet using that same mouth to claim he loves her, trying to touch her hand and hold her. Thought of it makes her stomach turn. She wants this man, whom she once loved with every fiber of her being, to vanish from her sight forever. The man standing before her is no longer the sweet boy she fell in love with years ago. He is rotten to the core, a mistake she should have kicked to the curb. Yan stammers, Sining, please, I don't know what to say, but I love you. I really do. Please believe me. She cuts him off before he can finish, tossing a thick contract right onto the table in front of him. She commands, read it, every single word. Yan reaches out with trembling hands. As his eyes scan the pages, his face goes pale with disbelief. He gasps, Sining, you want to seize half of the Lu Group's entire assets? She scoffs, did you think my help came for free? You lied to me over and over, Yan. I could have left your family to rot. The only reason I am throwing you a lifeline is to honor Sister Piaxu saving my life. Contract is the very last thread tying us together. Sign it and let the Xia Group audit your books, or watch your family go bankrupt. Though you could always sell your body to some rich cougar and beg her to cover your debts. Yan pleads. Sining, why are you being so cold? We almost got married. Yes, I lied, but you know my love for you was real. You had to feel it. Sharp crack rings out. She slaps him hard across the face. One isn't enough. She strikes him again and again. Face swells, burning red. Any man would snap after being humiliated like this, but her next words freeze the blood in his veins. She whispers, say one more word of nonsense, Yan, and I swear to you, I will stop caring about Sister Pio's heart. I will let the Lu Group crash into bankruptcy, and then I will buy it for pennies. Stop pushing your luck. Yan flinches. He wants to argue, to tell her he is just a normal guy who had needs. But the look in her eye stops him cold. Pushes her any further, she will walk away. And everything Yan owns will vanish overnight. Without his luxury, without his family name, he would be nothing. He cannot face that reality. Half a fortune is better than zero. He can still live like a king. He mutters, I need to talk to my parents. She points to the door. Get out. She has security throw him out. Yan is a leech who will never change. Even if she had not fallen for Fang Yuan, she would never take this trash back. Watching him try to squirm and plead his love after his mask fell off makes her physically ill. She remembers promising to love him forever. Even when he broke her heart, she spent sleepless nights weeping over him. She hated him, yet missed him in the dark. What a fool she was. Before she was physically blind, now she realizes she was blind in her heart. Everyone saw through Yan except her. She let him play her twice. She lost the man she actually cared about, all for this pathetic fraud. In her darkest hour, her phone rings. It is Lu Jiacheng. She swallows her tears, presses answer, and whispers, Dad. Speaking his name breaks her. Tears well up in her eyes. Her father asks, is it done? She chokes out, yes, we are finished. I was so blind, Dad. My judgment is terrible. I did not even know my own heart. I am not ready for this. I do not deserve to run the Xia Group. For the first time in her life, she sees her own weaknesses. She used to think she was untouchable. She believed she had the brains to protect her family and build their empire. She kept pushing herself, never stopping. But now she sees the truth. She is not ready to step into Lu Jiacheng's shoes. She cannot carry the weight of this family yet. Her father does not judge. He simply asks, so what is your next move? I want to go abroad and learn, she says. Let me manage our overseas branches. Her father sighs in relief. Good. I was waiting for you to say that. Go. Forget about the Lu Group. Whether they sign that contract or not, their fate is already sealed. If they have any sense left, they will crawl back to us eventually. But you need to wash your hands of them. She whispers, thank you, Dad. Her father saw it all coming. A bitter smile touches her lips. She really thought she was being clever, hiding her little schemes. She was so incredibly naive. If she kept playing these childish games, she would never inherit the Xia Group empire. Getting played by a pathetic ex like Yan is not what a future CEO does. It was all a test, and she almost failed. A simple test. Xia Sining had survived much worse. Xia Jiacheng surely knew the financial mess of Zhang's group inside out, yet Xia Sining stumbled over something so basic. It was almost pathetic. Xia Sining knew she was nowhere near ready to inherit Xia's group. Fine. She would go abroad, sharpen her skills, and forget Yan and forget Fang Yuan. It was for the best. Only when she is rational, untouched by emotional drama, that is when she becomes truly strong. Hanging up, Xia Jiacheng leaned back in his study, staring out at the sunlit balcony. He narrowed his eyes, a heavy, unreadable shadow crossing his face. Right, time to grow up. Xia Jiacheng knew the truth. None of his children were fit to lead Xia's group. Xia Sining was just the best of a bad bunch. A compromise, not a cure. She seemed cold and gifted, but she was fragile inside, easily ruled by her heart. Her performance had deeply disappointed him, though at least she uncovered the truth on her own. Otherwise, he could never hand her the keys to Xia's group, not when a single romantic delusion could ruin everything. Sending her to the overseas branch to toughen her mind and resolve was the right move. He unlocked his phone. There was a photo inside. To a stranger, the woman looked exactly like Xia Sining, but she wasn't. It was Wenwen. He had sent someone to take it in secret. Sighing, Xia Jiacheng lost himself in memories until his phone vibrated. Nuan was calling. He answered instantly, his voice softening with a tenderness he didn't even realize. "What's wrong?" Nuan spoke quietly. "Wenwen's blood supply is running low. Do you have any?" "She can have my blood." Xia Jiacheng was also Rh negative. He kept a secret supply of his own blood drawn just in case. Without it, even the richest man in the province couldn't buy a rare match in an emergency. An absolute secret. He could never let his family find out, or his enemies would use it to destroy him. Publicly claimed to be type B. But after that one wild night, he and Nuan had a child, a daughter who inherited his cursed blood type and fell desperately ill. Begged him to save Wenwen. The Rh negative blood stock, the funding for rare life-saving drugs, and the medical connections were all handled secretly using the massive influence of Xia's group. Without him, Nuan could never have pulled this off alone, and Wenwen would have died years ago. Hearing him agree so quickly, Nuan bit her lip, remembering the past. She whispered, "Thank you, Chairman Xia. You were set up that night just to save me, and now you are bound to us by this child." She continued, "Keeping Wenwen was my choice, yet you are still paying for it." But Xia Jiacheng cut her off. "Even if I knew then what would happen today, I would still save you, Nuan." Words stunned Nuan. Staying rational, she admitted. Wenwen is starting to suspect the truth. She begged, "Please forgive my selfishness, Chairman Xia, but we must keep this secret. Deny everything, no matter what Wenwen asks. Let her believe she is a Gong. It is best for everyone." Xia Jiacheng closed his eyes. Sometimes he wanted to be selfish, but her cold words dragged him back. He knew his desires did not align with hers. That night was a mistake. The only man Nuan ever loved was her late husband, Gong Ming. Grateful she chose to have Wenwen, their daughter, he sighed. "I know. Rest easy, Nuan. I will protect Wenwen while she is in Kyoto," he added. "I heard Wenwen is with Fang Yuan." She sighed, "Yes, a strange fate. I only found out after Wenwen returned to Kyoto that Fang Yuan was the contract husband you hired to marry Xia Sining. Wenwen held on all these years for the man she loved." Xia Jiacheng murmured, "Fang Yuan is a savior to the Xia family then. He has saved 3 of my daughters." Nuan gasped. "Besides Xia Sining and Wenwen? Preen. Aside from them?" He took care of Xia Sining's eyes for 3 long years and kept Wenwen happy until she returned. Nuan knew that much, but he did not find Xia Piaosu's donor heart. He did not even know the family back then, so how was he involved with Xia Piaosu? Xia Jiacheng cut in. "I will handle Wenwen's situation. Don't worry, Nuan," she whispered. "Thank you, Chairman Xia." Hanging up, Nuan held her phone close. She was blessed to have 2 such supportive men, but destiny had other plans. Now she only wanted her daughter Wenwen to be healthy and happy. That was more than enough. With everything settled here, it was time to go back and see the kids. She also wanted to meet her future son-in-law, Fang Yuan, and see the man Wenwen had praised for years. Days later, Fang Yuan got an unexpected text from Xia Jiacheng asking to meet at any time or place. But Fang Yuan told her. He told her, "Chairman Xia wants to meet." Wenwen thought about it. "Maybe it is about Xi Sin." He nodded. "Probably. What do you think?" he asked. "Do you want to come along, even just to see him from afar?" Wenwen hesitated, torn. She whispered, "Fang Yuan, I decided not to look for the truth, but I still want to see him, even from a distance. I do not know what to do." Squeezed her hand. "Go look, just once. Once you get closure, you can decide what to do next. Whatever you choose, I will be right here supporting you." Fang Yuan's support. She made up her mind. "Fine, let us go. One quick look won't hurt." Fang Yuan messaged back. Soon arrived at a quiet tea house. As they stepped inside, Xia Jiacheng stood up. Before Fang Yuan could speak, the older man bowed deeply to him. Formal bow stunned Fang Yuan. He stammered, "Chairman Xia, what is this?" Xia Jiacheng sighed. "I am sorry, Fang Yuan. I know you are confused right now, but I have to say this first. For everything I kept from you." Fang Yuan stands frozen, completely lost, before finally rushing forward to help Lu Jicheng up. "Chairman Lu, you have been so good to me. I do not know what you did to feel this guilty, but I will never forget your kindness. Just talk." They sit down, sipping their tea in silence. Lu Jiacheng takes a slow breath, his usually stern face softening with a rare look of guilt. "Fang Yuan, you saved my daughters. Not just Xia Sining's eyes and her trauma, but Lu Piaosu too. Frankly, you are the benefactor of the Xia family. I owe you." Fang Yuan frowns slightly. "What does this have to do with Lu Piaosu?" Lu Jiacheng continues. "Did Lu Piaosu ever tell you her heart acts up whenever you are close?" "She did mention that." "Chairman Lu, is it possible?" A sudden dark realization hits Fang Yuan, a theory he buried long ago. "Of course you thought of it. Anyone would. We live in the 21st century. We trust science. But who can truly explain the mysterious connection between blood relatives? I knew Lu Yan found the heart. I was so grateful that I always went easy on the Lu family, not just for Xia Sining, but because they saved my youngest daughter. But I could not ignore an untraceable organ inside her. I used every connection I had to find out where that black market heart came from. Searched for ages. Just as I was giving up, the truth hit me. It belonged to your sister, the one who died in that car crash. Jiang Li." The name strikes Fang Yuan like lightning. His mind goes completely blank. He opens his mouth to speak, but nothing comes out. Ever since Lu Piaosu told him, her heart raced whenever he was near. He had suspected this. He often wondered what his life would look like without that devastating crash. Living with his family, happy and whole, it would have been a much sweeter life than this. He would have had loving parents and a sweet, lively sister, but that crash ruined everything. Lu Jiacheng knows how brutal this blow is. He stays quiet, giving Fang Yuan time to process the shock. Finally, Fang Yuan forces the words out. "Chairman Lu, I have just one question. Tell me the absolute truth. Was my family's crash really an accident?" "It was an accident. But your sister's heart only ended up on the black market because of hospital corruption. Here are the files." Lu Jiacheng knows Fang Yuan needs proof. The Xia family benefited from the tragedy. Words are not enough. Lu Jiacheng hands over the sack of files. Trembling, Fang Yuan flips through the evidence page by page. Eyes burn. He loses control, hot tears splashing onto the paper. "Is fine if you do not trust me. You can use these files to investigate. I hid things before, but now everything is on the table." That is why I chose you as Xia Sining's contract husband. I wanted to help your family, but I still hid how we got the heart, and I beg for your forgiveness. Truth is finally out. Fang Yuan had always wondered why the powerful Xia group chose him. There were plenty of better men who could have acted as Xia Sining's contract husband to help repair the company's image. Why did they pick him, a desperate guy with a bankrupt family? When Fang Yuan asked back then, Liu Jiacheng brushed it off, claiming he was just a perfect fit and asking if he would take the deal. But the real reason was Zhang Li's heart inside Liu Piaosu. Liu Jiacheng found the connection and chose him as a quiet way to make amends, saving the Fang family from ruin. After a long pause, Fang Yuan speaks up. No need to look into it, Chairman Liu, I believe you. Liu Jiacheng is stunned. You really believe me? He expected Fang Yuan to stay suspicious and dig around in secret until he found his own answers. If you were guilty, you would not have helped me. You would have crushed me so I could never rise again. Fang Yuan does not know him well, but he knows his ruthless reputation. Liu Jiacheng had planned the crash just to steal Zhang Li's heart for Liu Piaosu. Fang Yuan would already be dead. A man like him does not leave loose ends. He would never have rescued the Fang family. It is only because his conscience is clear that he wanted to make things right. Love breeds fear and anxiety. For a ruthless tycoon who built the Xia group from nothing, showing mercy to a family he targeted would have been a fatal mistake. He would never make such a blunder. If he did, his empire would not exist. I never expected you to understand me so well, Fang Yuan. Liu Jiacheng does not deny it. Instead, hearing those words sparks a strange sense of respect. Kid is sharper than he ever realized. I am not angry that my sister saved Liu Piaosu. She is gone, and she would have wanted to save a life. But I am furious that her heart was stolen by a corrupt hospital just to make a quick profit. Fang Yuan clenches his fists, his eyes burning with rage. He has to get justice and put those butchers behind bars. Liu Jiacheng nods. If you want to go after them, do it. You have my full backing. Files have all the evidence we need to ruin them. They finalize the details, and Fang Yuan turns to leave. Suddenly, the old man calls his name. Fang Yuan, take care of Wenwen for me. The words are simple, but they confirm the truth. Fang Yuan looks back over his shoulder. Powerful tycoon suddenly looks frail and old. When you strip away the wealth, he is just a father trying to protect his children. He has worried himself sick over Xia Sining, Liu Piaosu, and Wenwen. Fang Yuan gives a silent nod and slips out. Meeting Wenwen outside, he explains everything but hides the truth about her real father. Even though he knows the truth, he refuses to disrupt her life. Heartbroken, Wenwen throws her arms around him. Are you okay, Fang Yuan? He holds her tight. I am fine. Now that I have the truth, I will destroy the people who did this. My family will finally rest. You have to get justice for Zhang Li. We cannot let those monsters get away with this. My father knows the top lawyer in Jingdu. We can expose the hospital's dark secrets. The dead are gone, but their fight is just beginning. Zhang Li's heart did save Liu Piaosu, but not through legal channels. The hospital black-marketed organs for quick cash. A brutal betrayal of the dead and their grieving families. Justice must be served. On July 18, 2033, the infamous Fanglin Hospital trial finally opens. Backed by Fang Yuan's solid evidence and massive online outrage that keeps the pressure on, 20 suspects stand trial. 3 receive life sentences, while 10 others get over 20 years. Assets are seized. Heavy fines fall. Grieving families shout in protest until the final verdicts come down, settling the dust. Fang Yuan walks out of the courthouse. Xia Sining calls. After a long, painful silence, she whispers just 3 words. I am sorry. For years, she believed Liu Yan had saved Liu Piaosu. She felt deeply grateful. Even after their fallout, she could not cross that final line, leaving Liu Yan a lifeline. But the truth is devastating. The heart inside Liu Piaosu belongs to Fang Yuan's sister, Zhang Li. Dart, the person she truly owed everything to, was Fang Yuan, always him. She had been blind, giving Liu Yan credit for a miracle she never performed. She is consumed by regret. Fang Yuan purses his lips. You did not know. The monsters are punished. My family can rest in peace now. Xia Sining sobs. Fang Yuan, I can never repay what I owe you in this life. Next time, if there is a next life, I will return everything. I will give it all back. Fang Yuan sighs. I am sorry, Sining, but my next life is already promised to Wenwen. Live your life. You owe me nothing. Words hit her like a physical blow. Tears fall silently. Fang Yuan, do you know why I begged for the next life? Because I know I have already lost you in this one. I only pray for a second chance next time, just to hold you and fix my mistakes. Yet you are so ruthless, refusing to leave me even a sliver of hope, reserving everything for Wenwen. When you are unloved, every word is wrong. Even breathing is a mistake. But the favored one can do no wrong, bathed in endless warmth. Xia Sining finally tastes that bitter truth, swallowing her own regret. 1,000 words choke in her throat, leaving only a quiet whisper. Fang Yuan, be happy. He responds softly. You too, take care of yourself. Hanging up, Fang Yuan looks up to find Wenwen waiting nearby. Smiling gently, he walks over and slips his hand into hers. Voice softens to a gentle whisper. Did you wait long? Wenwen shakes her head. Never, if it is for you. Do you finally feel some peace, Fang Yuan? He nods. It is over. Justice was delayed, but it finally came. And late justice is still infinitely better than living in eternal blinding darkness. Wenwen squeezes his hand, whispering, Fang Yuan, I want to play the piano. Will you come with me? He smiles. Eyes filled with warmth. Let us go. For the rest of my days, through bitter storms or quiet peace in poverty or wealth, it is you. My heart's tenderness, the only thing I see. It is always you.